Mayor.
Maybe Alex Caruso had that shit.
Nah, he's got hair on his eyebrows and shit.
Okay.
Yo. We finally showed up 20 minutes late.
Here we go. That's on
this
time
how
for
every
us.
live stream starts. You guys should expect that from now. If it's 7, know that it's going to be 7:20, the time that we're going to go live.
7:20 is a good start.
In there talking about Jordan fucking Love.
Who was talking about Jordan Love? The chat?
Santos,
Yeah.
your boy.
Are you guys ready? Let's get to it.
Let's lock in.
Riv still destroying that plate.
3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran and I'm here with River Brown, Angel Velez, and Joe Dehls. And this is episode 241. In this episode, we will talk about the Broncos firing Nathaniel Hackett, Tua being in concussion protocol, if the Eagles should still be favorites in the NFC. We'll break down the AFC and NFC Playoff Picture and give our NBA Christmas Day winners and losers. Merry Christmas to everybody out there.
Merry Christmas.
We're approaching New Year's.
It's crazy.
It's coming close.
This year has flown by. Do you remember the live stream we did for New Year's last time?
We didn't.
That was pretty lit.
We got a great picture
That's when we
that day.
took our pick.
That was a great picture.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Man, John sneaked into that one.
I was
thankfully.
forgetting. I forgot about it.
What's going on, John? How you doing, bro?
You
doing all right, man?
We need to get
I'm
John
glad
and
to hear
Mike,
that,
man.
bro.
Been saying it since day one.
I had to make sure my.
So how you guys doing in
it?
the chat, man? How you guys doing right now? Riv, you had a shout out for somebody. I believe somebody gave that hoodie.
Yeah. Shout out to T Brown, man. Thank you for the hoodie. I appreciate it. Go
Mystique
out there.
Apparel.
Mystique Apparel. Go out
Very
there and buy
tough.
his gear. Appreciate it. He did this randomly, so shout out to him. Shout out to the fans.
I like the font on it.
It's cute, right?
Yeah.
Makes
Cursive.
my eyes pop out. You see
It
it?
does.
Look at me.
You look very good in it.
Thank you.
Son of a bitch, you're right, man.
Now, the holidays are a time about giving. And unfortunately, Drew, I know a lot of things went wrong Christmas Day for you, brother. The Lakers lost. Tua. The Broncos. And for Baker Mayfield to do it. Oh, how sweet was that?
And for him to be the
Tweets.
MVP.
How
That was
sweet
messed
was
up,
that?
man.
Y'all doubted Baker, though.
We did.
And Baker
I
came
did,
out. Situation's everything.
Franchise?
That's what next is Zach Wilson. That's
Okay.
who's next in this conversation right here. But the big time news that happened today was that J.J. Watt retired. Well, he didn't retire, but he's going to retire at the end of the NFL season. And, I mean, what an amazing career that he had.
Absolutely.
3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 5-time first-team All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time sack leader. His career was amazing. I just feel bad that it was wasted with the Texans organization. There was a moment there where they had a window to compete with Deshaun Watson.
For sure.
But before that, the quarterback play was mid. Matt Schaub, who was good. Fitzpatrick, Brian Hoyer, Ryan Mallett, T.J. Yates, Brock Osweiler. I mean, they always had a great defense, but we knew when it came to the playoffs, they just don't have the quarterbacks to compete with other teams.
I'm with you.
That's unfortunate.
Before Aaron Donald, there was J.J. Watt. Before the injuries, J.J. Watt was going to go down as the best defensive player that I've ever seen. He was that all-world. To have back-to-back 20-sack seasons, correct? I think he's the only player in NFL history to have back-to-back 20-plus sack seasons in a row. J.J. Watt was a superstar. It's unfortunate that injuries ended up changing the landscape of his career and the perception of J.J. Watt because his career could have been completely different. But absolutely, 100%, congratulations to him. Gets to call it a career, and he definitely can hold his head up high knowing that he was one of the most dominant defensive players that this game's ever seen.
Without a doubt. I feel like, especially when great players go to a second team or even a third team, and they go from elite to who J.J. Watt has been pretty good on the Cardinals. Obviously, not as great as he was on the Texans.
Last year, he was really good.
He was, yeah. Injuries really both these last 2 seasons on Arizona. But he just has so many memorable moments. I mean, all the touchdowns he scored. I don't remember how many touchdowns that 1 year. How many? 5 touchdowns.
Yes.
He got a couple offensive, a couple defensive. Him swatting the ball down to go on top of all of the sacks. I mean, first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best we've ever seen. I'm happy he's able to go on his terms. I wish he was on a better team, on Arizona that maybe could go to the playoffs, possibly make a push, get to a Super Bowl. That's obviously the one big thing missing from his career. But this isn't really like NBA where you look at NBA finals, be like, well, he doesn't have a finals, especially when you're talking about any position other than quarterback. It's not in the same regard. But shout out to J.J. Watt, man. I mean, he's one of the best players this generation, one of the best players we've ever seen in the NFL.
Sorry, I'm trying to get my stuff in order.
Is it a new laptop?
Yes, I did. I got it from my dad. Got it from me.
Oh, this is the one, bro.
That's tough.
Yeah, bro. He came swagged out. He came with a new car. I was like,
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
Nah, this is OD.
I was like, son. He was like, I got you something. I was like, what you give me? I'm thinking it's like a regular coat, like a hoodie. Popped out with an Apple bag. I was like, look at you, money man,
Bro, and then the charger matches the laptop too.
Yeah, he must got a bonus.
Maybe.
Big bonus. You got a new whip and a fucking
Oh, the whip is
MacBook.
smooth, bro. I'm definitely clocking his check from now on. So I want to see what's going on over there. Shout out to JJ Watt, man. I don't know what's up with these families that breed elite talent because TJ is another one of them dogs. But shout out to JJ Watt, man. The Texans had a good one. He's one of the best defenders of our generation. Definitely could go down as one of the best in NFL history, but definitely one of the best of ours. Like you said, before Aaron Donald, there was JJ Watt. He was running the league on the defensive end. So shout out to him, definitely.
The most sacks since 2011. Only 3 players have more sacks than J.J. Watt since he's entered the NFL in 2011.
Von Miller?
Von Miller,
Let's
Cameron
go.
Jordan, and Chandler Jones.
Cam
Those
Jordan,
are the
really?
3. Yeah. And then behind J.J. Watt is Justin Houston.
Another underrated
Sure.
beast.
Yeah.
Justin
they're
Houston
all
was a
close.
sack machine.
They're all close outside of Von Miller. Cameron Jordan has 112.5. Chandler Jones has 112. J.J. Watt has 111.5. And Von Miller has 123.
I was going to say, the only one
Yeah,
rivaling J.J. Watt for a while was Von Miller.
Yeah.
He was the only one in that conversation.
So recently, I've been kind of my inner gambling addiction has been just making its way to the top.
That's
I'm gonna
a
be
shame,
honest,
man.
Chris. Oh my goodness! So I was down, and I told myself like, Riv gave me this advice. He was like, I only bet with my winnings. And I was like, that's a smart idea, but what happens if you don't win? You don't got no money in your account. So I put some money in my account, and then I bet, and I won a parlay, $10 for 100 something, something light. And then on Christmas Day, every single NBA Christmas game you can think of, all 5 of them, I placed a bet on it. Lost every single one.
Everyone?
Yeah, I placed a 5-leg parlay. Sixers, Celtics, Mavericks, Nuggets. Oh, the Grizzlies lose. After talking all that shit, they lost at Golden State without Steph Curry playing.
Said it was a trap game.
They got embarrassed.
One of them ones.
And I told myself I got to take a little bit of a break. But then I see some of these games slotted for tonight, and I don't know. I'm getting the urge. I'm getting the urge to play.
This is when we have to have a sit down with Joel.
1-800-GAMBLER, my brother.
So tonight on Boom Fantasy, these are the NBA matchups.
Let's hear it.
Right now it's 7:28, so I'm going to go on to the later games. So if you guys are interested in placing a bet, you guys can. So this is the 8 p.m. games. Fred VanVleet versus OG Anunoby points. Anunoby's +1 right now.
I'm going to go Fred. I feel like Fred has a good game tonight.
It's against the Clippers.
Everybody, from my understanding, everybody is playing for the
Yep.
Clippers. Second time in the season.
I
Nuts.
was going to say OG is going to have to face up against Kawhi and Paul. So
Paul George, from my understanding, watching the Clippers, Paul George will check the guard, so he would take Fred VanVleet. Kawhi would probably take OG. So I would probably lean right now OG because Kawhi still defensively is trying to figure it out, trying to get the health back. So give me OG.
Fred's been going on a scoring tear. Recently, he's been good.
he's been listening to you.
I'll take Fred. He's
been listening.
He has.
Stop the
He's
disrespect.
been turning up.
No, he's mid.
Jalen Brunson's still better.
Listen, Jalen Brunson's been amazing. I'm not gonna shit talk Jalen Brunson at all.
Now, this is the Suns and Memphis game. Assists, Chris Paul or Ja Morant +2.5 assists.
I made that line.
Chris Paul has 2.5.
No, Ja has 2.5.
Oh, got it.
You mean the teams they play?
Grizzlies and Memphis.
They play each other.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit. Grizzlies
No,
and Memphis?
Suns. He
Yeah,
meant
he
Suns.
fucked me
Yeah,
up.
he made a mistake.
Give me Ja, man. What am I doing here? Give me Ja.
I feel like sneaky. Yeah, I'm going CP.
I'm going CP3 too. I mean, he's the assist guy.
Ja might just go for a crazy scoring out, but not that he can't
I think
match.
Ja
with
goes for
assists,
30
too.
and 10 tonight.
That would be OD.
Wait,
If
hold
you
up.
call that stat line, that
Is
would
Sacramento
that'd be
facing
insane.
Denver tonight as well?
I don't think so.
Because I see the lineup right now.
I was gonna-
They're facing today and tomorrow.
Oh shit.
Oh, wow. Okay, so who do you got in points? Jokic or Fox +2?
The Joker.
Over Fox?
Yeah.
+2?
That's tough. Jokic obviously
No
should always
Sabonis,
be the
right?
favorite.
Or is he playing with that
Facts.
injury?
Sabonis might be
I
out.
think Sabonis might be playing.
Playing with that injury is
Let me
tough.
check.
Jokic, man, that 40-point triple-double moved me severely. Like,
I'm about to say, but you've been on that wave.
Didn't know
You've
you
been on that wave.
Thank you. I'm glad
you have. I'll give you that acknowledgement because I said, no, for sure. I'm on the Giannis side. You're on the Jokic side.
No, but that 40-point
superstar.
That 40-point triple-double, I was like, oh,
he's
shit.
questionable to play.
Questionable. Wow,
Yeah.
that's real of him. I'm gonna go. Damn, I don't love the defensive matchup between Fox and obviously Murray.
And the rim protection is not really there.
It's not really good on the opposite side too. Yeah, Fox.
Fox points. Yeah.
I might go Jokic, but I can easily see Fox putting on a performance tonight.
And now I'm gonna do two more because the last one's funny. Assist, LaMelo Ball or Draymond Green? Who gets more tonight?
That actually was funny. LaMelo.
I'm gonna go LaMelo also.
I'm going LaMelo. And the last one is points, rebounds, and assists. Terry Rozier versus Klay Thompson.
Are you gonna tell your Terry Rozier story?
Yeah. So last night I was watching the Blazers and Hornets game. The only way I'm watching that game is if I'm betting on it. I was betting on the game. Terry Rozier over 20.5 points. I don't know what made me pick the over on that. I just kind of was like, whatever. Let's just see what happens. 0 for 12 in the game. I couldn't believe it.
0 for 12?
Yeah, like,
Bro, he had one of the worst games.
I'm starting to make a do not bet on list.
It's Terry.
Donovan Mitchell's on it now. Terry Rozier is on it. Though Terry Rozier,
Spider?
I will never bet on Terry Rozier in my
Bro,
life
Spider fucked
again.
up when he
Why is Spider on that
I
list?
needed 28 points. He gave me 15. He gave me 15.
Okay, it happens.
To Garland.
Is that why you said Jaylen Brown clears Donovan Mitchell?
That's why you put that out. I knew there's always a reason with you.
But you guys can play Boom Fantasy. There's a QR code right here on the screen, or you can click the link on our bio.
Is that code right there? Or is it this code right here?
It should, yeah.
Other
I
side.
don't know.
That code right here?
Yeah.
No.
It's on,
Oh, it's on my side.
It's actually
Uh-huh.
It's on your
shoulder
side
right
yeah.
now.
You
Right
can
here.
click that
Right
code
here?
and play.
Down.
It helps the podcast tremendously. And before we get in the nitty-gritty of the show, first I want to answer some questions. This is a basketball and football show. Moving forward, we're most likely going to do both, a mixture of the two. And Santos, $50 donation.
Santos pick a side
is a
legend.
pick-a-side
Man. Legend.
What's wrong being a Raiders fan and Patrick Mahomes is my favorite player?
Oh my God.
I like to watch Patrick, but I'll take Derek Carr over him. I was born in Oakland, so all my teams are the Raiders, Warriors, and the A's. And I never changed my teams. Raiders for life.
He would take
Drew, I feel like this is a question for you.
No, I know that this is directed at me because last time I called him out on it. No, it's not okay to be a Raiders fan, a Broncos fan, and or a Chargers fan, and your favorite player be Patrick Mahomes, who has legitimately terrorized the division since coming into the league.
Yeah.
It actually makes zero sense. But you know what, Santos? I respect you. You're allowed your own views, but I'm just letting you know that this doesn't sit right with my spirit. That's all.
And Santos sent $10. Here's $10 for Joel's gambling. Hope it will help.
There you go.
Tonight, I'm betting on the game. Looks like I'm back. I'm betting on the
You
game.
basically get a risk-free entry. That's what Boom does. If you're a new depositor, your first entry up to $100 risk-free. You lose, you get your money back. That's what Santos basically did to you, and you're a returning user to Boom. Look at that, man.
Shout out to Santos.
Click my shoulder. Go to Boom Fantasy. Make it happen.
And before we get into the show, Nicholas put this in the chat. Joel was wilding last night talking about the Nets. Is
How were
that
you wilding?
facts or is that the truth?
What'd you say?
He
Or
came
he's
in.
talking
He
about the
came,
Discord.
he came in Discord. He came in Discord. Nets. Because this was after the Nets beat the Cavs, and he started bugging, talking about the Nets winning the championship.
We know the Cavs aren't ready. That's it. We know they're not ready.
Well,
Right,
the Cavs
right, Riv? We know that.
The Cavs don't-
Riv, we know that, right?
know what? Now who what?
The Cavs aren't ready.
Ready
We
for
know
what?
that. Just not ready for prime time yet. That's
The
it.
Cavs
They
have
beat-
no chance against the Nets.
They beat them on
They
prime
beat,
time.
they beat us twice.
Okay.
40. D. Mitch.
Okay.
No, they're not ready yet.
The
Next
Cavs
year.
have no chance against the Nets.
You know what? They're no chance. No,
Who's
it'll probably be a
stopping
6-game series. They'll lose though.
Yeah, agreed.
But
That's exactly what I said.
they're like a year away. Mobley, he just has no offensive back. It's tiresome.
Thought he
Who's
was
been
taking
more-
a jump this
Who's
year.
been more disappointing, Evan Mobley or Scotty?
Scotty.
Yeah, for sure. Because
Mobley's still elite.
unbelievable.
Yeah, he's still
defensive
unbelievable
player.
defensively. But
The thing is with Scotty, he's so hot and cold, man.
he's good at home.
At home, he's a star.
Yeah, the Cavs aren't ready yet, but it's okay.
That's a fact.
They'll give somebody.
These
they'll give
Nets
somebody a
are
run.
different.
They're amazing.
These Nets are
Good squad.
different.
Jock Vaughn, man.
It's
Did you
just-
think you aced this take?
Did I ace it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I aced it. I think
we
I
got a
did
we got a
well.
long season ahead of us.
No, we do.
Long
You
season.
know?
If they get bounced in the first, second
And that's,
round,
then that's
But
a
look,
I'm saying?
but listen, one thing's for sure, I'm the Nets guy.
without a doubt.
People look at me and they're like, "That's the Nets guy."
Sad
Sure.
that they couldn't say you're a Knicks guy.
Yeah, true.
You just
True.
I don't get support from the Knicks fan base.
you shit on them
yeah,
all
do
the
you wonder
time.
why ever?
Yeah.
I tell the truth about the Knicks.
Okay.
I tell the truth.
Okay.
I just seen some
But you could be
stat.
delusional about Zach Wilson. You can't be delusional against the Knicks.
I have been delusional with the Knicks.
You haven't been delusional about RJ Barrett.
I've been delusional
Fair.
with the Knicks
I
for,
miss
a,
when
for,
you were
a,
delusional
for a
about
long
RJ,
time,
man.
and then they
It
just
hit you one day?
They just never proved me right.
But Zach has improved right.
So I'm just confused,
Yeah,
like, why
it's
It's
Like,
only his
dude,
second year.
sometimes.
He's gonna do what he's gonna do.
I just, you know what? You're right. That's
He's gonna-
fair.
I feel like Zach. I still believe in him, man.
We know. We don't have to get into it.
Yeah,
Stop while we're
you
ahead.
definitely are the Nets guy at this table, though.
For sure.
Us three, we were not a fan of the Nash Nets.
Whoa.
And now we're just kind of like whatever.
They're a good team.
Yeah,
They're a good team for sure.
If anyone's been along for the ride alongside Joel, it has been Andrew. I've been definitely in support of the Brooklyn Nets.
The hell is this?
Not to this extent, absolutely
Oh, yeah.
not.
Well, he's definitely the Jock Vaughn. You're not the Jock
No,
Vaughn.
he's
I'm-
the Ben Simmons guy.
I've
you're
been.
the Ben Simmons. You're
If
the Ben
that's
Simmons.
what you want to say, but hey,
Ben's
credit to
been-
Ben Simmons.
You're the Ben
He's
Simmons
been
guy.
very good.
solid.
With the Nets, we don't talk enough about just the great role players they have. Royce O'Neal, T.J. Warren off the bench. He's a starter.
Yuta
TJ
Watanabe.
Warren
Yeah,
off-
they-
Bro
Yuta
shooting
Watanabe.
65%, something stupid from the corner.
Bro,
It's nuts.
Seth Curry, Joe
It's
Harris.
a fact.
We got yo.
Is Ben Simmons a role player at this point?
Yes.
No, yeah, he is a
Okay,
role player.
there we go.
You
So
know-
if that's
you know,
the case,
I-
then he's
I actually
arguably
wanna-
the best
I
role
actually-
player in the game.
I want to defend Ben Simmons for a little bit because I feel like
Your poll was
with
interesting.
Ben Simmons, people keep on holding him to the standard of the contract that he currently has because, and I feel like it's unfair because there's unfair
Blanking.
expectations on Ben Simmons. We should look at Ben Simmons how we look at Draymond Green.
No.
Yes, their contracts are, they have huge contracts. You may say they're overvalued.
You're only saying that because
But-
Dre has championships.
They're all around players.
not
They're
getting away
glue
with that.
guys. Listen, I know Draymond does it at a much better level.
You said Evan Mobley or Ben Simmons.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
But Ben Simmons, he's a defensive anchor.
Yes.
He's a great playmaker.
Well, I thought
he's a
Claxton
great
was the defensive
defender.
anchor.
They both are. Why can't they both be?
No, Ben Simmons last night
when
took over.
when I
defensively.
assume anchor, I'm thinking like
One
the rim,
person.
I'm thinking
Yeah,
rim
yeah.
protector. That's
Oh,
all.
okay.
Ben Simmons last night was the best player defensively on
That's
the
fair.
Nets.
No, you're not getting away with that because Draymond Green, Draymond Green's role was always that. Ben Simmons, when he got that contract and when he came into the league, he was supposed to be bigger than what he is now. And nobody's asking for him to be an all-star again. We're just asking to, be a little bit more aggressive, score a little bit more points. He has moments where he can.
I saw you tweet that. You're like, I need more than 8.
I do.
But at the same time,
I do.
What is Draymond giving you?
Draymond's uncomparable.
But
he's
you
been
can
that.
comparable. You can
I'll
compare
be
him
honest.
to Ben.
You say he needs more than 8, but watching the game last night, I felt like when he had the opportunity to score, he took advantage, and when he didn't, he was creating plays for everybody else. I didn't feel like last night Ben needed to do more. I think he did everything to a T.
And the difference is now with the situation in Brooklyn. I know let's not go into this too crazy, but situation in Brooklyn compared to the Sixers. The number 2 option was Tobias Harris. Number 2 option in Brooklyn is
agree.
Kyrie Irving.
I do.
So
I
it's a
agree.
lot more reliability upon those those primary scorers in Brooklyn than it was in Philly.
And the spacing, when they had that lineup of Kyrie, KD, Royce O'Neal, Warren, and Ben
No, the
Simmons,
spacing is amazing. I still think you need to get more than 8.
As long as Simmons and Claxton aren't on the court at the same time for an extended period of time, it should be kept.
Well,
As
know
long
he
as he's
gets more than
efficient.
that.
As long as he's not shooting fucking 2 for 9 and getting 8, then you're
I
live
think
with
that's
it.
like damn near impossible. You're taking layups.
Yeah, exactly. His
That's
efficiency is
what
always
you're-
going to
that's
be
what you're
good.
gonna
Well, we
ask
know
for.
what Ben Simmons is. He's a 15 A guy.
You'd rather
That's what
that
he
than
is.
Yeah.
if Ben Simmons taking a lot of shots, you're
But even
probably
if
not going to have a
Simmons
good
is a
night.
14 A guy, 13
I'm
A guy,
fine with that.
I like that.
I'm-
I feel like
that-
that
I-
feels
I'm
that's
fine
a
with
big
that.
jump.
Jump from 8 to 15 or 14.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, especially come playoff time, you want your 3rd, 4th best player scoring more than 8.
So I put a poll up on Twitter yesterday, and everybody kind of reacted to it in a way that I thought was kind of jarring. But we know the potential with Evan Mobley is there, right? But as it currently stands, Evan Mobley versus Ben Simmons, who's a better player? I think Ben Simmons is a better player as where we currently stand. Defensively, I give it to Mobley.
Oh.
I give it to Mobley, but even slightly.
close.
Ben Simmons is a DPOY guy. He's a DPOY caliber player.
Stop
Offensively,
the hate. Stop the hate.
it's
I
not.
see it.
Offensively, Ben Simmons is just a miles better playmaker than Evan Mobley.
Facts.
Different positions, of course, but Ben Simmons, I think, is a better player than Evan Mobley right now. I do.
I would hope so. I would hope so.
Of 60-some% of people disagreed with the statement.
Ben
Most-
lost the poll?
Most people pick
He lost
Mobley.
70-30.
He lost the poll, really?
Yeah.
I thought he won.
No, bro.
I voted Ben.
I voted Ben also.
Yeah, I voted Ben because I think he's a better player right now. I do think.
Bro, when I saw the poll, I was dumbfounded.
I thought he won. That's why I was like,
People still have that taste in the mouth of Ben Simmons. You know what I mean?
no, he was dog shit in the playoffs.
I
but
asked
Simmons
who's a better player, so not even who would you rather. It's who's a better player. Evan Mobley 70%, Ben Simmons 30%.
A lot of people who voted probably don't watch Cavs game, and I want to. What you should have did was the 73%. You should have been like, what does Evan Mobley do confidently well on the offensive end? And that's going to be a hard answer. Yeah. I would take Ben right now.
You saw that? That's tough. That's tough.
Riv is the risk guy.
Come on.
Shout out to her,
There
man.
you go.
Shout out to her.
Shout out to Z, man. Shout out to Z.
Sorry, the GOAT.
So first topic of the show we're going to get into.
Because that argument we had earlier.
And I just want to say, King Dolphin, if you're watching, I see your super chat, but I'm gonna bring up that super chat when we get to the Dolphins.
Chelsea, right? No, I got send this to Chelsea.
Matter of fact, you got stun on her. Like, look.
So first topic of the show: the Broncos fired Nathaniel Hackett.
Yes, we did.
Fourth NFL coach to be fired without lasting one season. Urban Meyer is the recent guy to get fired. Now, 29th in DVOA is where Hackett finished. 32nd in points, 20th in passing yards, 23rd in rushing yards. What broke the straw on the camel's back was you lost to the Rams 51-14. It was an ass beating. It was horrible. And what I found alarming about this all was not the firing. Broncos go to Ivero, the DC, and say, hey, do you want to be our interim head coach? Nah, I'm good. I'm good. You can give it to Jerry Roseberg, the advisor. Now, Drew, how are you feeling about this?
So, Ivero, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was actually talking about it with Joel on the way here. That is a super, super interesting situation where this has to be his mindset. I don't want to take the head coaching job because I understand my name is in contention to become a head coach this offseason. And God forbid they take these 2-game sample size and try to use it when they're trying to evaluate me to become a head coach. And they realize, man, maybe this guy's not cut out for it because there's a chance we lose these next 2 games. I understand that. If he were to become our next head coach, though, I would not be upset because he's definitely going to seek attention. You wanted me to list, I'm going to list 5 guys of who I want to become the next Broncos head coach. Avero's on that list for sure. What he's done with the defense has been amazing. There was a concern that once Vic Fangio was gone, that this defense was going to struggle. Ivero came in and did an unbelievable job, exceeded all expectations for one of the best defenses in the league. He's definitely on that list for me. Now, I spoke about it on the last show that we had. Of course, I would love Sean Payton to come be my next head coach. You're going to work with Russell Wilson. Who better to do it with than Sean Payton? Sean Payton will make something out of nothing. Sean Payton is one of the best coaches that we've ever seen this game have. I would love for him to be my head coach, but I understand that is a bit unreasonable at this point, especially if Vic Fangio is going to be his defensive coordinator. I find it hard to believe that Fangio would come back and be our DC after being our head coach. So it's looking like that's a little bit unreasonable, but that is who I would like to be my head coach, number 1. Number 2, Shane Steichen, the offensive coordinator from the Eagles. This guy was he's gone. He's gone. He's going to be a head coach somewhere. He's going to be a head coach somewhere.
You need him.
I would love for him to be my head coach. Played a hand in developing Herbert, played a hand in developing Jalen Hurts. Come to Denver, fix the mess that is Russell Wilson right now. I would love for him. I want an offensive mind. Majority of the guys that are at the top of my list are offensive minds, especially because our biggest issue is offense. We're last in points, as Joel mentioned earlier. We need to install faith and confidence in Russ once again, and we need to bring an offensive-minded head coach that knows what's going on. And this guy does have a great track record. Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, 2 premier quarterbacks right now. Russell should be in that category, has just completely been the opposite of that. Number 3, DeMeco Ryans. Now, what he's doing over there in San Fran with the best defense in the league, he comes over and becomes our head coach. Outside of Ivero, these are the only 2 guys that I would want that are defensive-minded people to become my head coach. Because we understand our defense is already dominant. You bring in DeMeco, who's going to draw attention. Ivero, who's going to have some attention on his name as well for the head coaching gig. These are the only 2 guys that are defensive-minded that I would want to be our head coach, especially for what he's done over there with the Niners. It's more than impressive. He deserves a job. And lastly, the guy I've been speaking about a bunch, who I believe is the most realistic and who I actually think will become the next head coach of the Denver Broncos, is Frank Reich. Now, Frank Reich is going to draw a bunch of attention as well because of the situation that happened with Indianapolis is super particular. Indianapolis is horrible. They're a horribly run organization. They're a horrible team as of right now. And they tried to scapegoat Frank Reich and fired him and made him the reason why they were so bad. But they realized it does not matter who's there. The team is just simply horrible. Frank Reich is going to go to another situation and have success so long as it is consistent. And Russell Wilson's under contract for a plethora of years. That is a consistent mark that he had not had in Indianapolis. He was supposed to have Andrew Luck. He didn't. Now he's going to have Russell Wilson for a good number of years. You can make that relationship work. And Frank Reich is one of the better offensive minds in this game. It is just unfortunate the hand that he was dealt over in Indianapolis. So Frank Reich is the guy who I do firmly believe will be our next head coach. But there are just others right now that I would just like over him.
I think with the Broncos, the mistake was hiring Nathaniel Hackett in the first place.
We thought we were going to get Rodgers, man.
The Broncos hired Hackett because it was a move to lure Aaron Rodgers in. He was not qualified to be a head coach. He was not. It's as simple as that. And people will ask the question, is it the coaching? Is it Russ? Is it the offensive line? It's everything. The coaching was bad. Russell Wilson has also been bad this season. The Broncos have dealt with a lot of injuries this season. Russell Wilson just threw the same amount of touchdowns that he has in his mansion. 12 touchdowns, 12 bathrooms. Russell Wilson,
it's lit.
Russell Wilson,
finally got there.
I'm happy for him.
Will he exceed it?
Russ did not fit in Hackett's system. It's a shotgun-heavy, quick passing game offense. That's not what Russell Wilson does. Russell Wilson's at his best when he's taking deep shots. He's rolling out on play action. That's when he's at his best. So has Russell Wilson been bad this year? Yes. But will a change of a system change how Russell Wilson will perform in next year possibly? I think he'll perform much better. But then the question now becomes, we pay $235 million to a quarterback that cannot adapt to a system. And that's the biggest problem with the Broncos, is that Russell Wilson has never shown the ability to adapt to a system. It's always had to be his way. Shane Waldron this year with Geno, you see the offense has opened up with Geno. Russ didn't want any of that. Yes.
Has it?
Geno Smith's comeback player of the year.
It's coming back down to earth.
It's coming back. But he had a better stretch than Russell Wilson.
Oh, he had an E on
It's not even close.
But I just want to make sure that we're aware of that.
Yes. He's come back down to earth slightly. He's still been playing very well.
Solid ball.
The thing with the Broncos, though, is that the offensive line will get healthy. Javonte Williams will be healthy. So if a coach can come in this system and can run the ball, play action-heavy offense, Russ can have success. And if the defense is as good as it is right now next season, then this should be a playoff team.
We're still a young
Russell
defense.
Wilson, listen, he's had 10 fantastic seasons. One season should not diminish how we view Russell Wilson. He hasn't been good this year. He's been dog water.
He's been one of the worst.
Yeah,
but in 10 seasons before this, he's been good to great to elite. So he gets a pass. But what he doesn't get a pass for is his inability to adjust and the Broncos' bad decision to pay him before they saw him play. That's really it. And George Pan came out and said that he believes Russ is fixable. Well, he better hope so.
It's a weird quote.
He better hope so.
Weird quote.
And this is a coach you didn't mention, Drew. Dan Quinn is going to be in this conversation. And
unfortunately,
Dan Quinn,
he wasn't in it last year.
He was.
There was a report that if Dan Quinn becomes a head coach again, the OC will be Brian Schottenheimer, who was Russ's OC in Seattle.
Jet legend.
Had success with him. Yeah, well, Mark Sanchez. Mark Sanchez got some good years with Brian Schottenheimer.
I just don't want.
So there is some good things there because of the consistency, but Russ, on his way out of Seattle, kind of did, say Brian Schottenheimer wasn't that good. You know what I'm saying? So there's a little tension there. I probably so, but listen, the Broncos, they made the first step into getting better. That's firing Nathaniel Hackett. He was never qualified. Now, this next season is about seeing if Russell Wilson can get back, can get to what he was before this disastrous season.
Real quick, before you guys go, is it a huge issue that the Broncos signed Russell Wilson without seeing him play?
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
I only asked that Because how many free agents have we seen signed by other teams before we've seen them play? That's just kind of how free agency works. I understand.
Well, he's not a free agent, though.
No,
he got traded.
we got
He was under
But then
contract.
they based his signing off of 10, 11
So we
great
traded
seasons.
for, at the time, an elite quarterback. What really is our concern there? It shouldn't have been. Like, the whole signing before you seen him play, that's the only
It's
thing I'm just like,
hindsight. It is hindsight.
exactly.
Listen, this would either be an example or a blueprint. Russell Wilson, he got paid before the Broncos saw him play. If this tenure is a disaster as a whole, then teams will
Never
look at
again.
that and
Facts.
not
Never
do it.
again.
The same thing's going on with Deshaun Watson in Cleveland right now. He hasn't played in a long time. I understand that. So next season is where we really evaluate him. But Deshaun Watson, if he doesn't play well next season as well, and he's not an elite quarterback, then teams are not going to go all in on quarterbacks that have not played for their franchise
Well, the benefit of Watson is he's young, so you know
I
Wilson
think
is aging
Deshaun-
and shit like that.
Sean should be fine.
Yeah, he should be all right, right? You mentioned that you said, you know, they're getting a new coach. Russell should get back to somewhat of a good to great form. But does this team, what's the ceiling for this team still? I still ask that question, right? Because Javonte Williams, you get him back. The offensive line gets healthy. The wide receiving core is still Cortland Sutton, it's still Jerry Jeudy. But you look at the landscape of the AFC, it's so fucking good that how can you really say this is a playoff team when there's so many good teams in the AFC? You got the Dolphins, you got the Ravens, you got two teams in the division with the Chargers, with the Chiefs. You got Buffalo, New England. What if they make some moves? They can get in the hunt. The Jets are coming. So it's like there's so many teams in the AFC. The Bengals, I didn't even mention them. Jesus Christ.
Half the league, half the conference.
Like, the AFC is so stacked. I don't know if Russell can just go from worst in the league to top 15, top 10 automatically like that, because that's what we're going to need him to do to really put this team on his back. But Hackett deserved to be fired. He was dog shit. You know, the Broncos was just a failure this year. Nothing wrong with it. It happens in the NFL. They just
not like this.
Oh yeah, this was
all time bad.
All time.
Everybody's at fault, from the coaching to Russell Wilson to the receivers, not to Javonte, but everybody's at fault. The whole offense, you get a blame because this was just a disaster from start to finish. But you bring in another guy that hopefully brings Russell Wilson back to reality, bring him back to that elite level play. That's a hard thing to grab, but if you can do that, you can definitely get some solid years out of this 10-year, because if you think about it, the Broncos defense is elite. It's been elite for a long time. So you always have that to worry about. PS2 is here. He is on, like, he is one of the best in the game, if not the best. So you have that defense to always look out for. But offensively, you have to score, especially in the AFC. You have to be able to put points on the board. And you saw this year, the Broncos couldn't score. That's why they could not win games. Defensively, they were there in damn near every single game. They just could not score.
Yeah, and it's on, you know, Hackett, it's on Russ, but you also got to look at who made these decisions. You bring in this Walmart group who comes in, buys the Broncos billions of dollars. Everyone's very excited. George Patton has had a really good track record up to this point in terms of draft, free agency, even, you know, later round guys, undrafted guys, has had a really good history, but it starts with them because they're the ones who hired Nathaniel Hackett. They're the ones that signed off on the Russell Wilson trade, I'm sure. They're the ones who signed off on that $230 million contract. And Hackett's to blame for sure, but you also can't hire a coach who can't adjust his offense around his players. We could blame Russell Wilson and say he has to adjust over Hackett, but Hackett also has to adjust for Russell Wilson. It's very easy to say, well, they hired Hackett because they thought they were getting Aaron Rodgers or they could potentially trade for Aaron Rodgers, but if that was the only way Hackett was going to work, he should have never been the guy. There's no way you could hire a coach and say the only way we're going to succeed is if we can go and get Aaron Rodgers, because you could probably hire 40 people, and if you get Aaron Rodgers, you're at least a playoff team, right? We see now how terrible the Packers were for the first 2-3 months of the season. They're starting to get it going now and potentially go on a playoff run. That's just how special Aaron Rodgers is. But this season for the Broncos, I mean, they're the most disappointing team in the league, right? I thought they were going to compete for the division. I thought they'd be in the playoffs. There was people who thought they could be the number one seed, go to the Super Bowl, have a really great season, and it's been the exact opposite of it.
Look at that division, them and the Raiders.
It's really tough. The Raiders probably were fourth for a lot of people. But I didn't even watch this game against the Rams, honestly. The Celtics were on at 5. I wasn't watching Broncos-Rams.
Nobody was.
I saw 51-14. I saw on Twitter everyone flaming Russ for all his interceptions. They had Patrick Starr commentating a pick six. It was honestly comical, and I'm sorry, honestly, because, you know, Christmas and sports haven't been the best combination for Mr. Velez over here. But I really don't want to.
And the Lakers lost.
Yeah, exactly. Lakers lost.
Sorry, I had to just let that know.
I don't want to count on Russ just yet. I do agree that you do have this large sample size of him being a really good quarterback, But I am starting to wonder, can he get to that elite status again? Will he be able to carry an offense? Will he be able to make special plays multiple times per game? Will he be able to put down special drives throughout the season to get you wins and get you into the playoff hunt? Because if Russell Wilson just turns into a game manager, if Russell Wilson just turns into Ryan Tannehill, this is a disaster of a trade. Not only are you giving up that top 5 pick most likely this year, but you also have all of that money committed to him. So the Broncos right now, we discussed it a few weeks ago, are in one of the worst positions to be in the NFL, because it's a bad thing to not know if you have a quarterback, but typically if you don't know you have a quarterback, you probably aren't paying him yet, right? That's kind of like Daniel Jones. That's with Sam Darnold for years. You didn't know if he was the guy, but you're also not paying him all this money. The Broncos probably right now, if they get out of this contract, they would get off of it yesterday if they could. But you have, I think, over $100 million in dead cap. There's no way anyone is going to be able to come in and eat that dead cap, or they be able to want to. So I think for the Broncos in terms of head coaches, I know a lot of people, want a veteran head coach, someone who's done it before. But if you look across the league, I mean, a lot of successful guys, and just because there's a lot of first-time head coaches in the league, have the most success, right? Kyle Shanahan was first-time head coach. Sean McVay. Another side of things, you do have guys like Bill Belichick who got a second chance, Andy Reid. So when you do have that home run ability in terms of like, Andy Reid was a no-brainer. He got fired from the Eagles, but he went to the Super Bowl. We knew he was a great coach. That's how I feel about Sean Payton. He is a second-time go-around type of head coach guy, but he's a home run hire. You get Sean Payton, you go and do it. I feel the same way about Frank Reich. I think Sean Payton's going to be number one for a lot of teams, but Sean Payton is special in terms of he's going to be able to choose where he wants to go. Everyone's going to want him. He's going to have to choose. I think next on the list is going to be Frank Reich. So when he's looking at these possible situations, he's going to have a plethora of options. And right now, this Broncos team is just not the most ideal situation if you are a head coach to go into. You have a lot of fix. You have a quarterback on a terrible contract. So I guess it's only up from here for the Broncos. You can't have much worse of a season. You guys have 4 wins, I want to say, 4-11. But, you could hope and pray. You could pray Russell Wilson gets into a game manager role and Javonte comes back healthy.
At least, your prediction wasn't right, but the inverse of it was.
Would you had him 11-4?
13-4, I think, right? Yeah.
Damn, really? Question.
It might go for 13.
Yeah. Because you mentioned Ryan Tannehill, and it brought up this question in my mind. If Russell Wilson, indeed, it comes back and he is just a game manager, when do you decide, for Denver, when do you decide to start thinking about, all right, he may be a game manager, but we drafted Jerry Jeudy, we have Cortland Sutton, we have Javonte Williams, all young talent, all young talent. When do they decide? When do we decide? All right, even though he's a game manager, we still have the guys on the field offensively too. Because you mentioned Ryan Tannehill, he has Derrick Henry. Mahomes is Mahomes. Allen is Allen, but he has Diggs to save him. Tua, he has Waddle, he has Tyreek Hill. Even Dak to a degree, CeeDee Lamb has stepped up his game. So when do you decide, all right, Javonte Williams, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, when are they going to really enter that next level type game if Russell comes back and be a game manager?
Cortland Sutton is who he is. Jerry Jeudy is who he is.
Throw some respect on Jerry.
He's good.
He's been turning. He's the X now, and he's been a stud.
He's not elite. He's good. He's not elite.
Can he be a low tier 1?
No, he's a wide receiver number 2.
So they have two number 2s.
I don't know if he'll ever be like a CD. That's kind of
how the thing that does give me some optimism is now that we're starting to treat him as the best receiver on the team, which he is. Now we're starting to see him get unleashed a little bit, which I'm fine with.
I want to play devil's advocate because, yes, everything hasn't been Russell Wilson's fault. The coach needs to blame all this other stuff. Russ has been bad though. What does Russell Wilson at his best look like in a loaded AFC? Josh Allen is better than him.
Clears.
Mahomes is better than him.
Clears.
Herbert is better than him.
Clears.
Even if Russell Wilson gets back to being at his best, these guys will be better. Yep. Joe Burrow's better than him. Lamar Jackson's better than him.
Clears.
That's 5 quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson, he gets back to himself.
If they both get back to
he's better than him.
They both suck though right now.
Trevor Lawrence, he is better than him. That's 7 quarterbacks right there in the AFC that are better than Russell Wilson. Even if you're optimistic that Russ gets back to his best self.
All right, that's where you're losing me.
But his best self is in that conversation, the top 7-8 quarterback.
His best self is not these
Stop
guys.
it.
Just a couple years ago, we were all he's a top 7-8 quarterback.
You're telling me that Russell Wilson gets back to peak.
We're 2 years away from a 40 touchdown season.
He lost the MVP to Lamar Jackson.
We're just 2 seasons away from a 40 touchdown season.
Wait. If Russell gets back to his level, which is elite, he's still not on Allen, Herbert, Burrow, or Mahomes level.
Correct.
Not there.
Correct.
He can be in the Deshaun, maybe Lamar. If you really
Not
want to think
Lamar.
about
No, Lamar.
No,
is
but
ahead of him. Easy.
if Russ is at that level,
Easy.
they could be beaten on any given week if you could
It's
compete
like, look
with
at
them.
Stafford last year.
with the team.
Yeah, with how good their defense is.
Stafford last year, he's not Mahomes. He's not Allen.
He also
he's
had a bomb
not,
squad.
He's not Herbert. He's not Burrow. He did have a very good team,
Yeah,
but he was amazing.
That
It's
team was
NFC,
loaded though. They had
NFC compared to the AFC.
They had the
The
best.
NFC,
They had the
he-
best wide
he
receiver. They
played
had the best
Tampa Bay.
corner.
He played the Niners. Those were two very tough teams to
Niners
beat.
had Jimmy Garoppolo.
Hey,
And they still had one of the best
Jimmy
defenses in
Garoppolo
the
had a
league.
stinker
Hey,
in that
hey,
game.
hey,
He didn't
hey.
do anything.
Jimmy
Like,
Garoppolo
Jimmy
was
G
bad
the
every single
entire
game, and
playoffs.
they still won because how elite that defense
Yeah,
was.
but in the AFC, you're gonna have to
Okay,
duel
so-
these great
Yeah,
quarterbacks.
but they could if
The
Russ is at
Buccaneers?
his best, they could be in
Yeah,
that
Brady,
But
conversation.
that's
the
the
Stafford point is mute because Stafford had Cup, the best wide receiver
That's fair.
in the league. He
And
had
McVay.
Jalen Ramsey,
He had
the
McVay,
best
yes.
corner league. He had
Aaron
Aaron
Donald,
Donald,
the best player arguably in the NFL.
Russell don't got that on O. He don't really got the best wide receiver or the best running back.
And defensively, you guys are great
No, you're
defensively. There's no
elite
doubt.
defensively.
There's gonna be some regression next year. There is.
oh, really?
Yes.
How so?
I don't know about
I
that.
thought that coming
there-
into this year, and
there
they
will be
I
didn't
feel like
have
they're supposed to
any
I
regress
just
and
have
they
a
never
feeling.
Just
regress.
how so? No, you can't have a feeling.
I just have.
But how
I
so?
mean, that's my feeling.
But how so?
I don't know about
can have
that
a
one.
feeling.
But why?
What are they going to regress from, like 5 to 8,
Because
9?
how many times have you seen in league history that a defense that is one of the top in the league continue to be that for multiple
The
years?
Denver
to come?
Broncos.
They've been that for multiple years, Fangio or not.
Even the 49ers in 2019, their defense was elite. 2020, they fell off.
injuries.
Happens.
It
It
does
happens.
happen. It does.
All
And we
I'm
were
saying-
injured this year, and we were still
All I'm
dominant.
saying is that I don't know. Let's see. But all I'm saying is that Russell wasn't at his best. He's not these guys, and that's why for me it's like, even if he goes back to being if he goes back to being himself, I feel confident, right? What are the odds of that? We don't know. But if he goes to being a game manager, I mean, come on, it's done. I mean, it's
Especially
done.
if the Chargers get Sean Payton.
But
Now
the
you
thing
have
is,
Reed Mahomes, Payton, Herbert. Chalk it up.
I
Not gonna
feel like
lie.
he hasn't.
Sean
been
7
a-
seed is going to be the fight. And
Like
Chalk it up.
this season, he hasn't tried to be a game manager. He's tried to make the throws to put us in position to win.
just thrown
They
to
just
the
haven't
wrong
been
team.
good. Just not good throws. It's simple. Not enough plays pushing the ball down the field. He hasn't been trying to game manage. He simply just has not been good. That's the issue.
I mean, he probably would have been better if he is just game managing
Correct.
this year.
Shit. At this point, I would have loved him to be a game manager. That's just not him.
Yeah. You just got to hope Javonte comes back 100% sooner than later because he's really what can open up this offense, I think. If Javonte is able to come back from his injury and be able to be a workhorse running back, we see how special he is with the ball in his hands. If he's able to be the focal point of this offense and you have success running the ball, the offensive line stays healthy, and Russ can feed off that, which was a lot of his success early in his career, on top of obviously one of the best defenses of our lifetime, then I think the Broncos have have a chance in the AFC West and the AFC. But if Sean Payton, I know the Chargers, we're going to talk about them later, they're going to go to the playoffs. If they do get bounced in round one and you have all of these rumors around Sean Payton, Brandon Staley, shout out to you. The defense has improved this year, not dramatically, but it has improved. But you fire him and you sign Sean Payton. You don't think twice about it. So if you do have Reed Mahomes, Payton, and Justin Herbert, no matter how great of a game manager, we're talking about game manager Javonte is, that's two of the best quarterback head coaching duos in the entire NFL you're going to have to deal with every season.
The biggest story in this game was Hackett being fired, the Broncos being dog shit. But the Rams, this game, had a 58.6% offensive DVOA versus the Broncos. That was their best single game rating since week 1 of 2021 versus Chicago. The game that you drew, you stamped the Rams as Super Bowl winners
Sunday night.
with that offensive performance that they had against Chicago last year. Baker just did that, man. And Baker Mayfield,
impressive.
since starting with the Rams, 69% completion percentage, 576 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, 98.9 quarterback rating. This is not a great situation. But when you have a coach who believes in you, who structures an offense around you, and plays to your strengths, you get high-level quarterback play. And Baker Mayfield's been doing that.
Didn't
Looking
move
at
us.
you, Dehls.
No, Breaker, you want me to answer that? I don't know.
I'm just saying,
Baker's
there's a
been
lot
playing
of
well.
Baker disrespect here at this table.
No, for sure. I mean,
You said he wouldn't even be one of the best backups in the league.
did I say that?
You said
think
that.
you did.
One of the
I
best.
think you were
backups?
cooking. You were on a
I'm
cook
probably.
session.
I mean,
Yeah, you were in a
I
cook
say some shit.
You said
sometimes.
that you'd rather Mike White over Baker on the Jets.
I don't doubt
I'll
that.
be honest,
I don't doubt that.
I'm fine with that statement.
I don't doubt it. Mike White's bigger.
Although Broadway baked, it is
hard.
hard.
First thing that came to my mind is just the bigger guy.
Situation is everything.
Of course, without a doubt.
Baker Mayfield got the situation, and I'm happy for Baker, man. I think he should stay with the Rams, and if he does, his career is in good hands with Sean McVay.
Stafford says he's not going anywhere.
That's fine. Baker Mayfield, learn under year, due to Geno Smith. There's not another situation better than L.A. Just stay there, learn.
In terms of developing.
Yeah, stay there, learn, wait for your chance. Stafford's going to retire sooner rather than later. Wait for your chance, and then, go ball out like he's doing right now.
He's doing his thing for sure. So 2 good games, one shitty game.
Is none of
MVP?
None of just
totally invaluable player.
Didn't Mitch win it the first year? Right? It's very interesting. It's Mitch, Baker. Who is the other MVP? Because
they actually have there's an MVP for every week. Because they have a Nickelodeon game every week.
Oh,
yeah.
But there's some they highlight. I think it's the Christmas games or around this time.
They do
because
highlight
Mitch did it the first year.
particular.
I remember. I don't remember who it was the year after. And then it was Baker.
Cam Akers has been going off too.
Yeah, he had three touchdowns. Was there two?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
he
had
2 or 3. Yeah.
The Achilles injury, man, is brutal for running backs. We saw Deontay Foreman this year really getting back to his zone, and hopefully Akers do the same thing because before that injury, he was a problem. Small stretch, but he was a problem.
King Dolphin here writes, as a Dolphins fan, I'm tired of the late season collapse and not having the right guy at quarterback. If we don't make the playoffs, all hell will break loose, and he had to put the Fins up in there. Now, the Dolphins.
This guy just super chatted us that?
Yeah, he did.
It
was. I saved it. It's deep in the replies right now. The Dolphins lost 26-20. They're now 8-7.
Is it King Dolphin?
They are on a 4-game losing streak. Recent news came out that Tua is in concussion protocol. He reported symptoms of having concussion-like symptoms. We're not sure if he had a concussion yet or not.
Praise to him, man.
Now, how can I say this without sounding insensitive? Because I really don't want to sound insensitive. The question being asked is, was his poor play due to the concussion or was it not? The play where he was concussed, allegedly, was before the first half. It was near the end of the first half. In the second half, for one, I will say this. Dolphins coaching staff, the players at halftime in the locker room, they didn't notice any symptoms. There was a doctor that, it was a report from NFL Network that they didn't see any symptoms either. So who knows if he has a concussion or not. Pinning the poor play on the concussion, I think it minimizes the Packers' adjustments because they did adjust defensively in the second half. And what has been consistent with Tua all year long on film? All year long on film, Tua has been a one-read quarterback.
Saying all year long is wrong.
It's the truth.
Definitely the last 4 weeks.
He's been a one-read quarterback. The last 4 weeks, they have taken the first read away. So then now he has to look to other places, and he's just not the same quarterback. Austin Gale, who works for The Ringer, had a graph about times to throw and the EPA in times to throw. Under 2 seconds time to throw, Tua's EPA is up there with Mahomes, which means your first read is open. That's where you go with the ball. When he holds on to the ball, which means when he's going through more progressions and the first read's not open, 2.5 seconds to 4.5 seconds, his EPA is negative, while the top quarterbacks like Burrow, Mahomes, and Allen still stay positive, and they're actually very good when they hold on to the ball longer. The first drive in the second half on third down, Tua made a nice throw, throwing to his left to Jalen Waddle. He then hit a 24-yard throw to Jalen Waddle. They missed a field goal on that drive, but it was a solid drive. The first interception came on a motion to Tyreek Hill. He overthrows Tyreek Hill, and it's a Jair interception. I've seen Tua overthrow a bunch of guys these last couple of weeks. I don't know if I blame that on the concussion personally. Second interception, motion, play action toss. Wilson is wide open on a screen to the left, Jeff Wilson. Instead of going through the progression, Tua waits for Jalen Waddle to get open, and he hits him on a crossing for 16 yards, but Wilson would have gotten a 40-plus yard gain if he hits him on the screen to the left, that was open too. Then, a couple plays later, he passes the ball to Jalen Waddle. It gets knocked out by Rasul Douglas. Very next play, 4 wide receivers line up to the left side. Defender doesn't pick up Hill, and it's a very nice gain. They're on a touchdown drive right now. It looks like the Dolphins' offense is moving. This was a great-looking drive. Then Waddle gets called for an illegal formation. It puts the offense back, and it's spread formation. This is where the interception happens. Mostert is running a seam, and Tua just doesn't see Devondre Campbell. Quay Walker doesn't look like he's going to pick him up, and Tua just throws it automatically. Devondre steps up on that, intercepts the ball. The reason why I don't want to say the concussion was correlated to his poor play, it may have some correlation, is because Tua had some really good moments in the second half. But then he had those plays where you say, wow, they got you right there. Then the third interception, Tyreek's running an in-breaker, and it's a really it's a great design play. They hit it earlier. It's Tyreek on an in-breaker, the corner picks him up, and Gesicki's wide open on the corner route. They hit that play earlier in the game. But on his third interception, when Tyreek Hill was running the in-breaker, Quay Walker picked him up, and Rasul Douglas stayed. He had depth on Gesicki's corner route, and he picked it off, which tells me he wasn't processing it post-snap. Pre-snap, Tua, when it's designed for him, and Mike McDaniel just goes, look, this is probably going to be open, he's great at that. But when he has to process further, and the defense is giving him different looks in coverage, he does struggle. And we just saw all of that in the Packers game in the second half. We've been seeing that in the past 4 weeks with Tua. And that's what I said last week when I came on the show, and I said Tua does put a limit to this offense because he is a system quarterback. You give him the plays on a platter, he's going to hit it. He's going to be great at it. But when it's time to do something, when the defense is giving you different looks, and you gotta process and you gotta anticipate for real, I just don't see it enough with Tua. I just don't. And 4-game losing streak, they might miss the playoffs. If Tua doesn't play, that's going to be huge. And then on to the concussion thing. I mean, the NFL is a violent sport. And players are risking their bodies on the line every time they play football. When Tua, that concussion that Tua had, if he even had one, but the play that's in question, it's a routine tackle. Like, it's a routine tackle. It's not something where I say the defender hit Tua illegally. It was a routine tackle. And it's unfortunate that if he does have a concussion, it would be very unfortunate because at some point you have to value your long-term health over a game in football. And if Tua does indeed have a concussion after what we've seen in the Bengals game and now in this game, there has to be a conversation, at least for him and his family, to make about whether he wants to continue with this sport. It's brutal. And Tua is only going to continue to get sacked, only going to continue to get hit. It's football. Every player gets hit. And the NFL definitely has to do a better job with concussion protocol. But at the end of the day, when you sign up to play football, this is the risk that's involved. And I hope that Tua is okay and doesn't have concussion. But I don't want to blame the poor play all on the concussion because I think things that were consistent on film for most of the year showed up in this game, and that's just how I feel about it.
You guys want to go?
This is
yeah.
Okay, I assume so. Just figuring.
we had Broncos and Dolphins topic started off,
I
know.
So I did tweet after watching Tua's performance that I definitely was not thrilled with how he played. Going through the analysis of the film itself, just to go over the interceptions, because we saw Tua make a lot of good throws on Sunday. The first throw, if I'm going to look at any INT that was truly bad, was the first INT. Simply sailed Tyreek Hill. Was a bad throw, bad decision. Threw it in what seemed like quadruple coverage. Poor decision there. The second INT, obviously a miscommunication because Mostert is not even looking back towards the ball. Tua himself even said it. Maybe he called the wrong play. Maybe that's him just trying to take blame off Mostert for not knowing what route he was supposed to run. Sure. But fine. Let's put that one on Tua. Let's say that Devondre Campbell made a great play on the ball. Maybe let's not just say it was a simple miscommunication. Pick 3. Let's say that Tua did not make a good throw. Let's say Tua did not make a good throw. Let's not say that Rasul Douglas made an excellent play by faking defense on Tyreek Hill because watching it back, it looks like he's picking up Tyreek, simply falls back, makes an excellent play on the ball. You have to give credit where credit is due. Prior to the concussion, Tua was having an unbelievable game. 9 for 12, 229 yards. I think the yards per completion was upwards of 19 yards per completion and a touchdown. The things that bother me about Tua's critique are that when he has a bad game, it's just completely different from when others have a bad game. And notice how I'm not even talking about the concussion yet. When Tua has a bad game, it is different from when other quarterbacks have a bad game. When week 1, when Joe Burrow had a disaster, no one was saying Joe Burrow isn't good. No one said that because he's not bad. He's great.
To the Super Bowl.
He's absolutely amazing. Absolutely credit to him. When Trevor Lawrence, who was horrible last season, has a bad game, second year rookie, right? You didn't give him that pass against the Bills rookie season. When Trevor Lawrence has a bad game, we're not saying Trevor Lawrence is bad. We're giving the benefit of the doubt because people like him. If you don't like a quarterback, you are going to hyperanalyze and be extra critical of a bad performance. Understandable. It's normal. I'm fine with it. But now let's talk about the concussion, right? Because I'm here evaluating very cleanly that I'm not happy with what I saw from Tua. No doubt. Prior to hearing about the concussion. Post-concussion, right? After, this was about 2:40, around that period mark in the second quarter. Thank you. After that, 7 for 13, 81 yards, 6.2 yards per attempt, 3 INTs. These are situations that we just simply have not seen before in terms of the NFL and concussion protocols, where they're very pick and choose of how they want to put in place their new protocols. Because when Tua first got hurt, if you showed any type of sign, you're pulled. Yeah. You're not just pulled, you're out for the game. It does not matter if you clear concussion protocols, you are out for the game. So now Tua has a pretty harsh hit. And you could say it's routine. I think the tackle itself was a clean tackle, absolutely.
The way he fell was
But there's absolutely no way you can look at this and think that this was not an ugly fall. He turns, lands back first, back hits, neck hits, head hits. For a guy who's already experienced not one, not two, but now this is his third incident of having a concussion-like play happen to him, concussion-like situation, how, as the National Football League, can you allow a player to put himself through this? I know that we've heard people talk about this all basically since the news broke. Luke Kuechly, one of the premier players that we've seen this game have, had 3 concussions in one season and had to retire from it. Tua is box office, whether you like him or not, whether you think he's good or not. When he plays great, people are watching. When he plays poorly, people are watching. This is a guy that the league has to protect and has failed to do so up until this point. I can sit here and openly say I was not happy with the way that Tua played, concussion aside. But if Tua has a concussion, the league seriously needs to realize what is going on is not okay. I don't disagree. I saw some throws that I was not happy with. But then there's other situations that I can see throughout the game. Tua is making a great read to Waddle, lets the play develop, allows Waddle to get open. Waddle does the rest, absolutely. That bomb to Tyreek Hill, the first half, everything was going perfectly. Tua was the Tua that we've seen. But then after this injury, it's tough to truly evaluate the whole game. Credit to the Packers. They had an excellent game plan in the second half. They stopped the run, most importantly. The first half, Raheem Mostert was dominating. They were starting to change the narrative because the Dolphins are one of the worst rush teams in the league. But they were dominating against the Bills, and they continued that in the first half. Second half, Packers took that away. I don't want this to be super hyper-focused on Tua as opposed to a miscommunication and a great defensive read by Rasul Douglas.
It's also a bad decision for Tua to throw the ball.
And at the same time, Tua could have a concussion the third of the season. It's just tough to really be harsh on this performance if that's the case.
First off, hopefully Tua is good.
Yeah.
We don't want him to be concussed. We want him to be healthy. We want him to be playing out in the field because any concussion is bad when you start piling them off 1, 2, 3 concussions, like Drew said. Luke Kuechly, who is one of the best, different position where you're hitting head-to-head basically every play. Tua doesn't experience it as much, so maybe there's some differences there. But once you start piling up these concussions, it's not just football anymore. It's your life, it's your well-being, it's your long-term health, and making sure that you're able to live a long life and be able to be cognate, everything going around you and whatnot. So obviously that's first and foremost. The one thing I will say, Drew, just to counteract your point, in terms of pulling Tua, and I do agree, right? We saw a few weeks ago Devontae Parker get lit up. He's stumbling and nothing happens. He doesn't get pulled. That was a complete and utter miss by the NFL. In this situation for Tua against the Packers, he didn't show any symptoms. He didn't get up stumbling. He didn't get up wobbly. He didn't say anything to his teammates, coaches, training staff. So it's hard for a judge upstairs, a ref, a trainer to come up and just ask him after a hard hit, because most likely, and Tua might have even said it, I'm good, I'm fine. You could very easily not be having concussion-like symptoms, and they could come on later on the day or even the next day, which seemed to be the case this time around, right? He didn't have it on Sunday, and it came out today or yesterday that he had concussion-like symptoms, right? Sometimes it takes some time to kind of sit in. So I think that's the one thing where it's hard for me to blame the NFL or the judges or whatever, just because if you're not showing it, and Tua, who is a gamer, is a competitor, even if he is showing it, he could very easily lie. Excuse me, unless my voice just cracks. He could very easily lie because he wants to go out there. He knows it's a must-win game. We're trying to get into the playoffs. We're on a 3-game losing streak. Playing Aaron Rodgers, they want to win this game. Tua wants to win this game. So if he's not showing symptoms and he's not telling his coaches, it's very hard to put it on anybody else. And the other thing I'll say in terms of Tua having bad games compared to other quarterbacks having bad games, you brought up Joe Burrow, for example. Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl last year. Joe Burrow put up insane numbers, led the league in completion percentage. He did it the entire year, went to the playoffs, went to the Super Bowl, came up a little bit short. He gets a pass. Trevor Lawrence was the most touted prospect in the NFL since Andrew Luck. He had the worst head coach rookie experience you could possibly have. Tua was a great prospect as well.
Thank you.
A great prospect. He's not Trevor Lawrence, and he had a hip injury, which obviously has taken down his game. We can't really compare them to as prospects or as NFL players right now. So that's the only reason why I push back on that statement, because when you have elite level quarterbacks, while Trevor Lawrence, sure, he's not in that Joe Burrow conversation yet. We see the progression there. Does Tua get more, scrutiny than other quarterbacks? Without a doubt, he does. There's no doubt in my mind that if there's other guys doing what Tua does, we're going to be praising him a lot more or giving him passes a lot more often as well. But in Tua's situation, when you have a guy who has been, throughout his career, given not the best circumstance, has been up and down, has had questions about arm strength, has had questions about being able to be a franchise guy, people are going to run with that. And people are going to say, well, X, Y, and Z is the reason why he doesn't do it. And when he's playing in these games, especially a national televised game on Christmas, when everyone's watching, it's the standalone game. You had Knicks and Sixers on as the only other form of entertainment, and that wasn't even a good game. People are going to be very picky about what they do, especially when it comes to Tua. So I think right now, obviously the most important thing is Tua's health, is making sure he's able to be out here for the rest of the season, play against New England, play against the Jets. This is what's going to make or break your season. This is what's going to make or break getting into the playoffs. I don't think there should be any concern if you're a Tua fan in terms of, I see people out there saying, oh, if you lose the last two, you get Lamar, Rodgers, whatever. You have to remember, the Dolphins traded the first-round pick for Bradley Chubb, right? They traded their first-round pick. They don't have a pick. You're not going to be able to go out and get Lamar Jackson, get Aaron Rodgers with no first-round pick. It's just not going to happen. And there's no quarterback in this draft. There's no quarterback in free agency that's going to come in and be able to replicate what Tua does right now. He was playing, I was talking to somebody on Twitter who said, oh, you don't think Mac Jones could come in and have this type of success? I said, I think Mac Jones would come up and put up really good numbers, but we can't discredit for 3 months Tua was putting up top 3 statistical numbers in the NFL. With Mahomes, with Herbert, with Allen, with Burrow, all playing, all healthy, Lamar, all of these guys. And Tua was among the top 2 or 3 guys, and all of these stats, basic stats, advanced stats, EPA, whatever you want to look at, DVOA, he was top 3. So you could say you could put 15 other quarterbacks in here and they'll do the same thing. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know how many of these guys put up top 3 numbers. With that being said, there's definitely limitations with Tua, which is why he gets scrutinized. I think you could pretty easily see he has more limitations than Burrow, than Trevor Lawrence, which is why he gets scrutinized to this level. Most importantly, though, to go back to my main point, you got to hope he's healthy. I hope he plays the last couple games of the season. That Week 18 game I think we talked about in the offseason, that could be the make-or-break game for the Jets or Dolphins to get in. I'm hoping that we see him at his best going up against this Jets defense, be one of the best in the league.
Make or break?
It is make or break. If
the Pats need to lose one game. and the Jets need to win out. In Week 18, we play the Dolphins. So if we beat the Dolphins, we would be in with 1 Pats loss.
Well, for starters, hope to as well. You know, you always got to start by saying something like that. The brain is definitely one of those things where we still don't know much about. So, you know, definitely shout out to Tua. Hope he gets better because he's great for the sport. He's great for the Dolphins because it keeps them competitive, keeps them for us watching the game. So shout out to Tua. In terms of the performance, this isn't just a one-game thing. You know, he hasn't been good for the past 3 to 4 weeks. I mean, I know the Buffalo Bills game was probably his best showing in the past 4 weeks. He was really good in that game. People thought, oh, it's snowing, it's a little windy. He wasn't going to play bad, but I thought he was really well. But he's been on a stretch where he hasn't been playing good football. You know, he hasn't been his best. He hasn't been that top 3 statistical guy in the first 2 months that he's been doing. And we talked about this. This has been a thing. First half, Tua is amazing. Second half, now it's down the stretch. What is he going to do? Can he will them to the playoffs? And now they're on, 4-game losing streak. First half, it looked like he was on a masterclass against Green Bay. He was going to put up a 400-yard, 3 TD, 4 TD game. He was going to put on a monster performance. And then the hit happens, and then he comes out, makes a couple plays, and then he just doesn't look the same. And a lot of it, you know, I know people want to go to that hit, but realistically, we have to look at what's been happening over the past couple weeks. He just hasn't been good. He hasn't been himself. And you have to look at stuff like that. I know the concussion protocol thing is a tough thing because, like you said, you can get like see symptoms 2-3 days later. You can be okay that day. The next day you wake up, I got a headache. I don't feel good. So it's really the concussion is such a hard thing to process in the brain in general. Just any brain damage is hard to really assess. But in terms of just his play on the field, he hasn't been good. And Miami now, you have to look at the situation. This could be the second year they don't make the playoffs, and this could be the second year where Tua flops late at the end of the year and they don't get in. And, you know, I know you talked about Trevor Lawrence. He struggled in his first year. And we look at Josh Allen. His first couple years, he wasn't good. You know, Mac Jones, he made the playoffs last year. And then this year, in the beginning, he didn't look that great. But now he stepped his game up big time. As far as Tua goes, you want Miami fans in general, you guys want to put him in that conversation, right? You want to put him in the breath with Burrow. You want to put him in the breath with Josh Allen. With Josh Allen, for example, had an elbow injury and was still gutting out wins in the fourth quarter with his legs, running the ball, making key plays at the end. That's stuff you have to do when you want to get put in that level. Joe Burrow is walking into certain games. He's throwing 3 interceptions and still gutting out fourth quarter OT drives. Like, there's certain things you just have to overcome as a quarterback if you want to get to that upper echelon level. Pat Mahomes don't have an elite receiver. Well, he has elite tight end, but he doesn't have one elite number one receiver. And he is still unquestioned the best quarterback in the NFL, probably the best quarterback we have ever seen. So, like, to be in that conversation, you got to do shit outside the box, do shit outside the numbers. And Tua hasn't really shown that, and that's okay. He's young. He can still get better. He can still progress in this game. You get Waddle, you draft Waddle, you get Tyreek Hill for shit like that to improve. But you can't put him in that conversation. I think this year has pretty much asserted that he is not in that conversation, even though those first 2 months was amazing. Nobody's taking that from him. But now, gut time, you got to get into the playoffs. You are fighting for a spot. I remember me and you was talking 4 weeks ago. It was Miami or the Bills who can win the division. Now, 4 or 5 weeks later, Buffalo has comfortably asserted themselves as when it was time. Yeah, when it was time to put their stamp on it, they did that, and Miami has crumbled since then. So, shout out to Tua. I hope he's safe. I hope he's well. You know, the concussion ain't no joke. I want him to be good because it's fun to talk about Tua versus Josh Allen and Miami versus the Patriots, and, you know, your little slander on Tua.
Not to mention, I mean, Justin Herbert early in the year injured his groin against the Chiefs, prime time.
His ribs,
my bad. He's playing with broken ribs. Nobody gave him a pass.
No, he gets nothing.
That is debatable.
Week 1, you talk about Joe Burrow. He just came back from surgery. I don't.
Appendicitis.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's giving hit. You know
who?
And that was his only bad game of the year.
Burrow had surgery coming in.
Only bad game. The Browns.
Oh, he has a few bad games.
What do you mean?
It was an okay game. It wasn't a bad game.
The
past game was okay. It wasn't.
It's his first game against the Ravens.
First game against the Browns.
They got smoked, but he didn't have a bad game.
He was not good.
The past game, he wasn't that bad. He wasn't that great.
All I'm saying right now is that, okay, even if we want to say, you know, whatever, this game, you know, doesn't count against Green Bay. Wasn't good against San Francisco. Wasn't good against the Chargers, and I really don't think he was okay against the Bills. It wasn't really
solid. He was better than what we thought he'd be trash.
He was solid.
We thought he'd be the trash.
He was solid.
But in the last 4 games, 52% completion percentage, 6 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, 80 passer rating. The only stretch of games this season he's looked, oh my God, great, has been Detroit, Chicago, Cleveland. Those are the 3 games. Baltimore, for 3 quarters, he wasn't good.
Yeah, but you gotta get that
quarter,
fourth was
he came
crazy.
alive.
That fourth was nuts.
But for
Come
3
on,
quarters, he was not
Hey,
good.
don't do that. That fourth was nuts. You gotta give it to him.
Nah,
Fourth was nuts.
You
but-
credit Zach Wilson with having a great game against the Steelers because of the one
He
drive.
got you.
He got you as fuck.
Yeah, he got you.
I didn't say
And
he
we're
had a
talking
good-
about
I said he had a.
we're talking
I
about
said he had a game-winning drive.
and that was the best performance we've seen all
I
season
think
from a
Zach didn't
quarterback.
miss a throw that quarter against the Steelers in the
Yeah,
fourth.
But
He
then
didn't
you
miss a
look,
throw.
week 1 against New England, he was okay. He was good. Baltimore, okay, great, whatever. Let's give him that. Great, right?
What do you mean, whatever?
He doesn't wanna
that's
give him
the
that
best
game.
performance of the
Buffalo
season.
he was good or
He
what?
had a game-winning drive,
He was manageable.
and
So
he
I'm
came
just
back
saying,
from a concussion.
He was barely on the
Okay.
field.
So that didn't affect his play. He had that play to Waddle, and that doesn't get discounted at all. But these bad performances coming after concussions gets counted. I just want to be
I
consistent.
What
think
do
the
you mean?
Bills game, he was barely on the field. Buffalo was controlling the clock. They wasn't letting Miami get on the field. that
Steelers
much.
game when he came back.
He was okay. Wasn't anything
You know,
special.
it was
That
like, what,
that
4 or
was-
5 dropped
But that was
interceptions?
also his first game coming back from one of the most gruesome hits
for
we've
sure.
seen all
I get
season.
it.
It's
He
bad
gets
game.
a pass.
He
For
does
the
get a pass
most
for that.
part, I mean, bro, he's only looked great for 3 games this year.
That's not true.
And the Ravens one. Okay, I'll give the Ravens one
You
for
really
3
don't want to
games
give
and a
him that
quarter.
game.
3 games and a quarter. I mean, come
and
on.
the Bills' game-winning drive,
And for
and he didn't look borderline great against the Bills in the snow.
no, he didn't. He looked.
He was-
He was
He had
okay.
a 104
good.
passer
He was really good.
rating.
He was
good.
okay.
He
He
just
had
wasn't.
104
For
passer
the
rating in the
situation, the
snow.
circumstance, he was
He
really
had a
It
negative
started
EPA,
snowing like the
EPA per
fourth.
play,
He just
per
wasn't that
drop.
man. I understand, but he was good.
He had a great pass rating, but he
Don't
had a
hit me
negative
with this
EPA. per
EPA.
drop.
That doesn't matter to me.
EPA is a better stat than pass rating. Pass rating is a flawed stat, honestly.
Okay,
It is a
everything's
flawed
flawed. If you really want to think about it,
Oh, it is.
Here's the
EPA
point.
EPA is the best metric for measuring quarterback play. It is. It's the most accurate metric.
The last thing I'll say is, and it's not fair to Tua, but his fans are a main reason why we have this conversation and this
Absolutely.
Oh, that's
discussion.
why.
And it's
that's
not
why,
just Drew.
That's why. Hold up, before you go.
Okay.
That's why.
I didn't know I was going to spark
why,
this.
That's why when Drew says, I don't know why Tua gets criticized. We know why.
I didn't say I don't know why.
Or as
To this-
you said,
to
to
this
the
extent.
No,
extent
there's
of other players.
The way that people scrutinize Tua is differently from how other players
Why?
are evaluated.
Wait, and
because of
listen,
his fans.
this
It's
is
because of
and-
Samuel
and listen,
Acho.
This is
Manuel
not.
Acho,
This
sorry.
is not
Was it
Tua's.
Valley Boys?
And I don't
VBS.
want to act like this is Tua's fault. This is not Tua's fault. I mean, does Herbert have a Herbert Anon account? Does Mahomes have a Mahomes Anon account? Does Burrow have a Burrow Anon account?
Bro, 7.
Tua has a Tua Anon account. Oh, we're coming. Oh, all this bullshit, man. That's why. That's why. And
But
not
why
al-
are you taking that personally?
But
though?
not only that. For one, I don't analyze Tua any differently based on these accounts. I analyze Tua based on how he's playing. And how he's playing, he has not been good for 4 weeks.
What are you talking about?
but-
Stop that.
No, it's a fact.
He has
good
not
for-
been good for 3 out of the 4.
Oh, I would say he's been more bad than he's been good. He's been bad.
That's
for
a
4
fair
weeks.
statement.
statement. Yeah.
And this is the thing.
See, like, am I sitting here being delusional?
And when Tua has these performances, the past 4 weeks when he hasn't been good, is the show boating from the opposite side more than usual? Yes, because the victory laps from Dolphins fans and Tua fans were even grander.
They were. Well, I mean, we have number 1 over here.
Yeah,
The
you
number
wrote a
1
notebook
victory
after
app.
week 2. You read your whole
Notebook was
notebook after week
hilarious.
2.
It's the best performance we've seen from a quarterback this season.
Okay. All right. But
I hate
That's
that laugh.
correct.
not
I
only
hate
that, but
laugh.
the hostility Dolphins fans show everybody
I don't
else.
disagree
they,
there.
They call out.
I
mean,
don't disagree.
they had a sign of every media personality at the game.
Yeah,
from
that was
Tua
nuts.
Come on, what are we talking
was
about?
nuts.
There's a reason why. There's a reason why when Tua now is the quarterback that most people have thought he already was, it's like, see, this is what we told you. Now, where are they? They're not anywhere to be found. That's the reason why the scrutiny is, I guess, a bit more, and why we talk about Tua more, because
He's box office.
this has been he's polarizing. That's what it is.
He is polarizing. He is
box
polarizing.
That's what it
office.
is. He's polarizing.
Polarizing box office synonymous.
Yeah, I guess he is box office, but he's not box office because he's a great quarterback. He's box office because he has a very diehard fan base that thinks he's a great quarterback when he's not a great quarterback. That's the truth of the matter. That's what it is.
Hey man, he's been not what he's
Hey,
been.
man.
at the start of the season. He's been.
We'll find out.
I've had to sit here through times where my position wasn't always at its strongest. You stay confident in your guys. You stay confident in your position. I believe Tua will be fine.
Do you still
It's
think
unfortunate.
that you could say without a doubt his biggest weakness is progressing?
I find that difficult to sit with solely for the fact of the manipulation that he has of defenses.
I agree.
I feel like that allows his progressions to be better.
Yeah, but if you have one guy in mind and you read off the safety, then go back to your number one option, that's not really progressing, is it?
I feel like last season I saw mostly, if you look at the detail that Peyton Manning did, it's on ESPN Plus. There's a play, I'm not sure. I think it's against the Jets. Off the top of my head, I'm not really sure. But Tua is expanding out the pocket. He has 3 guys. He sees the first, not there. Sees the second, not there. Sees the third, not there. Works all the way back to 1 and is able to make the play to score a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm not saying he can't. Because you have to. If you're an NFL starting quarterback, you have to.
Do you still think Tua is better than Burrow?
I never said he was better than Burrow. I said he can be.
Would you still take him over Aaron Rodgers?
I would.
Know.
I would. Was Aaron Rodgers better than Tua this Sunday?
Yeah, easily.
Easily?
First half it was Tua, second half
I'll be honest. Rodgers won this game because he was on the winning side. He was not the reason they won.
Well, yeah, 2 or 3 interceptions.
There we go. The defense pulled out that win for them. Aaron Rodgers was nothing special.
He had some special moments.
But
that throw to Mercedes Lewis.
And Tua had some special moments, and he lost.
Shout out
John.
John.
Had 3 picks.
When you're special for as
Aaron
long
Rodgers
as,
had a pick. Had a couple drop picks, too.
Yeah,
That's
3.
a game. It happens.
When you're as special as Rodgers has been, there's a bit of a pass. And
I mean, of course, he's
I think
39. We're talking about one of the greatest we've ever seen.
We can understand the situation is not Tyreek Hill and Waddle. Gesicki would be the best pass catcher on Green Bay.
They lost Christian Watson in the second
You're
quarter,
absolutely
too.
bugging.
Who's the better than
Christian
him?
Watson?
Christian Watson.
Who's been injured most of the year.
Give me Aaron Jones.
He's just been healthy. Pass catcher?
Aaron Jones had over 100
Receiving
yards
threat?
last season in the game against.
I would rather have Aaron Jones as a pass catcher than Mike Gesicki.
Is he not like if Mike Gesicki's not on the package? Is he not? Oh man, that's a primetime target for that team.
Well, he was really good year before, just in McDaniel's
Everyone
system.
chats
he's
about
not,
Robert Tonyan. I understand he's been hurt.
He's so mid.
He's whatever.
He's always been mid. He had 1 10-touchdown season, whatever it was, and people.
Shout out John.
Yeah,
shout out
to
man.
John.
What did John do?
I don't know.
They just wanted me to shout out John.
Okay. Shout out.
So, where do you think his ceiling is,
wait,
Drew?
Is it true that he's never said Tua was better than Burrow?
I thought he did.
You said Burrow.
He has definitely said Burrow will be better than him. I don't know if he's ever said.
I thought that's always been the conversation.
But I don't know if he's ever distinctly said.
I think there have been times this season where I've asked you, is he better than Burrow? And you said yes.
I said he can be.
There's a decent chance.
I've always said he can be.
With the stretch Tua went on this year, there's a decent chance he said yes.
I think he did early. I think he definitely did.
Tua was playing better than every quarterback in the league outside of Mahomes. There was a time where he was playing better than everyone.
Statistically, yeah.
Fair.
And with your eyes, you could see he was
with
amazing.
your eyes, you cannot see.
What do you mean?
With your eyes,
yes.
Mahomes has always been better.
I agree.
Allen, Herbert have always been better with my eyes.
With your eyes this season, when Tua was on, you could feel that way. I feel differently.
I give it to you because of course he's been a dog. I'll give it to you. But because season stretches.
Because that's a whole thing that you tried to drag my name into as well with the whole Herbert and Tua situation.
I don't think you said Tua over Herbert.
I never ever said.
I think Burrow though. I think you've always been there.
Statistically, this season,
but he's a big Herbert
conversation. Herbert is arguably one of my. I don't want to word this in a way where I'm saying he's my favorite quarterback. Absolutely not. But I appreciate and acknowledge that Herbert is one of the best we've ever seen in the NFL.
I respect it. I just always remembered you being very strongly about Tua and Burrow. Like that was the conversation which you're very heavily.
Because he said that last year about Tua and Burrow.
I still
that was
feel
a crazy statement.
As great as Burrow is, absolutely, Burrow is fantastic. I still believe it.
You still think he's better than Jared Goff?
Tua, of course.
So out of the 4 big dogs, you think Tua would catch Burrow? That's the one.
I think Burrow has been phenomenal these last 2 seasons. I still think of the big 4 right now, Mahomes, Allen, Herbert,
Burrow's the one.
Burrow is 4th on that list.
Okay.
And that's not a slight. I think he's still an amazing quarterback.
That is disrespectful.
As long as those are the 4.
It's super disrespectful.
It's mad disrespectful.
It is dumb disrespectful to say that he's not on Mahomes' level. Of course, I know you know that. To take Josh Allen because he simply can do more. And
I don't think that's why he's saying that's disrespectful.
No, he is saying that's disrespectful.
It's disrespectful.
And I also want to finish that Justin Herbert, technically speaking, his attributes, his talent, his ability on the football field, it clears Joe Burrow.
So wait, you're saying it's disrespectful to have Burrow 4 or to put Tua is going to...
That's the 4 right now.
Why is Burrow the one teetering on this edge?
Oh, that's the disrespect.
He's not teetering.
Herbert is disrespectful to compare him to Tua.
He's basically perfect.
But Burrow, it's not. When Burrow has had the best pass rate in the NFL since last season.
Passer rate's flawed.
You did say that.
QBR, whatever. He had the best. He had the best.
Now, if you look at EBM, I'm sure he's up there.
He had the best PFF grade last season of any quarterback in the NFL.
He had that this season. It didn't matter to you.
Team that went to a Super
Brock Purdy
Bowl.
clears.
Brock Purdy.
Close to Tua?
All of these guys.
Like if we're talking about cases, Burrow has a better. There's more of a case for Burrow being disrespected than Herbert being disrespected in this conversation.
So you're just mad that he thinks Tua can clear?
No, he's like, oh, Herbert's untouchable, but Burrow. Oh no, Burrow. You know.
Okay.
It's because Herbert is popping traits.
He's a perfect
He's
quarterback.
legitimately.
He's your prototype
perfect.
quarterback. Yeah.
Okay,
He can do everything.
And if they had a redraft today, the Bengals still take Joe Burrow.
No.
Yes, they do.
No.
Why wouldn't the Bengals take Joe Burrow? Hometown guy. He's just as good as Justin Herbert.
If you want to take that into account, absolutely fine. Hometown guy, you got it.
Wait, can I ask you a question? If
he had the best college quarterback season ever.
Keep it 100.
Wait, Joel,
keep it 100. Talent-wise, from what you've seen on the football field, who is better? Herbert
Talent-wise,
or Burrow? Yes.
Justin Herbert has more physical attributes than
That's
Joe
it.
Burrow.
That's it.
It's not that because that's not
it.
all there is to
It's
football.
not. So wait, Joel. Let me ask you a question.
It's a strong
you said
portion.
Bengals
It
in a
is.
redraft would take Burrow. Would they would take Burrow out of the 4 big dogs? Where would they take Burrow?
Number one.
You think they
No,
would
no,
still
no, out
take
of the-
Burrow if they had
No.
if they
He's
redraft
saying
and it's all the
redraft
If it's a
NFL.
redraft,
Herbert, Burrow,
knowing what
Allen.
we know now, Joe Burrow still goes number one in the draft.
out of those 4.
Yes.
4 big dogs.
No, he's saying
talking about
in
the
Burrow's
4.
draft. And
Oh,
Burrow's
it's just
draft.
in Burrow's
No,
draft.
but
Okay. No, I was talking about
in his
Burrow's draft is Burrow, Herbert, Tua,
No,
Jordan.
he knows
Love.
that. He knows that.
I'm talking about the big 4.
Oh, Mahomes and
Mahomes, Allen.
Bro,
Burrow.
Mahomes
I don't
is the
think
only
Burrow
one that's
was top
number 1.
2.
Joe Burrow could go ahead of Josh Allen.
I don't
It's
think.
not
I don't think.
So the rushing ability means nothing to you?
The what?
The rushing ability means nothing.
It does, but also there's a sustainability aspect with that. I don't think
Burrow
with Josh
tore his
Allen.
ACL.
I don't. But he's came back from that.
Oh,
I don't.
Allen hasn't got hurt, really. He really hasn't got hurt.
Game.
He hasn't really
Allen
got
hasn't
hurt, bro.
missed
He's
the game.
taking
understand
hits.
that, but we're talking about long term. We're talking about long
Okay,
term.
but until it actually happens, we can't keep saying
But
it
even
might
then,
happen.
Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. I mean,
I
there's
get
a
it.
legit argument for that.
It is, but the
There
running, yeah, I get it. I
Like,
get what you're saying.
if you're drafting a quarterback right now, Mahomes is one undisputed, but there's an argument for Joe Burrow being number 2.
Burrow
Like,
has
there
great,
is.
I feel like, in terms of progression,
he's
reading
probably-
the field, mental
he's
capacity.
one of the best processors in the NFL.
No, he's
one of the best quarterbacks at anticipating throws.
That's that might be his best trait
That
because
is.
he is physically not Josh Allen, not Herbert, not Mahomes,
guess
but
what?
that
Guess what?
ability is what
He-
puts him in that tier.
He's not physically those guys. Those guys are freaks of nature. But Joe Burrow also can make every throw on the field. He has rushing ability, legitimate rushing ability. Like he has it.
but
He's athletic. He can, bro. His pocket presence is second to none.
No, I get it.
what are you
Like
talking
His
about?
pocket presence is fantastic.
Burrow is arguably the smartest quarterback in the league. But when you have like guys like Allen and Mahomes who has the smartness, the physical attributes, and the rushing ability, like they have everything in one.
All I'm saying
It's
is that
tough.
the Bengals right now are looking at that pick with Joe Burrow.
No,
They're
they
saying,
aced it.
Oh, we love it.
'cause they went to Super Bowl.
The
Yeah.
Dolphins
And
are
I
going.
that.
The Dolphins are going.
Wait,
fuck.
we wasn't talking about
That's
that no
what
more.
they're doing.
Yes, they would rather have
They're going
Herbert.
damn.
Oh yeah,
So without a
Burrow's
doubt.
They're
one
going
of,
damn.
he's one of the best.
Well, we're not.
But Herbert's a
Tua's
dog
not in
too.
this conversation.
Yeah, we were done
I
with
know
that.
he's not.
Tua's no.
But I'm just saying, redraft Burrow still goes 1. Cincinnati,
draft.
hometown kid, Ohio. What he means
The
to that
hometown
state.
kid
Did you
is
see his
different.
Heisman speech trophy speech? Oh my goodness.
If you took all the emotions out of it and the Bengals didn't know, like today, the Bengals didn't know they went to the Super Bowl in the playoffs. They'll go to the playoffs again this year. If you could take that out, I think they would take Herbert still. But the emotional factor, what Herbert's done to this what Burrow's done to this organization, I think it's pretty evident that Herbert has more physical tools and his ceiling is number 1.
If we take all the emotions out of it, you know what I'm doing in that draft room? I'm flipping a coin. Heads is Burrow, tails is Justin Herbert.
That's fine.
Any way it lands, I'm happy with it.
Fine.
That's what I'm doing. And I'm hoping it lands on Joey
We'll see
B.
this year because they don't going to get in. So we'll see this year. Who the top
Right
dog.
now,
probably see
the
him in the
playoff
playoffs.
matchup is the Chargers
Yeah, oh
versus
my God,
Bengals.
it's
We'll
gonna
see
be-
who's the top dog at the end of the year.
Yeah.
That's what
The
I'm
I'll
AFC
tell you what,
Ugh.
Bengals fans are going to be in shambles if Herbert beats them.
I guess
I
so.
saw someone tweet it. I hope to God Caleb Williams goes to the NFC, bro. I don't need him in the AFC. The AFC
If you think
is
he's a
too
top
loaded.
dog, respect. He's
gonna
going
go
to
to
play
the
the top
Texans.
No,
dogs.
I want him to go to the NFC because the AFC has too many good quarterbacks. The NFC needs some guys.
NFC coming up
Yeah,
though.
Panthers,
They got your boy
Lions.
Trey Lance.
Bring him over here.
Fields, Hurts.
The more the merrier,
Who's-
bro.
Oh, it's in the AFC.
You think I
No.
care?
I care. I don't want that at all. Put him in the NFC. I want to even it out a little bit. I mean, who's the best quarterback in the NFC? It's probably Hurts this year.
It's Aaron Rodgers, bro.
Yes, Rodgers, Hurts.
In that graph with the time to
That's
throw,
We have Allen, Mahomes, Herbert.
Well, we got Fields coming
Burrow.
up. Fields on his way. You know
the
what I'm
time
saying?
to throw
Tell your boy
EPA
Lance
graph.
to get better.
He's fucking hurts.
Well, stop getting
He has
hurt.
played football in like 3 years now.
I don't know what to tell you. Brock Purdy.
There was a graph of all the 2020 quarterbacks in our EPA with the time to throw. Burrow, Herbert,
I saw that.
Hurts, and Tua. Jalen Hurts all the way down when the play progresses longer and longer.
Hurts?
Yeah, he's actually.
I thought it was Tua.
No, it's Hurts.
Is it because he
by
just
like a large
runs,
margin.
or
I don't know what it is. All I know is that Hurts was there.
damn?
You know.
It
So
had
is
to be him.
EPA flawed?
MVP.
No, it's not flawed. It's but you see Hurts is right here.
It's not flawed, but
You
yeah.
see Joe Burrow going up, going down. Look at Joe Burrow all the way up here.
Is this blue line Herbert?
Yeah, the blue line, the light blue
goes down
Herbert,
too.
yeah. Look at Joe Burrow all the way up there.
He's if Hurts is on the same tier as Herbert, you're not going to hear me complain.
He's a guy's guy. He's a guy's guy. Now, tomorrow we will be going live on Playback to watch the Nuggets and Kings game. It's a late game, 10 p.m. Eastern time, but if you're West Coast, it's 7, and your Mountain time, it's 8, or 8 or 9, one of those. But yeah, you guys can join the Playback down in the link below. Let's get it popping, man. Last time, Christmas Day, I understand people had things going. We tried to do it at 12 p.m. We didn't have the show out I thought we were going to have. I'll be honest.
It's a shame, man.
Yeah, no, I didn't make it. How'd it go?
It is. It went well. It went well.
We had a lot of fun.
James Harden had a masterclass on
did.
Christmas.
He
He
did.
did, man.
Very happy.
Showed out.
Very happy about that.
I can't believe I forgot what you tweeted.
Fear of the
but
beard?
Yeah, you're
He
playing
was
your Knicks.
I was disappointed our Knicks lost, man.
No. Stop.
What? No,
he's
he
done.
was-
No,
he was
he's done. He's
dumbfounded.
He's
sorry, I should start saying my Knicks?
He's fucking done. We are in the Playback, and this man is screaming, "Yeah, Sixers, let's go, let's get this win." He is not cheering for the Knicks at all. He's done. He's not a Knicks fan. It's over. That is your Knicks. Congratulations. You're fully taking over the Knicks train for them.
I don't know.
He's
I
cooked.
wouldn't
Nah,
have about
Yeah, now he's done. After that. With Knicks fans, they're on the Playback
You're
with us.
shameless.
It's
I
James
thought we
Harden.
had a conversation.
It's James
I thought
Harden.
we were back.
It's James Harden.
Bro, what the hell?
I will take James Harden over any team I root for in history.
That's like nuts.
James Harden is my guy.
But then I get slack.
You do.
If the Knicks face the Sixers in a playoff series, I'm rooting for James Harden.
That's
If
so
the Nets
crazy.
play the Knicks in the playoffs, so you ruin for the Nets. So what do you?
Oh my
So
God.
what do you say? What are we
Joel.
saying here, bro? Like
Agendas are greater than your favorite team?
that's not his
It's-
team
no,
anymore.
that's what I'm
logic.
saying.
It's logic.
Explain.
I'm
Like
a
I'm a
smart
5-year-old.
man. For one, the Knicks have no chance at making any noise. The Nets
You
have
said who are you rooting for?
Okay, but the Nets have a legitimate shot. The Nets have a legitimate shot.
We didn't
doesn't
ask
make-
who you
that doesn't
think's
even
going to
make
win.
sense.
We asked you, who are you rooting for?
That didn't even make sense.
Would I be mad if the Knicks win? No. I wouldn't.
No, I hope
come,
not.
Bro, what the fuck?
I
But all I'm
hope
saying-
not.
Don't just get a cop out like that.
Is that James Harden? He got to get a championship. He got to. Like he has to. James Harden has to do that. The Nets, they got a chance to win. The Knicks don't got a chance to win nothing.
I hear you.
You know,
I just wouldn't say that out loud.
If there's something,
I would think it. I just
if
wouldn't
there
think
is
it.
something
I'd say it.
legitimately to root for all day with the Knicks, but we know what this team is. We know the ceiling of it. Like, come on, I get some leeway. The Knicks have been trash for most of my entire
whole
life.
life. No, yeah,
I get
your
some
whole life.
leeway
Your
and
whole life.
room for my favorite player in all time in James Harden in NBA history, the only player to take the Golden State Warriors to 7 games. LeBron James couldn't even do. James Harden deserves a championship. He deserved the
Not you
MVP back in
rooting for a loser.
2019. James Harden deserved the MVP in
Where's Chris Paul in
2019.
this
He was
conversation?
robbed by Giannis.
Where's Chris
Giannis
Paul?
robbed him
Did
of
you
the
just
MVP.
flex a Game 7 when LeBron
James
won
Harden,
a championship against
James
Warriors?
Harden, James Harden's
talking
average.
KDs.
James Harden
Oh.
averaged 36 points per game in that season. Giannis robbed him of MVP. He robbed him.
You can't win them all.
Harden should be a 2-time MVP. You can argue 3-time MVP.
You should
The
argue
year
that he
Russ
could be a
won it-
no-time
the
MVP.
year Russ won it, Harden deserved it more.
You could argue that he could be a no-time MVP.
No, you can't.
Because why can't I sit here and say that LeBron in 2018 was better? He played every single game, was more available.
The Rockets won 65 games,
Congratulations to them. They were the better team.
First seed
Chris
in the
Paul was on that team.
and Harden was the best player on that team
He was. But then
averaged
why
30.
was it that Chris Paul gets hurt and then suddenly they can't win 2 games?
because you're facing the greatest team. ever assembled in
Absolutely.
NBA.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But team matters.
What the hell are we talking about?
I'm just saying.
They're
All I know
It's
is
not all on
we have
Harden.
600 people in here. We don't have 200 likes on the video. What's going on? Make
Like
sure to
it-
like the
like the
stream. Like it
video.
up,
Like
man.
the stream.
Come on.
Like
Yeah, I
the
like it.
stream.
I trip.
Oh, I'm liking the fuck out of
Whoa! No, I'm just playing. I wouldn't do that.
Harden only lost to the Prime Warriors.
Harden, what?
No, Harden deserves respect. We were having this conversation earlier.
Harden lost to Prime Ginobili.
There isn't a player on the Knicks I legitimately want to root for outside of Brunson every night.
Why?
No, that's actually fucking nuts.
Crazy, bro.
He's not a Knicks fan. Listen. You take the mantle. You're good. You're good. That's your Knicks.
So I'm clean. When it comes to fandom in the NBA, I have no allegations.
Nah, he's good.
Bro,
No,
I want to watch
Braun. He's a Braun fan.
When it comes to the
I
NBA,
don't love
I'm
it, but I
clean.
accept it.
And when it comes to NFL,
no, you're the me.
it's getting
you're the me
rude.
of the NFL.
It's getting rude.
It's
I'm a
getting
Broncos fan. Who else roots for
You're
the
a Giants
Broncos?
fan.
You're a Lions fan.
You're a Cowboys fan.
Stop.
How?
You're getting bad, bro.
But no,
No,
it's
the
not
thing
as
is
bad as him
agendas.
rooting for Mahomes,
Yes,
Brady,
he's
Burrow.
sick.
Like he likes all the top
Like,
guys.
I have agendas.
At least Drew
Josh
likes
Allen.
middle tier guys. He likes the
But
Giants.
when I do it in the NBA, I'm a fucking cat.
But you have like 13.
I root for the OKC Thunder.
I
Be
know, but in the
serious
beginning of the
here.
year, you
What
got
are we
a
doing
tweet
here?
and it was third in the league.
I root for Detroit. Come on, bro.
See,
what
here's
do you
the
want me
thing.
to do here?
Here's the thing. You want these guys to succeed just because you want them to succeed because you like them. I want these guys to succeed because I believe that they will succeed because I have an agenda. I believe they'll be good. Doesn't mean that I genuinely.
You have Ezekiel
Heart-
Elliott jersey.
That's different.
I hate you.
I love Ezekiel
I
Elliott.
like the Titans too.
I love Derrick Henry.
You love everybody, it seems.
I get jerseys.
You love
Is
the
that
Jets.
wrong?
You love the Jets.
No, that's
No,
really
and the
that's
Giants.
something
No,
also
not
I've
Giants.
realized.
The Giants,
Getting
yes.
jerseys and supporting players is wrong apparently.
So why am I
Bro,
wrong
why
for
does this guy have a
supporting
Fred Taylor jersey on? Huh? Why?
Well,
he's not a Jags
in the
fan.
league, so I don't
Yeah, I
know.
feel
He's
like
not a Jags
Fred,
fan.
old jerseys are fine.
Yeah, he's not in the league. I don't care.
But I understand why people get confused if you have a Dalvin jersey on, a Kyler.
Like
You had on
fine.
a Miami hat, and then you had on a Bronco jersey, and you walked in here with that. Or it might have been flipped.
No, I had to do that. I had the Miami hat on and the Broncos because I need everyone to understand that my Broncos may be bad, but I still rock with the boys.
I respect that.
And Tua may have had a bad day,
But you still
I'm
rock with
coming in
Miami.
and I'm
I
supporting the
respect
boy.
that.
That's it.
Yep.
Just a shot. I'm still a man of my word. I stand 10 toes. Simple as that. That's
Nobody's
it.
saying more 10 toes than me. In fact, I think I grew a toe.
I
extra
think you
toe.
have
I'm
0
11.
toes. I don't think
I have
I'm
11.
stand on anything.
I'm 11.
Such a stupid comment that got my ass.
I'm 11.
Breaking down the AFC and NFC playoff
Let me pull this
scenarios. AFC playoff picture. The Buffalo Bills currently have a bye. They're the first seed.
Ah! Sorry.
What was that? No.
He's definitely no Michael Jordan.
Doesn't matter.
Oh,
I told y'all.
Now,
it could change.
Them boys fighting.
the fourth seed matchup versus the fifth seed, Jags versus Ravens. Right now, the first round of the AFC playoffs is shaping out to be an all-time
Yeah,
great
it's gonna
one.
be great.
Jags versus Ravens, Bengals versus Chargers, and Chiefs versus Dolphins. I'm looking forward to this Bengals versus Chargers. I hope it happens.
The Chiefs,
I hope
the
it
Chiefs,
happens.
Dolphins. I've been praying for it.
Now, what do we know?
The
this is
Jaguars might beat Baltimore.
Yeah, they could.
I'm gonna go as far as say 100% will.
I would pick
could.
them. I would genuinely pick them to win that game.
With Action Jackson, it makes things completely
Lamar
different.
will likely be back. You have to hope.
would
I mean,
pray.
by
It'd
the
be
play,
boring if
we're
he
another.
doesn't
I
come
mean,
3
we
weeks
know when
away.
Lamar is in the playoffs, so yeah, Jacksonville probably wins that game.
Okay, here we go. See, this is what happens, bro, when you flip flop on Lamar.
Right.
What do you mean?
Like, bro.
No,
He
I'm
could be
Lamar.
a great quarterback, but not a great playoff performer.
All right,
played, like,
I have
3 games,
something
bro.
to admit, Joel. The "Come On Lamar" video is an all-time great.
It's disgusting.
It's
No,
just
it's actually-
hilarious.
it is funny as fuck.
It's
But,
hilarious.
yes, it's funny, but we're gonna like even if it is funny, which it is, I don't give him the credit of it being funny because it's
Come on,
disgusting.
Lamar.
It's disgusting.
Come
This guy
on,
every
Lamar.
other week he comes in and changes his mind.
That
on
was
Lamar.
gas, though.
Come on,
it was
Lamar.
gas.
I don't give him the credit because it's disgusting.
It
And
was
it's
nasty.
about my favorite
It
quarterback,
was
so I don't
nasty
want to hear
work.
it.
I won't lie.
I
It was
wanna hear it.
nasty, but
Somebody called you
Made me
Mr.
laugh.
Flip-a-toe.
Bengals, but hold up. I feel like we're not giving this game enough
Okay,
love.
let's hear it.
Bengals versus Chargers. That's an all-time
That's
great
great.
playoff
That's great.
game.
The Bengals should
Joe
win comfortably.
Burrow versus Justin
The
Herbert.
Bengals should win comfortably.
really,
It's a
what
great.
are you doing?
Don't sleep on the
If
Chargers.
Herbert is him,
Pick a side.
No,
I
yes.
got the best.
Yes, but no, the Bengals.
I got the Bengals.
Oh my
I got
God.
the Bengals, but
The
the
Bengals-
Chargers are
Yo,
good.
the
team.
Chargers-
They're getting
this?
healthy at the right time.
The Chargers are a good team.
Riv,
the Bengals are better right now.
please.
listen.
The Chargers. The Chargers
are
make the
hot.
play. We're gonna talk about the Chargers later, so I don't want to get too much
The
into
Bengals
it.
are on a win streak. They're more hotter.
Yeah,
So
but
they're both
the
hot.
They're
Bengals.
scorching.
Okay, man.
Bengals are
Chargers are hot.
10-4.
The Bengals are literally about to lose on Monday.
What's it gonna be?
What do you mean?
What's
I
it
got the
gonna be?
Bengals, but the Chargers is a tough game. It's not a cakewalk like you.
I don't think it's a cakewalk, but I think the Bengals should win by like a touchdown.
That's a good game.
That's calm.
You said comfortably. You said
I'll
comfortably.
be. That's not
Comfortably
comfortable.
is like 14, 21 points.
Okay, sorry.
A touchdown is like
That's comfortably.
a touchdown.
21.
Bro, a
comfortably
touchdown can be they're tied and then Burrow leads
No,
them on the
because
game.
it'll probably be like a 3 or 4 point line in Vegas. I think Bengals will be like 7.
They clinched, man.
I'll tell you this.
You know who?
Joey Bosa
Yo,
comes
yeah,
back.
they're fucking 12-3.
This becomes
No.
very interesting.
What do you mean,
It
we
was
played
Cincinnati's
they were tied with
defense.
the
Yeah,
scrubs.
they were both 8-3, which is crazy.
I mean, I like the Chargers.
Because Cincinnati's defense is not that great, and with the injuries that it's been suffering over these last couple of weeks, and now Lyle Collins on the offensive side going down also, they're becoming vulnerable. Not that they still aren't a great team. Absolutely. Joe Burrow has been electric. This offense is still electric. Even with poor offensive line play, the offense has still been successful. But losing Lyle definitely hurts. You're losing Trey Hendrickson.
So who gets in, Jaguars or Miami?
Well, the Jaguars are going to get
Jaguars are going to win
Oh,
the
Jaguars.
division.
We'll talk about the scenario in a bit and how all these things are going to shape out. I will just say, Lyle Collins is a huge loss.
Huge.
Because this season, what they've been doing to better their offensive line is that they've been lining up Lyle Collins like 5 yards away from the right guard, and he's athletic enough to keep up with these edge rushers and to also stop them from going inside. So now not having him and having Adeniji in there, that's huge.
Tough, bro.
That's
tough.
huge. Especially against the Chargers, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, that pass rush, it's going to be.
Yo, shout out to Miss Ellis dropping the $20 dono. I want your babies. That's crazy.
Shout out.
Shout out the GOAT, man. Shout out Chelsea.
No, Dehls.
He ran. Look. He ran.
That's the GF, man. That's wifey.
That was just really a risk.
All right, we're gonna have to get Alexandra in here.
Yeah, that's why we all.
It's only right.
Now the Jaguars right now, they have a 57% chance at making the playoffs. Their next 2 games are the Texans and the Titans. Basically, Week 18 is for the AFC South. Jaguars, Titans, and I think Ryan Tannehill being out for the season ruined the Titans' playoff chances.
I agree.
Malik Willis cannot throw right now. He cannot. They just have to use him exclusively as a runner, and I don't think they can win that way. I don't.
Titans are in one of the worst spots you could be in. Ryan Tannehill, we're going to realize his impact on this team. Of course, Derrick Henry is the pride and joy of this offense. But the drop-off from Ryan Tannehill to Malik Willis is greater than I think most don't realize. Ryan Tannehill, it gets labeled this game manager, but that's due to situation, unfortunately. He does not have the true dominant receivers that others have the luxury of, but he still is able to keep afloat, win ball games. Why you give me that for?
Oh, no, I drank my coffee.
Oh, nice. You trying to seduce me right there?
No, it's just usually Drew be like, you have nothing in there. I keep drinking it.
No, I didn't want to call you out.
I thought he peeped that.
Not what, seduce me?
Yeah.
Okay. Ryan Tannehill, that loss is huge. And for that, it's unfortunate. I struggle to see the Titans coming away with the division now. Malik, without good quarterback play, you can't do anything in this league. Russell Wilson's the epitome of that, unfortunately. Russell hasn't been great. Of course, other things going on. But you realize quarterback play directly impacts winning ball games, especially when the team is not completely dominant on the other side of the ball. So I do believe that this is going to be the Jaguars division.
Right now, Malik, I'm looking back at my evaluation.
Oh my God, what happened to Malik?
I didn't have Brock Purdy 1.
I had Malik QB1.
Brock is better.
Brock is better. Listen, Malik Willis was never supposed to start this year, so seeing him out on the field and seeing how raw he is this is something nobody should have seen.
Isn't he 23?
Yes, he was a 4-year player in college.
I don't know if we should have seen. He kind of looked like this in college.
Yeah, but even in the draft, I mean, he was a 3rd-round pick for a reason, right? People knew, evratuators know, NFL guys knew. This isn't even a 1st, 2nd-round guy. It's someone that needs to sit for at least a year. So it is hard right now to look at this offense, look at the Titans, how Vrabel's a great coach. He's one of the best in the league. But when you have a quarterback that is as limited as Malik Willis is, it is really tough. And you have a complete juxtaposition, what a great word, with the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence, who has become a top juxtaposition.
Come on, Riv. You've been in school, bro.
No, I was fine.
The opposite. It's like the opposite.
Go ahead. I was there with you.
Okay. No, it seemed like you didn't want an explanation.
You had a late pause. You fucked me up.
Well, because you were looking at me and you get me flustered. You have the complete juxtaposition in Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence taking this huge ascension into top 10, top 8 type of level quarterback play. I mean, he's playing at a different level right now. Right now, you have to go with Jacksonville. I don't know what team right now the Titans can beat. when you're getting this type of quarterback, when you're throwing the ball 12, 13 times a game. This is kind of what we saw with Justin Fields to start out the year. Obviously, his rushing ability is far past that of Malik, and Malik does not have the arm that Justin Fields has, but it's very hard to win games. And real quick to Bears fans who were giving us all this shit, they start out the year like 3-1 or some shit like that. They were saying, I can't believe you guys said we're going to be terrible.
No, I'm fine with this.
It was crazy because everyone, when the Bears got off to that hot start the first few weeks of the season, we had a million Bears fans saying, I can't believe, I told you guys, I can't believe you thought we were going to be terrible. They're supposed to have the number 2 overall pick now. They're like 3-11 or 12 or something like that. Bears fans, your time will come. You guys are silly for ever thinking it was this year. But yeah, shout out the Titans. They had a good season, but Tannehill going now, it's chopped.
The Dolphins, are you going to say something, Irv?
No, I'm just happy to see Jaguars in. Fuck the Titans.
Yeah, it's more exciting to see Trevor Lawrence play than Ryan Tannehill, with all due respect.
The Dolphins right now have a 67% chance of making the playoffs. They have to beat the Patriots next week, beat the Jets in week 18.
That's a tough
schedule. If they lose one of those, depending on which game they lose, either the Seahawks beat the Jets next week or the Bills beat the Patriots in week 18 for them to clinch a spot.
Think the Bills sit everybody week 18?
They might still need to win to get to 1 seed, because if they lose...
No, they have the tiebreaker with Kansas.
Yeah, but if they lost, so the Bills would have
that
to.
That Bengals game also is very important. Bills and Bengals.
Yeah, the Bills would have to lose, I guess, this week, and then KC win. You know what I mean? Like,
they won't.
That's not gonna happen.
Bills winning out.
Yeah. Would they?
Bengals next week, and
they
Patriots
play Monday night, I believe.
Bengals,
yeah, that's gonna be great.
I think in Cincinnati too.
It's gonna be a great game. That could be AFC potential AFC championship showdown.
Sure.
These are the AFC teams that are in the hunt, that don't have a playoff.
That's all I wanted this year.
0-4.
I just wanted to hear it.
Now, the Patriots
0-5
control their own destiny. If they beat the Dolphins next week and beat the Bills in week 18, they are in the playoffs, the Patriots. So, yeah, they control their own destiny for sure.
If they beat the Bills week 18?
Yes. The Jets have a 14% chance of making it. They have to win out, but also need a Patriots
One loss.
Or
you did it to yourselves.
They play Buffalo week 18.
No, you did it to yourself, though.
What?
Going 0-4. This is all your fault.
Oh, fucking Zach Wilson.
No. Enough.
Oh, yeah, Mike White went 1-2.
If we would have went 1-3 over the stretch, we'd be sitting in a better place. We wouldn't need a Patriots loss.
Mike White doesn't do that.
He doesn't win.
We don't beat Jacksonville. We don't beat the Lions.
We don't even beat the Lions? We put up 12 points.
That doesn't matter.
Okay, we put up 3 points against Jacksonville. Chris Stravler moved the ball more than Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson had more touchdown passes than Mike White combined in the Bills and Vikings game. Right?
Who's the better quarterback, Zach Wilson or Mike White?
Who had more touchdown passes?
He said, "Fuck that." Who had more touchdown? He said, "Fuck that."
We're checking out this one little stat.
Mike White couldn't get it done in the red zone.
Neither could Zach Wilson.
Oh, he got 2 touchdowns.
They both weren't starting level quarterbacks.
We've been a bottom 5-7 red zone team all year.
All right, I guess so, but I'm just saying.
It's not I guess, it's literal fact.
Stop acting like, is Mike White better than Jared Goff?
No, not right now, no.
No, he's not, right? And the Lions quarterback is who? Jared Goff.
Who's better, Mike White or Zach Wilson?
Right, what about...
Who's better, Zach Wilson or Brock Purdy?
What about Trevor Lawrence or Mike White?
Trevor fucking
easy,
Lawrence.
Right? All right, Mike White doesn't win those games. It's a quarterback-driven league.
What are we talking about?
It's a quarterback-driven league.
Who's better, Aaron Rodgers or Zach Wilson?
That game? Zach.
Who's better and who won that game? Just because you have a better quarterback doesn't mean you're going to win.
Oh, no, Aaron Rodgers is better.
Okay, but the Jets still won that game. He was so fucking mid against the Packers.
But he made the biggest throw.
What do you have, like 10 completions maybe?
I guess so. Mike White threw 57 passes, couldn't get a touchdown once. I don't know what to tell you.
2-0, man.
And the Titans right now have a 26% chance to make the playoffs. For them to make the playoffs, they just have to beat Jacksonville in week 18. Out of these teams in the hunt in the AFC, the Patriots, Jets, and Titans. I don't want to name the Steelers. I feel like they're not going to make it anyway. Who do you think has the best chance to make the playoffs?
Do you know the scenario how you guys get in? Like you need 1,000 things to go right?
After the Chargers win, we have a solid 2% chance.
Okay. They need a bunch to go right.
So the 3 teams with the best chance in the AFC to make the playoffs still is the Jets, Patriots, and Titans. Do you think any of these teams make the playoffs?
Titans, no.
Titans, no.
Jets have a chance.
No.
The Jets have a chance because
I'm going to say this.
The last 2.
The Dolphins will drop out. The Jets will make the playoffs.
The Jets have the best chance out of all 3 of these teams.
The New York Jets will make the playoffs.
That's only if Tua is out for the season. That's only if he's out for the season.
We can't beat y'all week 18?
Y'all, me and Tua, I appreciate that.
You think so? Jets?
Tua can lose to the Patriots.
He's not losing to the Jets.
If he does play, he can lose to the Patriots. He could also lose to the Jets.
But this is both are at home.
Yeah. Is New England on the road?
Patriots is on the road.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The Jets
I didn't
game is
know
at
if
home.
game
New
one
England,
was
yeah,
on.
Jets
Jets at
games.
home.
No, Jets is at Miami.
Yeah, that's
Tua
what I'm
against
saying.
elite
Jets,
defense isn't very good.
It's in Miami, though.
Best.
It's in Miami. The Jets game is in Miami.
Oh, it is in Miami.
It is in Miami.
Yeah, it favors us.
It was snowing a little bit in Miami.
It was.
That was pretty nuts.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It was like, what the fuck
It
is
better
this?
not, it better not snow when I'm down there. I'm gonna be
The
pissed.
the Pats just need to win out, right? But the Pats play Buffalo and Miami. Their last two. They play Miami this week, then
And
Buffalo.
wants the first seed. I'm
And
assuming.
exactly, that's why it's so big, because Buffalo most likely will be playing their starters. So I have a hard time believing New England will win that game. And then Miami. If Tua doesn't play, New England has a pretty decent chance of winning against Teddy Bridgewater. But that Week 18 game against Buffalo, which gives me hope for the Jets with Mike White. Seattle has been, declining over these past few weeks, especially the first couple months. So it really come down to that Week 18 game. Miami and the Jets. Mike White, Tua. Let's go.
Look at this guy putting his faith in Mike White. What a casual.
What other choice do I have? Zach. Zach is going to be inactive for the rest of the season.
Listen, bless you. If we actually had a coordinator who played to Zach's strengths, this would be a different conversation.
Dude,
doing-
Mike,
we're
let's
not- no.
fire Mike LaFleur. Let's do it.
Let's
I'm
do it.
ready.
Yeah, I would.
I'm in.
I would do it.
They're
But what's
spamming
happening after
0-5.
that?
Huh?
They're spamming 0-5.
It ain't happening. Fucking casuals, man. It ain't happening.
Joe, what
spamming
happens if they
0-5.
do go in 5 though?
What
You have
happens
to
if they
take
lose
a-
to the Seahawks on the road with Mike White? What are you gonna say?
I'd be distraught. Well, then the playoffs are over.
You have to make a public apology to Drew.
Of course.
Not
Yes.
only just a public apology. You gotta take me out to dinner.
That's
5
fair.
guys.
Five guys is valid. Calm shit.
Respect.
I'm waiting.
Nothing
I'm
crazy.
waiting. I'm
No
rooting
Ruth
for the
Chris?
Jets.
You don't get anything
Jets
in
fan.
return because you called me stupid.
That's more than fair.
All right, cool.
I was very rude.
You was going. You was red. You was going crazy.
I was so
You scared
tight.
me.
Such a great video, man.
Drew was
It's great
tight.
Drew
I
was-
wasn't tight.
I was
tight. I was
Drew
just
is
what's going on
taking it.
Yeah.
Drew is taking it.
Hey yo.
That's what I do.
Hello.
What the? what the?
Is Mike Tomlin just allergic to losing seasons?
Yes.
Right now, the Steelers are 7-8. Their
How do
last
they
two
win
games are the Ravens and the Browns. Does Mike Tomlin finish with a winning season, or does he have his first losing season this year?
That's a good question.
Ravens got a backup quarterback.
Is
I
it?
don't think Lamar Jackson's playing in the game.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
I
Give me
don't-
1 second.
I'm gonna say
I
he
haven't
goes
heard
8-9.
anything positive.
I think he goes 8-9.
He loses one of the last two. Cleveland
He goes
statement
1-8.
game, week 18. Deshaun masterclass, maybe.
I feel like they can beat Deshaun Watson. Deshaun
They
Watson's
can.
not
They
looking
can.
good.
No, without a
this
doubt, they can.
They can.
year. Deshaun Watson is
Bro,
literally one of
They
the worst.
could go
quarterbacks.
9-8.
They could.
They could easily
How
do
would they
it.
do-
And
Yo,
it's sickening.
Pittsburgh is just
It really,
weird,
like,
bro.
I don't know. John, how do you feel about going 9-8?
We can definitely clown Deshaun. Raving game, I don't know about that one.
But how do you feel the Steelers, which is a team that seems like it's not really ready to make a deep playoff run kind of anytime soon? You go 9-8, they're picked 16th now.
With the way their defense played stopping the run the last couple of weeks, they can definitely galvanize.
Okay. I don't know if you guys heard that, but he said the way the Steelers defense is playing,
They
especially
can
against the run, they
galvanize the
can
troops.
galvanize the troops.
I'll be honest, man. I've been impressed with what I've seen from Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett has looked
been playing
solid
well.
and poised.
Been playing well.
I've been pretty impressed.
Big game-winning drive against who they play. Who they just play?
Our boy Jared texts me. He goes, "Get them off Zach and Mike White, please. Every damn episode, they're both ass." I responded, "I hate them for it."
One day we're gonna look back, maybe years down the road. We're gonna have a franchise quarterback. We're gonna laugh about these moments, man.
One day we're
The
gonna
three of us are going to be united with our franchise QBs.
one day we're gonna look back and we're gonna see Zach doing what he does in Atlanta. He's gonna be great, and we're gonna be like, he could have done that with the Jets if we had a clue on how to develop
Yo,
this guy.
my dad is feeling pretty similarly to you, man. He thinks that the Jets are an absolute shit show. He believes that Zach leaves, that he'll have success. So if Zach is bad, sorry, pops. Your name's getting thrown in the mud too.
I have,
So fucking
bro.
mad.
I have faith in his talents. I believe in his talents. I do.
Okay, let's enough Zach Wilson talk for the episode.
On to the NFC playoff picture. So currently the Eagles have a bye, and the 4th seed versus the 5th seed is the Buccaneers versus the Cowboys. The 3rd seed versus 6th seed is the Niners versus Giants, and the 2nd seed versus the 7th seed is the Vikings versus the Commanders.
I think honestly, it's not even a game. I think especially with this Jalen Hurts injury, the number 1 seed, and the Lane Johnson injury becomes more important than ever. They have a very high probability. I think they just need to
He's
win.
back now.
They just need to win one more game. I believe the Eagles won these last 2, but it becomes more important than ever because you have 2 injuries to probably
Need
your
that
2
week off.
most important players on offense with Hurts and Lane Johnson. So being able to get that 1 seed is going to be big. At first, I was not hesitant, but you do see teams. We've seen the Packers in years past who get that 1 seed kind of come out flat. just a little rusty after the bye. But right now with the injuries they're dealing with, I think it'd be huge for the Eagles to get that bye.
I'm worried about Philadelphia.
But what allows you to be worried?
Well, I'm worried about Philadelphia because Jalen Hurts has
you kill me.
He doesn't believe it.
I'm sorry. Usually when you really believe something and you have conviction, you should say
come out strong.
Very strong, no hesitancy.
When you don't believe
it was the side.
The reason why I
was
don't believe
low monotone.
in the Philadelphia Eagles.
The reason
is
why is because the reason why is because Jalen Hurts' injury. Does that not affect how they use him in the offense and how they run him?
Not in the playoffs.
Not when you're going for a chip.
If this was like October, November, okay,
Absolutely.
sure. But playoffs, nah.
We're letting it go.
Yep.
The chains are off, buddy.
Yeah.
He's gonna go out
I'll
there.
be honest, they're gonna act like they don't even know the injury exists.
He doesn't have an injury.
Maybe contract discussions are not the same or not as strong as they were prior to the injury.
Well,
Maybe.
What are your thoughts on the fact that Gardner Minshew came in the offense and he played very well?
Played well, lost a couple interceptions.
Were they on him, for
neither of them were great ball placement, I don't think. I thought there were plays that, Jalen Hurts probably makes. Had a fumble, too. Kind of missed, Boston Scott was just a little out there too much. But Gardner Minshew, I tweeted out, this is as great as you can ask for from your backup quarterback. And we said that. Gardner Minshew is one of the best backup quarterbacks in the league. If Hurts plays, I agree.
There's a lot of plays late in the game where you can clearly see Hurts makes those plays with his feet.
And
Minshew just couldn't do it.
And this is a Dallas team that has now led up back-to-back games of 30-plus points to Jacksonville and to the Eagles.
We turned the ball over twice within the 5 minutes. It was just
it was.
It's a sprained shoulder on his throwing shoulder.
It is.
Does that not affect him?
That's worrisome. Joel, it absolutely is huge, but we saw him sprain a shoulder, and then that same game threw like a 50-yard bomb to A.J. Brown right on dime.
And now missed the game. Adrenaline kicked in,
No, for sure.
He's not there no more.
You don't think he's going to have adrenaline in the playoffs?
Come on, Joel.
In that moment, he got hurt.
Joel, you're warming up. You're coming out of the locker room. You're coming out of the huddle with all your guys.
There's he can run.
40, 50,000 people in Philadelphia all screaming your name. There's no adrenaline there. He's having an MVP type season. They're the favorite to go to the Super Bowl. There's no adrenaline.
You don't understand.
They could be like, what are you talking about?
Please look.
Now I understand what I'm saying.
Am I doing this?
I'm embarrassed.
I'm
embarrassed. Shout out to the Queen.
Shout out to the Queen is right.
I'm embarrassed.
No, listen up, Dehls. I'm getting tired of what you're saying.
Oh my God.
I want to go back to a historic moment in sports history. Riv, help me out with this, all right?
Do it.
Need you to listen to me.
Is fucking Minshew going to go on a Foles? Is what we're going to compare to?
I know what he's going to do. Go ahead.
No, you don't know what I'm going to do.
You're going to bring up Nick Foles.
I think it's pretty certain that I'm unpredictable.
Now with this one right here.
I say absolutely.
Kobe Bryant, when he tore his Achilles.
What the fuck?
Oh, lock in.
What happened? What happened when he tore his Achilles?
He made free throws.
He made his 2 free throws, and what did he do?
He walked out the game.
Why?
Because he tore his Achilles.
But because of what? Adrenaline.
No.
He was able to walk off the court.
Okay, no, wait.
He was able to walk off the court.
Wait.
But day after, I guarantee he wasn't able to walk.
Bro, he tore his Achilles.
Jalen Hurts in the heat of the moment. Jalen Hurts, made that throw. But what about the day after? He's not making that throw.
What takes more strain? A 50-yard pass with a sprained shoulder, a free throw with a torn Achilles.
Carries over from one game to the next.
What puts more strain on your body? It's not close.
Rajon Rondo played on a torn ACL.
There we go. Different.
He's a
Thank
goat.
you. Very different.
Joel, he shot a free throw. It was a free throw.
He walked off the court, though.
Yes, he was fine. You can still walk off the court with a torn ACL.
And you could throw 50
you
yards.
Can't run up and down.
Achilles.
You can still walk off. He's clear. But
that's never happened. I don't think so. That's the first time I've seen it.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, I never
shot free throws.
Kevin Durant tore his Achilles. He was not walking off the court.
That's true. But Kobe was fine.
I'm just saying the adrenaline in the moment allowed him to do that. Sometimes that allows you to do that.
That's a 50-yard bomb.
Adrenaline does not carry over from one game you get injured to the next game you get
Joel,
in. Come on, bro. What are you talking about here?
I don't even want to get into this because we're talking about adrenaline here.
We're talking about the Eagles and how you should be worried about the Eagles.
The one team that scares me is the 49ers. Without a doubt, the 49ers scare me.
They should.
They're a great football team. They have Brock Purdy. I know, Riv, I added you in a tweet. I don't know if you want to get into that. The stats between Jimmy G and Brock Purdy. Doesn't seem like there's been a big drop-off. Now, obviously, I think Jimmy G with experience is more.
He was hating real hard
on Brock Purdy. On Brock Purdy.
Was I hating on Brock Purdy?
Bro said he was mid.
You just always disrespected him. You never give him a chance.
Better than Zach Wilson.
You never gave him a chance.
I literally said Kyle Shanahan can make anybody.
You never gave him a chance. But
Zach Wilson's with Kyle Shanahan right now. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. This stand.
Purdy clears Zach Wilson comfortably.
He does.
No, comfortably.
Kyle Shanahan wanted Zach Wilson. I just want to say
Brock Purdy will be going to an NFC Championship game.
Kyle Shanahan had what 6-7 times to draft Brock Purdy and he didn't.
So why don't do you think the Niners will trade for Zach Wilson?
They have Trey Lance. I think it's too late now.
Yeah, no, they're not going to trade.
I mean, what is Zach Wilson's worth right now? Is he getting released next year?
Nah. I think a third, hopefully.
A third?
You think he goes for a second?
A third?
Rosen went for a second. Darnold went for a second.
We're going into year 3.
I understand, but there's still a bunch of teams I think that are going to be high on Zach, who are high on him coming out of the draft process, and will say, we'll send you a third round pick and take a shot on the quarterback.
Right now, NFC playoff picture, the teams that are playing, Bucks.
I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
NFC playoff games right now, as we currently stand. Bucks versus Cowboys rematch of last year's matchup.
I'm taking the Cowboys.
Okay,
Can the Bucks win?
This game, I will say Cowboys should win.
Wait, no. Bucks
comfortably.
are my bad. I thought it was
sorry.
No. I got confused with 49ers Cowboys. It is Bucks versus Cowboys though.
Yeah, Cowboys should win this game comfortably. The Bucks are just blessed to be in the worst division in football, which is the only reason they're in this game. I mean, if you got Sam Darnold and the Panthers and Andy Dalton and the Saints right on your tails, you know you're probably not a good football team. Right now, the Bucks are not a good football team. The Cowboys clear them.
Steal this game.
No, I really don't.
So if they do,
Brady,
fourth
quarter.
No,
I have the Cowboys in this game.
I think it would have to be a sloppy game from Dallas for that to happen. Like Dallas, multiple turnovers.
I have a problem with me disrespecting Brock Purdy. Why are you disrespecting the GOAT?
You're
not giving him a chance to win.
But the 49ers have arguably the best roster in football.
Nah, bro, you've been disrespecting.
The Bucks have been so ass.
For how many years has Tom Brady owned your team?
My entire life, 2 decades.
His team or y'all team?
He's owned you.
I understand.
Nuts.
Is this the Tom Brady Patriots from the 2010s, or is this the 2022 Bucks with Todd Bowles?
You love saying you don't like being called Mr. Flip Aside, then you do some shit like this.
What is his team?
It's not your team too, bro.
No,
bro, what happened? I thought he was on his last legs.
No, I'm a Jets fan.
I thought. Okay.
I'm a diehard fan for Brady, bro. He's always been this for Brady.
I'm a diehard fan.
He has owned our team.
Sorry, I got mixed up.
Of course, yeah, you get confused. He has owned our team for 20 years, but that is the Tom Brady Patriots with Bill Belichick. This is the Tom Brady Bucks with Todd Bowles. Bit of a different, situation.
Let's go on to the next game. 49ers versus Giants.
Niners
for sure.
This is a terrible matchup for the Giants. If the Giants play the Vikings again, I think they definitely have a chance.
Told y'all, man.
If they play the Niners, though, it's chopped. The Niners are too tough.
The Giants pretty much confirmed to play the Niners. Or
not official. It could change. One thing I will say, it will be a better game than people think because the Giants play well on the road. I think that whoever they play, they would be the favorites, but the Giants on the road are a very underrated team. That's all I want to say.
Vikings versus Commanders.
This is actually a good-ass game.
You can't trust the Vikings for shit. Every game is going to be close.
I can't trust them. Kirk Cousins has the most fourth game-winning drive.
I apologize.
What are you talking about? He has the
he
most
won the
in
game
NFL
a
history.
61-yard field goal.
He has the
It was
most
a 61-yard field goal
in
Joel,
NFL history.
I'm sorry.
Why can we not trust Kirk Cousins?
I'm sorry.
He's been clutch.
He's clutch.
Yes, he's been clutch.
Up to this point, you could trust the Vikings for winning all of these one-score field goal type games.
That's a skill.
It is a skill, but history has shown they usually go back to the median. If you win 7 game-winning drives, you're probably due for one to not go your way, to a couple plays not go your way.
History has not shown this season. The Vikings have won all these games.
They have, but
so in the playoffs against the Commanders, against Taylor Heineke,
what was the reason you were so high on the Vikings this year? Because last year they lost all these one-score games. Mm-hmm. Now this year they have, and honestly, not much in terms of personnel. It's about the same. You got a new head coach, obviously, yes.
Yep.
Against the Commanders, it's going to be a close game. In the fourth quarter, do they fumble? Is there an interception? Do they drop an interception? It's very thin. Wow, I'm losing myself. What I'm trying to say is very thin margins with the Vikings. It's just one or two things that don't go their way because it's going to be a one-score game. It doesn't matter who they're playing. They're not blowing them out. They're not going to get blown out. So it's very thin margins. If one thing doesn't go their way, they could easily lose a game to the Commanders or to the Giants.
So who do you got, Dehls?
I'll take the Vikings. They're more talented. They have a better
So
quarterback.
you said all that just to pick Minnesota.
If the Vikings play the Giants in round 1, I'll put my entire house on it. The Giants are winning that game.
It's funny because I tweeted that out. I said, I know who I'd pick. I had no clue. I just want to see what people were thinking. And it was pretty split 50-50.
You know the answer, kid.
Yeah.
Those New York football Giants.
They have a good shot.
Something on
They
the
have a
road
shot.
with the Giants. It's crazy.
Jets have been the same way. Much better on the road
It's
than home.
because MetLife is toxic.
Yeah.
It's toxic. It's a horrible environment to play for the home team.
Yeah, I know. They ruined Zach.
RJ Barrett got hurt. Yeah.
So now NFC. No way. That sucks.
Oh, I'm shocked to hear that. Your
You
reaction.
actually had it was like no sympathy behind what
No,
you said.
Brunson also got hurt. I don't know if he started or not, but I saw
No!
Is our whole team getting hurt?
I don't know if Brunson got hurt in the game or was out before the game started. But I think it was hip, maybe.
Better not be lying to me.
I'm definitely not. But I don't know if he got hurt during the game or if it was pre.
NFC teams that have not clinched a playoff spot yet. The Buccaneers. They have a 76% chance at making it. If they beat Carolina this weekend, they will clinch. But if they don't, then the Panthers have a chance to make it. The Panthers have a 22% chance to make it. If they beat Tampa Bay, it jumps to 62%. And Week 18 versus the Saints would decide the division for them. If they win, they can get into the playoffs.
I believe the Bucs are 7-point favorites against the Panthers.
Yeah,
I think it's our
the
friend
Bucs
of the
also
show,
have Panthers,
Mikey
though.
Grogan, said the Bucs haven't won a game by more than 7 since like Week 6 or
Really?
something like that.
But
It's
they
been-
all close games.
Yeah, so I think the Bucs will win. They should win.
Shout
But
out Mikey.
Panthers been running the ball well. They're playing good defense. J.C. Horn's been great.
Giants.
Is he going to be out?
Who?
J.C. Horn?
I don't know.
I saw J.C. Horn had an injury. I can look it up right now.
Giants, 89% chance at making the playoffs. They just
get
don't
in.
have to lose out.
Yeah.
They're going to face the Colts this weekend, and then Week 18, the Eagles probably against their backups.
Yeah, broken wrist, J.C. Horn.
Broken
Man,
wrist?
he's out,
bro.
Oh,
Oh, that
so he
sucks.
might be done for the year. I'm probably
He's
done
been
for the
elite
year.
all year.
Yeah,
The
that sucks.
Commanders have a 29% chance at making the playoffs. They have to beat the Browns next week and beat the Cowboys in Week 18.
Oh, that's a tough game.
If Washington goes 1-1, the Lions, Packers, and Seahawks will have to lose at least one game.
I
You
want
don't
to
like
see the
odds.
Commanders in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I want to see them.
You
in the
want to see
What are
them?
the Lions?
No.
What's
I'll
this?
tell you that.
They're a
in a
good
bit.
team.
Lions.
I'd much rather
Oh,
see
I'm
the
sorry.
Lions.
Thank
Yes.
you.
I don't want to see the Giants.
I don't
in. That's
want
the
to
Although
thing.
those
The Giants are
teams,
in. They're
although those teams have not
My
clinched,
G-men.
You're what?
Giants are in.
My G-men.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure I heard that right.
although these teams have not clinched, they are in the playoffs. These are the teams in the hunt that are on the outside looking in. The Seahawks have a 29% chance of making the playoffs. If they beat the Jets next week and beat the Rams in Week 18, the Commanders and Packers have to lose at least one game
Sheesh.
for them to get in.
That's
Seahawks
actually
are
a lot.
cooked. They're cooked.
The Lions have a
How the mighty have fallen.
24% chance at getting in. They have to beat the Bears next week, beat the Packers in Week 18, and the Commanders and Seahawks each have to lose a game.
That's a baby. They have to beat Packers Week 18.
There's a chance.
Commanders, I believe, they have a tough schedule the
They
next
do.
2 games.
They do. I want to say they play
They play the Eagles.
the Eagles. Is it the Cowboys too?
No, they don't
No,
play
they
the
play
Eagles.
the Eagles twice. It's the Browns and Cowboys.
Ah, that's
Cowboys
what it was.
game is tough.
The Packers have a 27% chance to make the playoffs. They have to beat the Vikings next week, beat the Lions in Week 18,
Both at home.
and the Giants have to either lose out or the Commanders lose once.
It's a good thing they haven't played the Vikings since like Week 1, so they had enough time to prepare.
Yeah, Packers have a chance. I think both of those games being at Lambeau is huge for them. And I do think Washington will drop one. So Packers somehow, some way from the depths of hell might make
I'm
it.
saying
in.
Washington gets in, man. I'm a bank on it getting.
Listen,
get
if Aaron Rodgers gets in, who knows what can happen?
That team's so mid.
It's Aaron Rodgers.
Team's mid.
It's Aaron Rodgers.
You got to see what's up with your boy Christian Watson, bro.
Now-
Because if he's
Bro, the
out for an
hip
extended
injury is
period,
crazy.
it's chopped. This team has it's
Romeo
chopped.
and him just cannot stay on the field together.
Now, the NFC teams that are still in the playoff hunt: Seahawks, Lions, Packers, and Panthers for the NFC South. Out of the teams that can get the wild card, who do you think has the best shot to do it?
The Giants.
Going Giants and
Well, no, the Giants are in.
Oh,
already,
sorry.
right
Oh,
now.
so just two spots.
in terms of the Seahawks, Lions, and Packers.
I'll go Lions.
I think the Packers have a good chance. I really
Packers,
do.
They do have a good
I
chance.
would bet on the Packers.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay consistent. Going with the Detroit Lions.
Detroit.
I like Detroit. It's just a hard path.
It is.
It
Yeah,
is.
losing that Panthers game.
They
was
have
brutal.
to win 2 in a row.
The schedule is relatively
This
friendly.
would breed
Bears, they
Warriors.
should win. They should beat the
Builds
Bears
character.
comfortably. Packers in Lambeau, if they win, they deserve it at that point. Honestly,
Do the Bears
Division games.
In Lambeau too,
that's a tough ass
game,
no matter
game
how
to win.
bad they are.
Do the Panthers win the division?
I'm gonna go Buccaneers.
I'm going
think
Bucks
that-
too. I hope. I don't need to see.
But I will
in
say
playoffs.
I'm with Mikey. If you're
If
better,
J.C. Horn was playing,
+7 is interesting. If you're looking into Carolina,
I'm gonna go Carolina.
Carolina wins the division.
Yes, I'm gonna be different.
You just be talking, bro.
Now, what if they do?
You're real. You're real.
I'll take the gamble. Fuck it. Who cares? The division sucks anyways.
I was gonna say you're banking on the battle of the mids. That's them.
Middle.
You may have missed it. Now, I don't know if you guys missed it or not. I definitely didn't, but you guys may have. James Harden report. He may be looking into going back to the Houston Rockets. And when I read this, my first reaction to this was, I'm disappointed. Because you're supposed to be all in on the Sixers right now. You can't have reports like this coming out. Thought it was a bad look. But to talk about what if it were to happen, the Rockets have a talented young core. They have cap space to sign Harden and other players. Imagine the Rockets with their young core, bringing in a lot of talent. I mean, this could be something if they could land Victor Wembanyama.
Facts.
Listen, the reunion could be something special, and he could finally be able to win a championship for the city of Houston. Now, that would be special.
We had a Fred VanVleet OG bet earlier, did we, right? Fred VanVleet has 4 points.
And
much does
OG
OG
has?
has 14.
Okay.
What quarter?
It's the 4th. They're down 18.
Oh, they're cooked.
Yeah, Fred is
Raptors
good.
are really bad this year. It's crazy. I'm
He's
hoping
2
for a
for
turnaround,
6.
man.
And I want to say this, too. This year, James Harden, averaging 22 a game, 11 assists, career high for him, 6 rebounds per game, shooting 43% from the field and 37% from 3. He has a +9 net rating, and he's +13.7 on and off numbers. Those are his on and off numbers. Now, this guy, James Harden, is one of the best scorers all time in NBA history. One of the best playmakers all time in NBA history. Doesn't get his respect. He deserves his respect for that. And, I mean, we did our all-star starters last episode. But listen, in terms of all-star starters, if I'm looking at the point guard position, I'm picking between Harden and Tyrese. I'm going with my guy, James Harden.
Okay.
I'm going with James
Oh,
Harden.
yeah.
He deserves to start over Tyrese. The Sixers are a higher seed. He's averaging 11 assists
we
this
just
year.
said-
you're
you just
What are we talking about?
You just had you was just making an argument for Hallie. Now it's Harden again.
Joel,
It's Harden.
Please.
Bro saw him play on Christmas.
Bro,
and
watch the
Please.
playback and say, you know what? Harden's my guy again.
It's James Harden.
Turn around and look at the name of the show for once. Please.
I am picking a side. I've always picked James Harden's side.
You clearly picked Hallie
You
last
picked Hallie's last
you
week.
don't even
Sorry,
think of
I
Harden.
didn't think about Harden. I didn't think about Harden.
I know.
But then I look at these numbers and I said, no, wait. This deserves recognition. People can make mistakes. We're not perfect. We're all flawed. I made a mistake.
Yeah, you're
That
funny.
Philly-
I made a mistake.
Yeah.
But James Harden is my guy.
Okay.
Should he not deserve consideration to start?
I'll be honest. I haven't been watching much of the Sixers because Maxi's been out.
Based on these stats, 22 and 11.
You should start.
Thank
But
you.
didn't you said what Hallie's been doing for Indiana is probably a little bit more important than what Harden's been doing for Philly because they haven't beat.
I can level. James Harden's an
No,
all-time
it's-
great player, though.
No, I know Harden's better.
If there's a chair weighing with his name on it, all-star starter is James Harden. Deserves it.
You may have missed it. First of all, Celtics.
We're sick of this.
We're beating a stingy Rockets team right now. JB and Tatum have combined for 64. Rest of the team combined for 58. Best duo in the league. But you may have missed it. You can't miss it if you follow me on Twitter. Mike White is back. He's starting. Salas said he's the starter rest of the year. He said Zach Wilson has a future with the New York Jets, and he just needs another reset like they were trying to do before Mike White got hurt. It's a bit of a sad world we live in, which, hey, Mike White, all the credit. He's been fantastic for us. That I'm sitting here and I'm absolutely elated that Mike White is back because he is the only chance we have of winning football games right now. My hope for this offseason is the Jets get a veteran quarterback. I don't want to shoot for the Jimmy G's and Derek Carrs. I want us to be shooting for the Lamars, for the Aaron Rodgers. We'll see what ends up happening. But I also want to pair that with a rookie quarterback. Whoever falls to us in that first round, I do think there is a decent chance that Richardson or Levis or Stroud, one of these quarterbacks is going to fall out of the top 10. I don't think 3 are going to go in the top 10. I think Bryce Young is really the only lock right now. And even though you do see some reports that Levis and other guys are above him, but I would like to see the Jets take a shot on the vet while also going for a rookie. I have no problem with it. Take as many shots at the quarterback position. If one hits, that's all you need. You can miss 10 times. If that 11th guy is a franchise quarterback, I don't care about the other 10. Mike White's back. We got to win 2 games. New England needs to lose 1. We're in the playoffs.
Go ahead, review.
Oh, thank you for calling me that.
Justin Jefferson?
No, not this week. This week I'm going to show some love. 2021 draft, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith. Those were the top 3 guys. We've spoken a lot about Waddle. We've spoken very highly of Jamar Chase. It's fucking time to put Smitty's name up there, man. I think he's fully, this year, asserted himself as a top dog number 1. Maybe not the top tier. That's A.J. Brown. Respect to him. But a low tier. He's definitely done that. Cowboys game, I think that was like his real, put everybody on the map. 8 receptions, 113 yards, 2 touchdowns. But the plays he was making were just loud and
Slim Reaper
strong.
for a
He's
reason.
a dog. Him and A.J. Brown, duo with 1K. Impressive for the
Are you
Eagles.
taking them as the best wide receiver duo in the league?
No, I still take Miami.
Okay.
I still think about Jamar and T. Higgins because I really do
They're
like
third.
T. Higgins. I still think about them. But
Keenan and Mike Will, you're taking AJ.
I am taking AJ and
I
Smitty
agree.
comfortably over them.
Comfortably, okay.
Yeah, I am. But I think those 2, Miami, the Bengals, I feel like I'm blanking on somebody else.
I mean,
Those are the big
you have,
3.
you have
Yeah.
Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. I feel like if you
I'm
wanted to take
taking
the Eagles,
AJ
I'm
and
fine with
Smitty.
it too.
Yeah, I'm taking
take
AJ
them
and
too.
Smitty. But just
D-Hop, Hollywood, I would
No, I'm
probably
taking
take
Right now,
Smitty.
AJ and Smith are over Godwin and Evans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But shout out to Devonta. He's been amazing this year.
He's
AJ
stud.
has really helped him. He just had some big plays against Dallas. I wish we would have won the game. That would have made it a lot more sweet. But we need to start putting his name back in that conversation and giving him some more recognition because I feel like when we talk about the 2021 draft, it's just Waddle, Chase. We even used to talk about Elijah Moore for a little bit, and Devonta Smith's name just doesn't get brought up. But now we need to start talking about Smith with those guys because he's really asserted himself as a top dog. 1K, 7 TDs.
Smitty's great. He's just not with those guys, though.
Okay.
Smitty's fantastic.
Chase
Start
clears,
throwing
though.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Waddle clears.
So we can't
Smitty deserves his
They
love.
are better than Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith.
He's a number 1, I think.
He's a what?
Number 1.
Yes.
Yeah. He doesn't get talked about like a number 1 though.
mid-tier number 1, though.
It is
He's a low-tier number
hard
1.
to say. It's hard to speak on Devonta Smith in comparison to Jalen Waddle and Jamar Chase because Jamar Chase, I feel like, easily is the best of the 3. Waddle, I would put him 2,
Yeah.
but it does not take away from how great of a player Smitty is. That's the best way I can put it. Clears is strong. I think Jamar clears Smitty. I wouldn't say Waddle clears Smitty. I say Waddle is better though.
Semantics.
Semantics.
I don't know. You don't think Waddle clears Smitty?
I think this year
I feel like
you could think about
Devontae Smith had the best wide receiver season in college football history, and they still took Waddle over him in the draft.
Devonta Smith's hands are for sure. His route running is pristine. It's just Jalen Waddle's fast.
As fuck.
it. It's fuck. Yeah,
Fuck.
he is.
How he scored a touchdown on that play, bro, I have no clue.
The speed kills, and that's why you have to put the respect on. Because Waddle has for sure hands. Waddle does have very good route running, but I would take Devonta's route running.
His explosiveness.
His hands, I would take Devonta's hands, but at the speed, you
Catch
can't
radius.
beat. You can't absolutely.
Smitty or Lamb?
CD.
I'm not disrespecting.
It's-
I think
it's a
he's in the
conversation
Terry DJ Moore kind of. I think right now in that conversation,
He wasn't in there before.
Smitty. I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He
I
wasn't
think
in. So
he's-
him
I
getting
think
in
he's
there,
been in that
he's
conversation.
just gonna keep.
Terry's having a great year this year.
Yeah.
He's 1,300 yards, I want to say. But in terms of like consistent year after year, I think Smitty could be in that conversation. And shame on anyone who doubted him, man.
Absolutely.
I know like the size concerns. Like he really might be playing at like 165 pounds. Like he is the skinniest, thinnest player on the field. But when he goes out and puts up 1,800 yards at Alabama and wins the Heisman,
If he weighs less than
We have
me,
22
that's
total
nuts.
no,
touchdowns?
his weight on whatever is going to be
170.
like yeah, but he probably plays later. I'm not going to lie.
Nah, weighing
So
less than me is
my,
crazy.
you may have missed it. So first, I want to highlight Cam Akers. 6 touchdowns in the last 4
Been balling.
weeks. He has been exceptional for the Rams. Really had showed out Christmas Day. They gave Baker Mayfield the MVP, but really Cam Akers should have been in contention for that. And I kind of want to do something a little bit different. I didn't talk to you guys about this, but for my you may have missed it, I want to go into the baseball route. Carlos Correa is supposed to have a multi-year contract signed already with
Hasn't happened.
the New York Mets. But right now what's going on is there is a problem with his physical as of right now, and for that they're not able to really sign the agreement yet. Correa is holding his position. He does not want to restructure the contract. He already had a position where with the Giants the Giants ended up having an issue with that contract as well because of the physical as well. Carlos Correa is a special player. When he plays, He is amongst the elite, one of the best shortstop in the game, especially when it comes to fielding. This is one of the more peculiar things that we've seen in Major League Baseball because usually physicals aren't an issue, especially when it comes to a guy who's Carlos Correa's age, not even anywhere near the age of 30. But the skill set that he has, injury concerns, this is definitely one of the most unique situations we've seen in Major League history, and I am curious to see how it boils down. I would like to see Correa go to the Mets. The Mets, what they have cooking over there is very interesting. But Correa might be that final infinity stone for them because they need help hitting. But the fact that this has been going on for not just with the Giants, but now with the Mets, what's going on with Correa?
I think the biggest issue, real quick, is MLB, we're giving him a 12-year contract. Like, that's right now I don't want to say it's an issue with baseball because players deserve their money, but when you give guys these 12-year deals, I mean, in the NBA and NFL, rarely do you see more than a 4 or 5 year deal. Like the Mahomes deal, which was 10 years, you never see that. Most of the time it's 4 or 5 years. Baseball, you have these 8, 9, 10 career 12-year deals. So you could be thinking about it like, yeah, he'll be good for a couple of years, but when it's year 5 and we have 7 years left on the deal at $40 million and this injury pops up, we're going to be screwed. So that's always one thing I've hated about baseball is these long-term contracts that the organizations, they have billionaire owners, so I don't want to say they have to pay these guys, but it just constrains most teams. I mean, the Mets are in a different class because Steve Cohen will pay whatever it takes, but for a lot of owners, they're going to be hesitant because of these long-term deals, having to pay guys in their mid and late 30s when you have injury concerns. I think that's the biggest issue with this deal.
Astros clear.
Astros are fantastic. I can't talk shit. You guys just
are they falling off?
You would want that.
I want it so
no
bad.
Verlander.
That hurt
Now,
me mentally.
Nelly
For a casual,
P,
that hurt me.
Nelly P _22 just sent a super chat.
And
he says, went to the Nets versus Blazers game on November 27th.
Tough.
Dapped up KD and Ben. KD signed my jersey. And since that game, Nets have went 13-1. Only lost to the Celtics. Dehls happy about that. And Joel, admit you're a closet.
It's not even a
Nets
closet.
fan.
It's not
No,
closet.
you're
It's
openly.
so out in the open. You guys are up on the Mavs right now. The Knicks. Sorry, the Knicks, not the Nets.
Stop. Tell him.
Not
Shout out to the
tapping.
Knicks.
Bro, that me.
Oh,
Him, yeah.
yo,
What
you
do you
Knicks,
mean? I'm
bro.
a Knicks fan.
You're up to the
Knicks tape.
Knicks tape. Yep.
Did you just steal my team?
Yes.
On the
He
fucking,
just stole my team.
He did. Yeah.
right in front of your face.
Now listen,
I
I will
appreciate
admit,
that, Joel. Shout out.
when I was a kid, I remember watching this vividly in my cousin's room. It's NBA trade deadline. There's a bunch of rumors going on. Carmelo Anthony was on the move, and the two teams that were interested in his services were the Nets and the Knicks. I've always
The Bulls,
been
too.
a New Jersey Nets fan. When they moved from New Jersey, I said if I'm rooting for a team in New York, it will be the Knicks. So my roots and my fandom are Nets related. I like Darren Williams. My first NBA game was a New Jersey Nets game. Carmelo goes to the Knicks. I started rooting for the Knicks. Always happy for the Nets, though. You know, I was happy when they got KG and Paul Pierce. I thought it'd work. You know, it didn't work, but I remember watching Brook Lopez, Nets all-time leader scorer. You know, I definitely have love for the Nets. There's no doubt.
It's an understatement.
I got love for the Nets.
I'm glad you had to share that with us, man.
I got love for the Nets. It's easy.
Bro was just trying to justify it anyway.
Yeah, that didn't move anybody.
It's a real story,
not a
though.
little bit.
So you guys don't believe my stories.
I like when the Nets were in Jersey. I root for the Nets.
Sure,
You guys didn't believe that my dad is a Chiefs and Bengals fan.
That was a straight up lie.
It's not a lie. It's really not a lie.
I mean, I used to watch Devin Harrison and Nets. Devin Harrison is one of my
Harris.
favorite players.
Nah, it's
Marshawn
funny.
Brooks.
One day, y'all.
Not Marshawn. Who did I mean?
Marshawn Brooks, Yi Yang Lian, shit like that. Brook Lopez, Josh Boone,
One day we'll get the conversation out of my dad,
Oh,
and
I
you
met
guys,
some role player.
you guys will find
talk
out.
Gerald
to him.
Green,
He's
No.
been a big time Dalton and Alex Smith fan.
Dalton, Andy.
Bengals. Now I have a would you rather this episode.
Is it Trae Young or we changed that?
I'm
You
gonna
never
Yes,
tell us.
It is?
Oh,
Dude, he says it right here.
This is
oh shit.
would you rather Trae Young edition. He hasn't had the best season, so we'll see where the recency bias
Hasn't had the
lies
best
on
season,
this.
still averaging 27 points
Inflated
per game.
NBA.
Darius
Can
Garland.
make me sick, actually.
I'm sorry. Who's the word you're
Trae Young.
Trae Young. Okay.
Darius Garland.
Let's hear a riff.
I personally,
Oh, my God.
I would take Darius Garland.
I'm going Trae Young.
Trae Young might be the worst defender in NBA history. I've been told.
This is possibly a fact.
Give me Garland.
Yeah, Garland's so great defensively.
Now I think I will go with Darius right here.
You told me Trae Young was the best point guard in the league last year.
He tweeted it.
Nah, I'm playing. I'm going with Trae Young.
Okay,
I'm going
thank
with
you.
Trae.
Thank you. Christ.
Damian Lillard.
I'm a Garland hater. I'm going with Damian Lillard.
Give me Dame.
This year, yeah, Dame's been tweaking.
I'm going with Dame. SGA.
SGA.
I got SGA.
You said it so calmly, but this year, bro, oh my God. It probably is SGA right now.
I'm going with Trae Young.
Tyrese Halliburton.
I'm going with Trae Young.
I'm going with Trae too.
That's fair.
Ja Morant.
John Morant.
Morant.
I'm going with Ja.
Morant. I don't know why I thought about it.
No, I feel like you had.
Well, the first two, Ja and Garland, clear bias.
No, but I feel like we've had the conversation.
I have told you Trae Young
that Trae's better than Ja.
Yes.
All right, but
It's like McMorrow? No.
I'm fine with that.
It's like a back and forth with
Who
me.
is the Nets player? It's like not McMorrow. It's
Anthony McMorrow.
Yes,
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Anthony Morrow.
Anthony
Anthony
Morrow.
Morrow.
Anthony
That's who I
Morrow.
meant.
He was a
That's who I
sniper,
meant.
bro.
Yes,
He
for
was.
Sure. He was in Maywood just randomly. I don't know why.
No, he was in GSP.
No, I met him in Maywood.
Ah, tough.
Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie Irving.
Trae Young.
Yeah, Trae.
What does Trae Young do better than Kyrie Irving?
Offense.
Pass. Offense.
He's a way better playmaker. I mean,
absolutely.
Offensively, he's better than Kyrie.
Offense is insane.
He's got a bigger bag. Kyrie, that is.
Okay, yeah. Shooting?
No,
are you
Kyrie got
taking
it. Yeah,
Trae
Kyrie
or are you
got it.
taking Kyrie?
Take Kyrie. Why are you looking at me
No, because
directly?
you said offense. You just blew mine. You just blew mine.
If you see John laughing, I clearly trolled when I said that. That's
So
why.
the answer is Kyrie.
No, the answer is Trae Young.
What does he do better?
Who would you rather?
But
I would
that's why I'm
rather Trae Young.
Bro, I'm trying to have a conversation.
I would rather Trae Young lead my team. Fact. As a number 2, I would pick Kyrie though, unquestioned, not even a thought.
Such a
really?
weird,
Yeah, that's
hypothetical.
I'm going.
I understand
with
what
Trae
he's
Young.
saying, though. I understand it. It's just not really what we do here.
I mean, would you rather? I picked
Because he's doing a
would.
would you rather.
Offense.
He's doing
You
a
said
would you rather for
offense.
2 different scenarios.
I like
What
Trae Young.
about-
I just threw up in my mouth.
What about LaMelo Ball?
I would go Trae Young.
Really?
I would. Listen, I love LaMelo.
I'm going
John's
LaMelo.
better.
You are.
You're a,
I'm going Trae.
Yeah, it's Trae Young.
LaMelo
He's
could
still
be
a
better
better
than
player.
Trae though.
Yes.
LaMelo
get
can
there.
be
He
better
could
than
get there.
Trae.
Undoubtedly.
As
As
There's
of
a lot
right
of
now,
guys
I
that can be
still
better than
take.
Trae
I would
Young.
still. I would still take Trae.
I can name so many Nets role players from those eras: Sheldon Williams, Johan Petro, Yi-Jian Lin, Anthony Morrow is one of them.
What was his
Travis
name?
Outlaw.
Sasha.
Jordan Farmar.
Was it Sasha
Vujovic.
Vujovic?
They signed a lot of like mid players, bro.
Don't ask me why, but in one of the old 2Ks, I maxed out Sasha Vujovic's attributes.
I do that with Cam Reddish every 2
Bro,
games.
I scored like 113 points against my cousin.
I literally-
What do you think Anthony McMorrow's career 3-point percentage is?
Anthony Morrow.
40%.
Stop saying McMorrow.
Sorry,
It's
Morrow.
Morrow, yeah.
42%.
I literally put
He's a
Cam
great
Reddish
shooter.
95 overall. Every game, every 2 games.
Anthony Morrow was in the wrong era, man.
He was a
Should
sniper.
have been in this era.
The Warriors drafted him.
Gerald Green revived his career with the Nets. Gerald Green has some highlights with the Nets.
He did. He
I will
was,
say
he was
though,
always a
Drew,
cheat
to
code
your
on 2K.
to your Trae Kyrie
Shoot,
point,
dunk.
Trae Young is literally by himself can backpack a top 10 offense. I don't
Okay.
think Kyrie can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
I could disagree.
But it's like a fact. Like Trae Young has willingly backpacked top 10 offenses in the NBA.
Interesting.
Kyrie's never really as the guy, never really done that.
It was funny. It was funny.
Did he give it a like?
Interesting. I feel like the Cavs situation was so horrific
Yeah, that's fair.
that it's hard to really judge that.
He's a scorer.
But with the with the Celtics that year when, essentially they were babies. What offense were they?
I couldn't tell you.
I honestly I don't know either. We can look it up.
double check real quick.
But they were still amongst the best teams. Weren't they the number 1 seed in the East?
The Kyrie year?
Yes.
When he got hurt, he did
Yes.
get hurt.
Yes,
Were we the ones?
They were the number 1 seed in the Eastern
They
They
Conference.
were.
Let me check
They were.
What year was that?
I just
2018.
Brad Stevens was special with point guards. I mean, Kyrie's obviously in his
that
own
was
right.
the year that the Cavs took the
incredible, but
Celtics.
They were 18th ranked offense. They were number 1 in defense.
Okay,
The
interesting.
Celtics took the Cavs to 7 with no Kyrie.
Yeah, and then the next year they were 10th in offense. They were 7th in defense. So they were top 10 one time.
Well, that's with Kyrie.
Yes.
So
The first year was 18th.
he was the best.
Damn.
Just saying.
Brown and Tatum almost had a 40-40 game.
Trae's like, fuck, he's
They're mid this year.
yeah, they're close.
You slept,
Facing
buddy.
the
They're always like
Rockets,
it's like back and
bro.
forth.
Slept. The
I'm not
Rockets that beat
I'm
the
not really a
Bucks.
Kyrie fan. So.
I can understand not being a
Any-
Kyrie
any
fan for
given
sure,
night.
but we gotta acknowledge him, man.
What are your thoughts, Riv, on the Bulls losing to the Rockets?
I don't give a fuck.
What are your thoughts on the Celtics 3-game win streak?
Wait, why did you ask me that?
I think it's about time they came back to the meet.
See, they were second in offense last year.
You can't sleep on the
Trae Young and the
Celtics.
Hawks.
You're disgusting.
You know
They
they're
were
coming.
8th in offense. 2
In
years
rating
ago.
or points per game?
Well, rating.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. And then they were 26 his rookie year. So for the most part, he's been
Rob 11 and
Second
15.
last year?
Man.
2021, 2022. They were second in
Shot
offensive
35%
rating.
from
No
three.
way.
He does this shit. The year before that, they were 8th.
Your
They
boy
were
Sam
better
Green
the
had
year
0.
before that.
What? Second last year. I'm stunned.
Me too. I didn't see that coming. Yeah.
You know that Atlanta was number 2 in offense last year?
Yeah, they were.
You knew that?
He does.
No.
Well, he said he was the best point guard in the
backpacks.
Yeah,
NBA.
they were a top offense.
Trae Young backpacks an offense.
No, he was amazing. I know that last year. But
I wouldn't go as far as saying that. I mean, this year they're one of the worst offenses in the league, and he's there.
Yeah,
He's not
that's true.
backpacking it.
But I'm saying he has done it. Though.
There's 1 year where he's done it. Yeah, for sure. Winners and losers of NBA Christmas games. So going with the winners first. I guess I'll start.
like I'm really having difficulty here though with like the winners and the losers. Like it's obvious. If you lost, you're a loser. You won, you're a winner. It's clear as day.
There are storylines within these games that I think we can pinpoint.
What are they?
I don't know. Well, here's the one to highlight. The one to highlight mostly is the Memphis Golden State game. That's really the one that you have to look at and think. The Grizzlies went out sorry. They talked a lot of shit, and the Warriors came out and punched them in their mouth. Other one you could also.
So that's it. Nothing else. You don't want to talk about anything else?
Oh, you're gonna talk
You
about
just
the
told
Lakers
what
getting
I'm
embarrassed?
about to go.
Let's hear it.
But
Let's hear
like,
it.
No, I'm saying you don't want to highlight nothing else that you've been pretty down about. Like,
oh, I said the Warriors. You can't count them out.
just somebody very specific, very individual. You don't want to
Someone
highlight.
that goes swimming, maybe.
Klay Thompson.
Riv,
Fuck
hold up.
no.
I'm asking.
Hold
Someone
up,
that
hold
does-
up.
no.
That's great because my winner here, I think Jordan Poole's confidence.
There we go.
32 points in 29 minutes. He looked like the best player on the floor for most of the game, and he's somebody that you was doubting.
I didn't doubt him.
Shut
I
up.
called him overrated.
That's what the fuck
He's
is that?
overrated
Okay.
He's not
because
though.
people like
when
you.
he starts, he's
What
averaging
do, what do
People
I
like
think he is?
you-
What do I think he is?
You think he's about to be on the course to being the next Steph Curry?
You're a fucking
Relax
liar.
it.
I've never
Relax
said, You're a
it.
fucking liar. I've never said that in my life. Just Steph grooms him. Same
So,
way how
you saw
LeBron
the
groomed
way Steph was
THT,
coaching
and it didn't
him?
fucking
What do you
work.
mean? The correlation actually is so non-existent.
You
it's
saw
not
the
even
way
a
Steph was
question.
coaching him
Of
on the
course I did.
sideline.
I tweeted about it. I
I mean,
loved
and
it.
when
Every
Jordan
bit of
Poole,
it.
early in the season said that teams guard me like Steph when I come off the bench, he's right. And now you're seeing when he's starting, they're playing him similar to Steph, and he's playing like this. I'm not saying he's gonna be Steph, but Jordan Poole. I mean, he has a lot of potential, man. And when he gets hot, he's amazing.
So perfectly said. Amazing. Right there, perfect. When he gets hot,
When he's a starter, he's amazing.
when he gets hot, he is amazing.
When he's a starter,
I
he's
could
amazing
not
too, though.
agree more. But he's so damn streaky. That's my issue.
When he's starting, he's literally amazing.
All right, he was starting. He was having some cold moments as well.
Okay.
But for the
Every
majority,
player has bad
absolutely.
games,
Oh,
though.
I'm not going to
But
say it
Poole
wrong.
feels more streaky than others.
I don't know about that.
You don't?
When he is hot, Poole is
Yes.
fucking great.
But when he's off,
He's been fired these last couple games. Absolutely, Riv. I'll give you the credit. But when he's cold, he's cold.
Since December 5th, these have been his game logs. 23, 36, 20, 18, 20, 29, 43, 26, 13, 32.
Oh, wow. The 13s get scattered in there. The 19s get scattered
Yes, but
in
for
there.
the most part, he's
I'm just-
consistent.
You just named me a couple of games where he was under 20 points.
I named you two.
And then 20 flat, right?
Yeah, 20 flat's not bad.
It's
though.
not bad. Absolutely not.
He had
Oh,
2 games where he's
absolutely
20
not.
flat and 2 games under 20.
And what are the efficiencies here?
The efficiencies, let me get that for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It really means a lot.
In the month of December, I'll show you the
Cool.
efficiencies that he's had.
What are we talking about?
Just Poole being just
He's
a little bit too
he's a little
streaky.
bit streaky.
That's my issue. And it's nothing against Poole. I think Poole's a very fine basketball player.
I don't like Poole.
In the
But
month of December,
no,
he's
you're out?
shooting,
As a man.
Oh,
So in December,
Now, hilarious
Poole-
coming from you.
that's why it is.
The
in
green-headed
December,
fuck on your
Poole is
team.
averaging 26.
Oh,
In
He's the
December,
Grinch.
he's averaging 26, 2, and 4. Shooting 45% from the field and 33% from 3.
33% from 3. Got to bring that up. You're a 3-point shooter.
But he's averaging 26.
Oh,
also
absolutely.
takes
He's been
some
great.
wild
He's been
threes.
great.
He does
Jalen
take
Brown's
some
averaging
wild threes.
26. And,
Can I ask
and
what's
he's
the
shooting
attempts?
33% from 3. You don't say a word.
What's the
He's all
attempts?
NBA.
What's the attempts? Hey, listen, 30, no one's hooting and hollering about 33%.
Wait, hold on. Wait, Poole got similar stats to Jaylen Brown.
I'm asking.
He's saying Jaylen Brown all NBA.
Because they're going to say the defense.
And he knows that's facts. But read me,
Even though
please.
his defense has been
No,
okay.
read me the attempts
right now?
per game. Can you do that for me?
Who's the best team? What happens when you guys go on the road?
Fucking
9 threes a game.
What are you
9
3 and 14 on the road, bro?
But we're the best team at home.
I know it doesn't make any sense.
Taking almost 10 threes a game.
I don't know about you, Joel, but I think the Celtics were the biggest winner because
Ironic.
I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Just took a lot of shit over these last week, 2 weeks. About the Celtics because, there's an 82-game season and the Celtics were the best team in basketball for the first 2 months and they went on a bad 8-game stretch. All of a sudden, all these teams could beat them. But right now, even after that bad stretch, the Celtics still have the best offense in the NBA, the best net rating, the best plus-minus, the best point differential, 7th best defense, 2nd best true shooting percentage, and the best record in the NBA. Did you know 4 out of the last 6 NBA champions have had the best record by Christmas? Boston Celtics have the best record right now. Now, I'm not saying anything negative about your teams, the teams you root for, because there's like 8 of them, but just put some damn respect on the Celtics for once. I know you tweeted sarcastically, you can't sleep on the Celtics, this and that. You should be talking to your damn self. Celtics are the best team in basketball still. 3-game win streak. Beat the Bucks national television. Dominated the Bucks. Jason Tatum dunked on Giannis. Made him his son. Masterclass.
Listen, Dehls.
Winner. Biggest winner.
I love his passion.
Made my
out of
Christmas.
You. And I will say this to
I was
you,
elated.
Dehls. I've been the first one to tell you that the Celtics are going to eventually, they're going to get out the slump. First one to tell you that, listen, the Celtics, you can trust this team. You can trust this team. This team is battle-tested. That's the number one thing I said to you about the Celtics. No team should be sleeping on the Celtics. They're a great, phenomenal team. But look at what the team in Brooklyn is doing, the Nets. I mean, the Nets are doing something that I can't turn a blind eye to. You can't turn a blind eye to.
Oh, I'm not.
It's about time that you're recognizing that. You're recognizing
I feel like I've been respecting
and
the
the
Nets over the
entire
last couple
NBA
weeks.
is starting to recognize how great the Brooklyn Nets are. Now, listen, the Celtics are phenomenal, but the Nets just embarrassed the Bucks. The Celtics embarrassed the Bucks too. The Bucks, this should be, and this is my losers here. 21-point blowout on Christmas. What are you doing, Giannis? Couldn't even get the over on what I bet on him. That's when I knew he's not the guy. Now listen,
You can't win a championship with Giannis as your best player.
now the Bucks. I will say this: when they won the championship,
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Man to man, I'm sorry. That was rude.
when they won the championship, the Bucks,
Fraudulent.
Chris Middleton went on a run that he never went on before. He never did.
Stop it. This is where you're losing me. Don't do that.
This season, do I expect Chris Middleton to go on another run like that again? No. Given where his health is at right now? No. Do I count on him? No. Can a healthy Bucks team beat Boston? They can. But I have major, major concerns about the Bucks. The Bucks are the 3rd best team in the East. Maybe even 4. Maybe I might drop them because Philly's coming. Oh, they're coming hot. Led by James Harden and Joel Embiid. I got them as winners too. The duo of Embiid and Harden. Embiid at 35-8. Harden had 29-13. One of the best scorers and playmakers in NBA history. The Eastern Conference is between the Nets and the Boston Celtics. In the offseason, you acted like it was a foregone conclusion that the Nets got no chance.
Joel, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Now
I
listen,
really do.
right?
Joel,
This is what it's going to be.
I really apologize. I need to interrupt. I'm sorry. This is the last time I'll do it. The last show we had, we literally had a conversation about the Eastern Conference and it being wide open or not. You told me the Eastern Conference is as wide open as the West. But now you're going to sit here and tell me that it's between Brooklyn and Boston and that's
Those
it?
are the 2 top teams I see.
They're the 2 favorites for sure.
I'm not disagreeing.
I think mine.
The whole point is this was not your statement a couple days ago.
No, I'm saying, hold up. We have to.
Well,
relax.
he tried to throw the
We have to
Sixers in
relax.
there.
We have to relax. The
He
Sixers.
tried to throw the Knicks in there.
The Sixers at their maximum capacity, their potential, they got a chance. The Bucks, they got a chance. I'm not ruling them out, but right now, I think the East is gonna go through the Celtics and the Nets.
Hold on.
That's my prediction.
I have a problem
now.
right now.
Is the
So
East,
it's not open.
Is the East
so it's
wide
not open.
My prediction: East, Nets, Celtics.
I just have an issue with your statement when you talk about us in the offseason.
here.
Because in the offseason, you're right. I said the Nets do not have a chance against the Celtics.
The Nets have a chance. No, but to be fair,
in the offseason,
I'm sorry.
Real quick.
I don't like when you say that.
Because in the offseason, that's what I said.
Yes, the Nash Nets.
Exactly. Because once Nash got fired, you were able to change your mind and say the Nets are back in. But I can't change my mind. Have I not been saying over the last 2-3 weeks? Yes, the Nets are right up there with everyone else in the East. At first, I said they're right below the Celtics and Bucks. That was like a month ago. Now I said absolutely they're in contender status. They are playing some of the best basketball in the NBA. I'm still taking the Celtics. Don't get it twisted. But don't say, oh, in the offseason you said didn't have a chance when it was Steve Nash. Just like you said, well, it's a different coach now. I could change my mind just like you changed your mind.
He is spitting.
Be a man. What you just said about changing your mind and how it was fair for you to change it at the moment because circumstances changed. Welcome to my world, buddy. Welcome to my world.
You did.
Welcome to my world.
That's what you did.
That's what you did.
I changed my mind off of evident circumstances.
You change your mind every week.
I get called Mr.
You change your mind every week. You change your mind over a good 5-game stretch, a bad 5-game stretch.
Now what happens to you, Dehls, and you're playing victim?
Is there not a difference? You change your mind after a good or bad week of a team when a coaching change happens. It's evident that the Nets are a completely different team under this new coach. I changed my mind just like you changed yours.
Your opinion was less about the coach and more about you just didn't think the roster was that talented.
I didn't think the roster was as talented as Celtics, but Steve Nash, everyone's biggest gripe with the Nets was not Steve Nash.
Remember when we had the Nets and Celtics roster debate and you were like, the Nets roster can't compare to the Celtics roster?
Didn't you also have the Celtics as like the 6th best roster?
Can I jump in?
No, I didn't, bro.
Hey, guys.
That's capping.
He wasn't capping. He wasn't capping.
They were nowhere near.
Starting
You're a
five.
liar.
Regardless, they were so down. You were so low on them. It was disrespectful.
Okay, was I disrespectful?
You had like the fucking Timberwolves above us.
Talent-wise, they had 3 players in the
top
25.
I don't want to hear about talent. I don't want to hear about talent. It's undisputed the Celtics have a better starting 5 than the Timberwolves.
Another one of my winners.
There's fucking 4 games. He has 6 winners.
CP3 washed allegations 17-16. They didn't look too washed to me. I think he had a bounce back game.
Hopefully Book is good.
And my losers, it's easy. RJ Barrett stunk. 17 points, 6 for 19. Was bad. I didn't like it.
It's a Jordan Poole style.
Listen, and this is the thing I want to root for RJ. I do.
Don't.
If he proves me wrong, I'm happy. But ultimately, the Knicks ceiling always relied on his development. And in year 4, if he's not better than Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, there is a problem. He was the 3rd overall pick. He's supposed to be an all-star stamp by now. He's not. And then on Christmas, after he had a 40 ball, he dropped 17 points. Come on. Let's stop it. And the Grizzlies, their overconfidence, their cockiness, man, it's disgusting. The Grizzlies, they're talking about how they're up next in this dynasty world. The Warriors had their time. Now it's the Grizzlies' time. There ain't time. Nothing is going to be their time. I will pick the Pelicans before I pick the Memphis Grizzlies.
You also picked the Timberwolves before you picked the Grizzlies.
This team is a bunch of this is a confident, cocky team. They have not accomplished nothing, yet they walk around like they are a team that should be feared. No, they're not. The Warriors healthy will beat them again. It's not a debate. The Pelicans have beat them in the series. Let's be honest. The Nuggets with Jokic, they gonna do them in. Jaren Jackson still gets into foul trouble. I just don't like the persona the Grizzlies give off. It's too cocky for me. Too overconfident. Too arrogant. Humble yourself. You haven't even reached the conference finals yet. You're talking about being a dynasty. Let's ease up on that.
Are you gonna comment on this?
Yes.
But are you going to stamp it?
No. I'm a Moran guy. I do think he has a point, though. They are a bit cocky. That comes from they are a little bit arrogant. But
since when is that a problem?
It's not, because it comes from their confidence in the locker room, and that's why they play so well. But I do think there's a form of appropriate cockiness. I do think there is a thing of appropriate confidence. They do walk around like they have won something. So he has a point there. They do walk around like they have this sense of banners in their arena that they've won this. No, you are an up-and-coming team. The Pelicans don't act like that. The Cavs don't act like that. These are young, growing teams. But the Grizzlies, they don't have that appropriate cockiness. But You said Memphis can't beat all these teams. They're right up there with these teams.
I didn't
right
say
now.
that. I wouldn't pick them.
Oh yeah, but they've been amazing this year. They're right up with these teams. For me,
I hate that statement.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do you like?
I never said they can't beat these teams. I said I think they won't. It's not that they can't.
That's my least favorite statement out of your mouth. Every time you say it, it pisses me off.
Is there not a difference between can't and won't? Can't means I don't think you will ever do that. Won't, then I don't think you will.
The whole point of doing this show is your opinion. The only thing that matters is your opinion. Your opinion is that you don't think they can, but for some reason now everyone else is. Oh, but it's still possible. They could. Am I wrong?
But I don't think they will.
So you don't think they'll beat these teams?
Yes, but
all right,
can they? Yes.
See, that's where it is.
What do you mean? Is there not a difference?
But Joel, the only thing that matters to me is what you think. That's the only thing that matters to me.
I just said I don't think they will.
All right, that's it. So when they do win, I don't want to hear but it always could. I don't want to hear that.
Bro, if they win, I'm going to be like, okay, I'm not surprised they won. Why would I be surprised if I think they can do it? Was I wrong about it? Yes.
Semantics.
Keep my eye on you, bro.
So it's always semantics.
I'm the semantics police
winners,
today.
Jordan Poole, undoubtedly. He had an amazing performance on Christmas. Christmas is a very important day for the NBA. Christmas games are very important. They have that playoff atmosphere, fear. Everybody's tuned in. So the fact that Jordan Poole can do that, he was, I think, the youngest player to score 30.
Yeah.
So the fact that he can do that on a Christmas game like that, especially when they needed it, they were like, they then had a terrible road trip. They just got blitzed twice in a row. So they needed that performance from Jordan Poole, and he got ejected too. So shout out to him. He's definitely a winner. Winner, Celtics. They're just coming off a big win against the Bucks, one of those prime teams in the East. They just beat the Bucks. Yeah, that's definitely important. I think that's a great game. That's definitely a statement game because the Bucks and the Celtics are going to be around for a good amount of time. So that's a statement game. Losers. I want to say the Bucks to a degree because I do think to a degree the Bucks, Giannis's half-court offense needs to be really processed. I think we need to have a real discussion about the Bucks half-court offense and the fact that sometimes it has these little struggles, it has this little doubts because Giannis's ineffectiveness to hit the jump shot consistently. They lack a lot of creators on the offensive end. They lack a lot of guys that can move the ball, and Budenholzer's scheme is a little outdated. I think their half-court offense isn't as good as what we think, and I know Middleton is not there, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, but it's starting to become a question on their half-court offense. They're a great fast-break team, but half-court-wise, they're not good. They're very easy to guard up. If you have the right guys, they are very easy to scheme up systematically, and with teams like the Nets, teams like Cleveland, even though they're young, teams like the Boston Celtics, they have the guys that schematically they can scheme up against the Bucks in a half-court offense. And then, of course, the Sixers, they won. I think something when James Harden and Embiid playing like that. The first half looked a little shaky. They didn't look too strong, but then they came out in the second half firing. Loser is definitely the Knicks because I think you get a primetime game like that and you're coming off a big, big trip where you've won, 7 of your last 8 games, I believe. You're in a hot streak. This is the game, and now it's like, all right, our statement game. Let's put our team on the map. Show guys we are legit. Christmas is the moment, and you come out and you lose like that at home. I think that's an L for them. Not to say they're not. They can still change that narrative, but that's definitely was one of those days where, important wise, you go in there.
It could have been a statement win. It could have been.
You stamp your claim like we're legit. We're for real. And against a team like the Sixers, who are a semi-contender in the East, a team you might have to see down the road, I think that's something huge. And losers for the NBA is just not having Kevin Durant and Steph Curry on Christmas. Steph Curry you can't control because he got hurt. Kevin Durant, unfortunately, we did not get to see the Brooklyn Nets, who are one of the hottest teams in the league on Christmas. I think that was an L. They could have changed it last minute. They could have fixed some situations to get the Nets on there. We're tired of seeing the Lakers. I'm sorry, we are. We didn't really even want to see Dallas too much. I'll just be honest. That game was like a whatever.
It's Luka.
Yeah, it's Luka. I get it, but to see Kevin Durant and the Nets who've been hot, firing on all cylinders, I think that's something we might want to see better. But all in all, great Christmas. I had fun.
Great Christmas.
I didn't appreciate the Lakers shot right there.
That wasn't a shot. You guys just aren't like right now.
Without Anthony Davis, it's a different conversation. Of course,
Anthony ain't playing. That's why.
But welcome to
Anthony Davis. What really is? Come on.
With all due
that was
respect
distasteful.
to Anthony Davis, I mean, history shows he does not stay healthy.
That was distasteful, and this was a freak injury.
Riv, to your point, I want to piggyback off that with the Milwaukee Bucks half-court offense because people will think that it's just an issue that just showed up, but it's been an issue. When the Bucks won the championship, their offensive rating in the playoffs was 112.2, which ranked 11th out of 16 teams in the playoffs, which means they were an average to below average offense in that playoff run that they won the championship in. And in the regular season, that offensive rating would have ranked 14th in the NBA. The Bucks had an elite level defense in the playoffs. I think their defensive rating was number 1 in the playoffs. Their offensive rating was average. I do think with the Bucks, the finals and the championship run did fool us a bit because first round they scraped the Heat. They scraped the floor with the Heat. The second round was the NBA Finals, if we're being frank. The Nets and the Bucks. They beat the Nets in 7 games, although the Nets were unhealthy. They beat the Hawks, which we knew that was a fluke run. And they beat the Suns in the finals, and we're looking back at the Suns run like they're not a real legit team. That championship run, you can't take it away from them. They won it, but it wasn't overly impressive. And one can argue, actually, I think it's a fact, if the Nets are healthy, they beat the Bucks in that series. They won because of injuries, but their offense was average throughout those playoffs. And in these playoffs, now that the Eastern Conference is legit, there are some big-time offenses and defenses. The Celtics are a big-time offense and defense. The Nets are a big-time offense and defense. If the Bucks don't figure out themselves offensively, they will not be either of those teams in the playoffs.
And it's like I don't mean to shit on the Bucks, because I still think the Bucks are a contender. I still think they're a top team in the East. But if you look at the last 2-3 years, they've been pretty much a very simple offense, And Giannis, as much as we love to boast about his improvements in his game, he hasn't gotten better at the most important part that he needs to get better, and that's being a consistent jump shooter. And we're not even asking to be a consistent three-point shooter. It's the mid-range. Can you make it more consistent? Can you keep it in your game? Because that opens up the offense, especially when you're the best guy on your team. You're going to get the ball most of the time. His ability to pick and roll, be a roller, screen cut to the basket, his ability to set hard screens, and then his ability to pick and pop would be amazing, would open up the offense even more. And I think that's something that could hinder the Bucks down the road, because when you play – and this is why people like Kevin Durant over Giannis. I'm not saying I agree. Or people like shot makers like Kevin Durant, Steph Curry over Giannis, because their ability to make shots from anywhere on the floor and their ability to create offense is like top of the league, top NBA history. So, but this is why I had Joker over Giannis, because I feel like when you have a guy who has no flaw in his offensive game and he can create for others while also getting a buck and be able to space the floor, that's a different guy to guard. But Giannis is still
Stop acting like defense doesn't exist.
Defense exists, but let's stop acting like Giannis is the best defender on his team right now, because he isn't.
Giannis
Brook Lopez is because Giannis is a rim protector. Brook Lopez is the best rim protector on his team.
Giannis has amazing stats, and he's the most dominant player in the NBA. But when we're talking about skill, that part of his game is just not there with other offensive players.
The thing is,
he can't shoot.
We don't talk about Giannis as skillful. He's dominant. And that's completely okay when you're averaging the numbers and doing the things, winning the ball games that Giannis is doing. Middleton being out, I'm not saying you guys aren't saying this, but Middleton being out is a huge blow for Milwaukee. 100%. You said that last week, absolutely. Without Middleton, this offense is not. It will not reach its max potential.
Even with Middleton in the playoffs, though, they were an average offense.
Are you saying last year?
No, in their championship run.
See, that's where I really don't care what the numbers say, honestly. In that sense, I really don't, because I watched Middleton be big when he was needed time and time again. So
isn't there a stat for his home versus away games?
No, for sure. There was a difference.
Yes,
there was a difference. But that last game against the Suns, he was great.
Giannis had 50.
He was a perfect counterpart with Giannis, absolutely.
I know, but he had 50.
But how many times did we see Middleton down the stretch of games, see Giannis passing the ball and say, Middleton, go get yours?
Yes,
that's how much trust they have in Middleton.
But let's also not ignore that before that run, Chris Middleton was an unworthy second option.
Not going to say you're wrong, but there was a moment against the Miami Heat in the bubble where Giannis was out and Middleton at least got them one. He got them one. I'm not saying you're wrong. Middleton definitely did not show up, but that was the shift. The year that they won the championship was the shift. Last year he gets hurt.
Was it the shift, or were the Nets just not healthy?
A little both. A little both, because even with them being unhealthy, Kevin Durant was a couple inches away from winning. So I really am not here for the injuries issue, because they were still good enough, to be a couple inches away from winning. So that's it. I don't want to hear it. Another thing I wanted.
I mean, they didn't have 2 primetime players.
Harden played.
Let's
not
Harden
pretend-
played
he played.
on a grade 2.
He played.
We have this debate.
What
Like,
are you
played.
3
talking
months.
about?
He played.
It's back.
To try and talk down on that title run. I'm not here for it. I'm not here for it, especially for the
mean?
fact
It's
that
facts.
Giannis shot the 50 ball in Game 6 to win the NBA Finals. I don't want to hear it.
Yes, but
Middleton,
they were an average
time and
offense.
time and again in the fourth quarter, was closing out games. Last year, Middleton was hurt. They were a game away from the ECF. Without Middleton, it's a completely different game this year. I'm not going to say you're wrong, but let's not sleep and disrespect Milwaukee and disrespect Giannis. Yes, Giannis's shooting right now is a question. It's a problem. But that's not reason for me to doubt Giannis and his ability or Milwaukee as a whole. When Middleton comes back, if he's back consistently, which right now that could be in question, when he is back, if he is back, Milwaukee's right back because you mentioned it. They don't have creators. Middleton answers that. Middleton helps on the defensive side of the ball as well. It relieves some pressure from Giannis. Middleton is bigger than what people want to give him credit for. Just because he's not a flashy name, he's not making SportsCenter. He fits perfect in that system next to Giannis Antetokounmpo. Let's just slow the roll before
It ain't
we're
really
quick to
about
shit
that.
on them.
I'm just saying. The one time they made the finals, there were injuries. Like fully healthy, do they come out the East this year?
Giannis got hurt in the ECF.
You know, he said fully healthy this year. I have Boston coming out.
Oh, listen, Milwaukee's not my favorite either.
So the one time that the Bucks have came out the East, they faced unhealthy teams.
Giannis was hurt in the ECF.
It's the Hawks, bro.
So was Trae Young.
It's a fluke.
Trae Young was also hurt.
No, and they won that game.
And they won the game without Giannis.
Facts.
Like
Yeah, Brook Lopez.
It was weird.
Brook Lopez had a vintage game. Yeah,
Brook Lopez is one of the most underrated players in the league too.
But this is what I think, because like I said, I don't want to. People are going to think I'm hating on Giannis. No, I think he's the second best player in the world. You mentioned people forget about the defensive end, but Giannis isn't the best defender on his team. You mentioned
that's debatable though. Just because Lopez is having a better season,
we just saw Tatum.
I'm talking about right
Giannis.
now. You mentioned offensively, Giannis is dominant. Yes, but dominance can only take you so far.
Disagree.
You still need that
Shaq
skill.
won 3 championships.
Shaq had a skillful guard on that wing that can get you a bucket from every single spot on the floor.
Shaquille O'Neal was the best player on the team.
I understand, but he still had that guy where if they they stop the dominance, you have another skillful guy out
when
there.
Middleton is,
which I agree.
I don't disagree.
No, I'm not saying
Middleton.
Middleton comes in, he fixes that. But now you're looking at a Boston who has Jaylen Brown, who's better than Middleton. Tatum, who can now match Giannis's production. You have the Nets, who Kevin Durant, we know for a fact,
for sure,
will match Giannis's production.
Absolutely.
Now Kyrie, he is that second guy who can give you that type of production, that one-on-one game. Who is better than Chris Middleton? You look at those teams now defensively with Vaughn. The Nets have figured out that's always been their problem in Brooklyn overall as a team. Defense, Vaughn has figured out. Claxton has been a great rim protector this year. You look at Boston. Rob Will is back now. You get that guy back for the defense. That's going to push them up. Those two teams who are equipped and ready to play the Bucks. Middleton is still trying to figure it out. It's going to be up to Giannis to figure out, because in the playoffs, the game slows down. Everybody knows the game slows down. It goes in. Your best guy offensively, what can he do for you in a half-court set? And my thing is, with Giannis, it's now year 3 of him getting better, but how can he still figure it out? Because last year against the Bucks, against Celtics, he was dominant, but there still were stretches where Tatum looked much better because in a half-court set, he is able to create against any. Drew Holiday is the best of the best. He's one of one. He was able to create against guys like that. So it's like, I don't know. There's still questions about the Bucks. They're still one of the favorites.
Chris Middleton had a great playoff run when they won the championship. Do I trust Chris Middleton? I'm not the biggest believer in him. I'll be honest.
He's been banged up all year.
The reason why not to trust him is health.
It's
right
not
now.
even that. It's even without health.
I don't want to doubt his ability. I don't want to
believer.
doubt his ability
Rick,
because not
do you
just his
trust
ability.
Chris Middleton?
Not just
home,
if he's healthy.
Okay, at home.
If he's healthy, you gotta trust
overall,
him.
Do y'all remember
trust
him
Chris
against the
Middleton.
Bulls? He was garbage.
Yeah, I mean,
You're
he was
saying
also hurt.
this past?
No, before he got hurt.
What was it? Game?
It was 2 games. He wasn't good.
Okay.
He was at home. He's usually good at home.
It's 2 games.
But Middleton, even before, I understand what you're saying, but Middleton's track record before the finals run wasn't good. So even then, the record of you going off of you can trust him is smaller than the record of you saying you can't trust him.
But another thing
Still
that
went to
it's
the
not
finals, won
just
it.
whether he's going to play well.
They had the big freak.
I mean,
In the bubble,
well,
he
you're not
in
asking
the
Middleton
bubble-
to be the guy. Of course not.
Now I think you do.
In the bubble,
No,
Middleton
Giannis is the
shot
guy.
39%
What do you
from the
mean?
field.
No. You're still asking. I'm saying you're asking Middleton to be that guy coming up next.
to be the number 2 on the team. Yes.
Even sometimes they need Middleton. They're down 3. They give it to Middleton.
Yeah, because he's the shot creator.
So that means you need him to be the guy.
At times,
Jaylen Brown, Tatum is better, but at times you need Jaylen Brown to be the guy because he has it going.
But there's a difference between being the guy and then for a couple possessions getting a bucket.
No,
he was only bad.
You could be the guy for the moment, just for the moment.
Middleton was bad
Chris
one
Middleton
game.
is the Bucks' go-to guy in the clutch.
Chicago. He was
because he's better shot
bad
creator.
one game.
He could hit a pull-up.
And I don't
game
trust
one.
him.
They
I don't
won.
trust him. I'll be
He was
honest.
good game 2. He shot
He was okay.
55% from the field.
He was all right.
He had 18
Defensively,
points.
he was horrible that game.
I mean, they did lose, so.
I'm just saying, I'm not.
And he also opens up things, allows Drew Holiday to not have to be
Oh, for sure.
hyperactive on offense. Now he gets to be primary defender on Kyrie Irving and give 100% there.
Yeah, he's not going to stop Kyrie either way.
No, absolutely not. But you're getting Drew Holiday to commit 100% to defense. That is going to limit Kyrie Irving. You don't limit Kevin Durant. It's impossible.
This chat's coming right now.
But you take one out of it, hey, it's a series, especially who's stopping Giannis. If you want to say Claxton, I'm sorry, with all due respect.
This is the thing,
it's not
too.
happening.
Yeah, Giannis gonna get his.
This is my last point. Teams have now added to their personnel to guard Giannis in the East. The Celtics with Al Horford when they brought him back, Robert Williams' development, Jason Tatum
barely worked last year.
Weight, Grant Williams.
It barely worked
Giannis
last year.
is going to get his.
You look at the Nets with Claxton, KD.
They're not stopping him.
Come on.
No one's stopping Giannis.
not stopping
He's going to
him,
get him.
but
He's going to get
They,
his.
they have the necessary personnel to contain him.
But that's my thing. Last
what's
year,
contained?
it was
He's averaging
What's
30.
contained is he
averages 28.
He gets his 35-40, but he scores like 4 points in the fourth
What's
quarter.
contained is that you're forcing him to take jump shots. That's containing him.
Because y'all look at this, y'all be looking at the numbers, and the dude can have 40, 13, and 12, and that looks great, right? Box score. But then you go look at the game, and he scored 4 points in the fourth quarter. That's a sense of containing. That's what they did with Luka. That's what Golden State did with Luka. They tire him out until you get to the fourth quarter, and then when you need him the most, he can't make the shots because he's so fucking tired. That's containing somebody.
But it's okay. It's
So are
different.
we
Boston
done?
to a degree
Are we
did
done
that.
with if Chris
But
Middleton
Giannis,
was
I mean, they
healthy?
were a game
The Bucks would have
away.
beat the
Giannis is
Celtics last year.
different beast.
I think
Defensively, what happened though?
But you don't trust Middleton, so how could
Tatum
I don't get it?
was exposing Middleton
7
Al
games
Horford
without
and
Middleton.
Wes
Huh?
Matthew
Tatum was exposing Middleton. He didn't play.
and You're 100%. I apologize. Exposing Wes Matthews and Drew Holiday
So Al Horford had nothing to do with it.
with Giannis in Game 7. Game 7 is
like Game
different.
6.
Game 6, Giannis had 41.
Yeah,
He was
But no, but I'm asking you, what did
Tatum
Al
was
Horford do?
physical.
Tatum was the reason they won the game.
Game
But
6.
what did Al Horford do?
What about Game 7, Giannis?
Game 7.
Game
Giannis,
7
I
was
was
Grant.
stunned.
Fat and shitty.
Fat and shitty indeed. He never changed that. That steroid fucker.
Now, I want to give a shout out to Damian Lillard. He is now Portland's all-time scoring leader.
Goddamn.
18,115 points. The top 5 is Dame. Number 2 is Clyde Drexler. Number 3 is LaMarcus Aldridge. Number 4 is Terry Porter. And number 5 is CJ McCollum. Do you guys think that Dame is the best Blazer of all time?
My lifetime.
I would
Pretty
say
easily.
the only one that I guess there is 2, but one I give a little bit more credit to, Clyde Drexler, for being able to make it to the finals, be a multiple-time conference finals appearance, to make multiple conference finals appearances. You have Bill Walton, of course, won the MVP, won a finals, but he was there for how many years?
4.
Damian Lillard has made a entire career of playing solely with the Portland Trailblazers, made it to the Western Conference Finals, hasn't unfortunately won a championship, hasn't won an MVP, but has been consistently one of the best players in the association. Has been a fringe top 10 player for more often than not of his career. Damian Lillard is one of the best shooters this game's ever seen. He's a great playmaker. He's not, let me not say one of the best playmakers we've ever seen, but he is a great playmaker on top of that. Damian Lillard, as the man, has consistently made the playoffs year in, year out, a thing that not many players can say. I have to give credit where credit is due. Damian Lillard is the best Portland Trail Blazer ever.
So I'm going to ask y'all this question. Is Dame the best Portland Trail Blazer ever? Now, I'm going to do this comparison. Dame has 11 seasons, 6-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA, has made the conference finals once, versus Bill Walton, only played 4 seasons, so Dame has longevity. But in those 4 seasons, Bill Walton had 2 All-Stars. He was an NBA champion. He was a Finals MVP. He won the MVP. and he was a blocks and rebounds champ. Are you taking 4 seasons of Bill Walton doing that, or Dame's 11 seasons, no championship?
Dame doing what he's been doing in this era is really just a testament to how great this era is, really. Because he, as great as he is, simply his team just can't match up with the Golden State Warriors.
What are you going to do?
If they were to get past them, the Cleveland Cavaliers.
I'll probably.
It's tough.
In the
It's
Spurs,
really
his
tough,
early years. I mean, he
unfortunately.
ran into 2 dynasties.
First
what are you
of
going to
all,
do? He had the Spurs.
We're not going to give Dame.
No, Dame doesn't
Spurs
get a
and the
pass.
Warriors.
Well, Dame does get a pass. Do you forget the Pelicans?
Dame shit the bed in the conference
Did
finals.
we forget the Pelicans? Did we forget the Grizzlies?
True.
Let's not.
In the conference finals, he shot 30% from the field.
Yeah, in the conference finals against the Warriors when KD didn't play. Like Dame has some stinkers.
KD didn't play, and everybody said Harden should have beat that team.
But
after
Dame
he
has
went
some
down.
great moments. Buzzer beater against
Facts.
the Rockets. Buzzer
You ever
beater
notice
against
how all his great moments are
the
first
Thunder?
round series?
True.
But he made it to a conference
You remember
finals.
that
it's
Denver
just-
series when CJ McCollum saved them? The Portland
Yeah,
Trailblazers?
against the Nuggets.
This is my thing. I would probably take Bill because the ring. You know, you always take the championship.
Come on,
I think
man.
I would take. I mean, I know Dame is probably for us, for our era, for the young guys. Dame is more historic for Portland now. What he's done for the community, what he's done for the organization, he will undoubtedly get a statue. But if you look at what the goal is coming into the NBA, the goal is to win championships. The goal is to win a ring, be a winner. I'm going to take Bill Walton. I think Clyde Drexler deserves respect. I know his name doesn't get tossed up in a lot of conversations because people shit on the 90s. People don't respect the 80s as much. But Clyde Drexler, if it wasn't a Michael Jordan, he was going to be that guy. He was a dominant scorer, 27-point per game scorer at his best in a Western Conference where he led his team to back-to-back Western Conference finals. He went to the finals. He played Michael Jordan. Unfortunately, he couldn't get the W. So I'm going to give some respect to Clyde. I think it's those 3 guys undoubtedly. If I had to pick one to probably be the GOAT, for me, I would probably lean Dame because of what he means more for me. And I think personally Dame is the guy that embodies what Portland is, and it's about loyalty. It's about grinding. It's about getting through the hard times, and it's about definitely just gutting out teams and getting wins as best as you can. And what Dame has done, the buzzer beaters, I'm not taking that away from the buzzer beaters. You know, him being an underrated point guard, him coming from Weber State, you know, and beating the odds. So I'm going to give it to Dame because I think the story is much, much better.
A championship in 76, 77.
Why are you disputing that?
I'm
You hate
not.
plumbers?
I'm not.
Are you a
Bill
plumber
Walton
hater?
would have been one of the best centers ever if he didn't get hurt.
Are you a plumber hater? This is exposing
Sounds
you
like
now.
he is.
Is that wrong?
Yes.
Ugh.
You're
Bill
hating.
Walton is one of the best
70s.
passers ever. at the center
Bill
position.
Walton
And
was great.
Sabonis. Arvidas.
Arvidas.
First Sabonis.
He's from
Arvidas,
Portland.
absolutely.
Respect.
Bill Walton is a great player. When he was healthy, he was one of the best centers, bigs to play this game. It's just hard for me to sit with the level of competition then. More credit to him, he got it done, and that's not a knock on him. You play the guys who are in your era, absolutely. Damian Lillard, I'm sorry. He has been one of the best point guards in the league
Did Bill
year
Walton
in,
not
year
play in the
out.
big man golden era, though?
In 76, 77.
What was that, Malone?
Nah, the 90s is the big man era.
Then 70s have Moses, Kareem, Nate Thurman.
72,
I'm
I'm
losing
pretty sure
you. I
70.
could tell
no,
that.
I
that's
mean,
fine.
listen.
I'm
right
pretty
here,
sure 70,
Thurman lost.
70
The Blazers.
I think 72, 73 was Wilt's last season off the top of my head, I think, because he won a championship and retired.
I know 90s for sure is also the golden age of big men, but I think the 70s, because they were drafting bigs first. Like, when Michael Jordan got picked, they was like, what the fuck? Like,
There were 22 teams in the NBA at that time.
oh, yeah. No. Nutty.
Maybe it's me just being young,
Yes.
25, but when I think of the Blazers, I think of Damian Lillard. I don't think of Bill Walton. Clyde, obviously, great, but Damian Lillard's been, not just of this generation, one of the best three-point shooters of all time, one of the best tough shot makers of all time. And when I just think of that organization, I think about the Blazers, the first image that comes to my mind is Damian Lillard. Now, I'm not the NBA historian that you are, Riv, but when I'm thinking about the Blazers, I mean, Damian Lillard has been everything for this franchise. He's had opportunity to leave. He's had opportunity to go chase rings, go team up with superstars. And, you know, obviously maybe that's on him for not being able to recruit guys to Portland, but he's had opportunities. I mean, damn near every other team would have gladly taken Damian Lillard on his team. You know, perennial all-star, someone who has averaged fucking high 20s for most of his career. I mean, this is a guy that has been one of the best scorers in the NBA, one of the best point guards in the NBA. So when I think of the Blazers, I think of Damian Lillard.
I think of Clyde.
So
Me
Riv,
personally.
listen to this. In the Western Conference Finals, the Blazers, Bill Walton faced the Lakers versus Kareem. They swept them. The Blazers swept them. Walton averaged 19, 15, and 6, and 2 blocks and a steal. And Kareem averaged 30 and 16.
Kareem's Kareem.
Yeah, 'cause Kareem
What
is
was
the
that
best.
guy?
Guess who was on that team? The second leading scorer in that playoff series.
Which one? Blazers?
Blazers.
Wait. What year was that?
Say that one- what's the question?
76-77. Who was one of the leading scorers on that team in the playoff series?
Was it fucking Nah, I don't know.
He used to be a head coach.
Was
for
it
the
Phil
Memphis
Jackson?
Grizzlies.
Memphis Taylor Jenkins?
No.
No.
I don't know.
Lionel Hollins.
No fucking way.
He averaged 22 a game.
Shout out to you, Lionel. For me, it's Clyde or Dame. I like Clyde, man.
Can't disrespect the 70s. Kareem. I mean, he was in that era.
Yeah, and Kareem was
Actually,
Willis
what has
Reed.
Dame done?
been a great scorer.
He's not a winner.
I don't want to
That's
say
it.
that.
He's
It's
not.
that-
That's the only knock on Dame. He's not a winner.
I'll be honest.
He has everything else.
Dwight Howard
his MVP.
is over Dame in
No,
accomplishments.
but statistically,
And
he's
Bill
putting
Walton,
up
I think, is
numbers.
better all time than Dwight Howard, peak-wise, yeah.
Dwight clears Dame all time.
So you're saying he clears him in accomplishments because of the DPOYs?
He led a team to the finals. And he
That
beat
team was
LeBron.
very good.
Name another
Jameer
All-Star.
Nelson was out. He was hurt.
Jameer
Second-
played
No, he was not in the finals.
against LeBron. He played.
For most of the series, he didn't.
He didn't
Jameer
have another
Nelson was
All-Star.
out.
Hito Turkoglu was very solid. Rashid Lewis was very good.
Good team.
Yeah, but Jameer Nelson was their second All-Star.
Michael Pietrus was
on
on
the
that
team.
Magic
He was
team
a
as
role
well.
player, bro.
He was
Good,
good. He was
role
good.
player.
I mean, it
though.
was
Good role
They
player,
were
though.
built like Dallas.
Yeah, it was
A
Dwight
lot
and
of good role
shooters.
players and
Yeah.
one star.
It's like Damian Lillard. Has there really
So,
been a great team that Damian Lillard's been on?
The year they went
A
to the
great team.
Great.
Jameer
Great,
Nelson. Jameer Nelson.
Has he ever been on a team as nearly as good as the 18 Rockets?
No.
–
Absolutely not.
But that also, Harden elevates, though.
True.
I'm not elevates the level of play of the team.
Yes.
Yeah.
He does.
And just him as a player raises your ceiling as a team.
So does Damian Lillard.
I don't think.
Not
if you-
like Harden.
I don't think.
The fact that they're a playoff team every single year, that's Damian
he's definitely
Lillard's
a floor
impact
ceiling.
alone.
He's a floor raiser. Damian Lillard's undoubtedly a
That's
floor raiser.
and there you go. That's exactly what you just called Harden.
I can argue outside of Chris Paul, CJ is a better second option than anybody Harden's had in Houston.
Offensively, yes.
Russell Westbrook.
Oh shit! All right, that 1 year. Yeah.
Russell Westbrook had an injury going into the playoffs.
Russell Westbrook was one of the hottest players
He was
in the league when
Yes,
that
but
happened.
he had a groin injury or something like that.
I
going
think
into
he
the
was
playoffs.
fine.
Or a bruised thigh, something like that. But before Chris Paul was Dwight Howard. He was past his prime. He wasn't him anymore.
He wasn't him anymore.
So in that playoff run with Dwight Howard and Orlando Magic, Jameer Nelson played 5 games and averaged 4 points.
Ew.
Yeah, poopy.
He was injured. That's why.
He was really good in the regular season.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Dwight Howard's done more than Dame. I think Bill Walton's over Dwight Howard.
Listen, I like
peak.
Dwight Howard a lot. Peak, yeah. I mean, peak. Bill Walton reached the mountaintop. He won an MVP. He was a NBA Finals MVP.
I think the what sucks for Dame is he's playing in the golden era of point guards. Where you got Westbrook in
Yes.
front of him. You got Steph. Kyrie's matched up with him.
Is he better than Jason Kidd?
No.
How about Steve Nash?
No.
Dame?
Yeah, I don't think he's better than either guy. I think he scores more than both guys.
You're just saying accolades,
I think
winning,
I think
or skill.
I think player for player, I don't think he's better than either one of those guys. As a point guard, I don't. Especially not Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd, I'm with.
Nash, I guess, is an argument, but Kidd, I think,
Is
pretty
that
much.
ironic? 2-time MVP.
Yeah, that's
I think Kidd pretty much comfortably clears Damian Lillard as a basketball player.
Jason Kidd is amazing.
And
He
I
was
think
amazing.
Nash, just because of the fact that he didn't score as much, which he wasn't asked to, he actually had a interview about this shit, of how he wouldn't start scoring until like the fourth quarter. He wanted to get everybody involved, but it's because I know people shit on him because of his numbers, but he was really like one of the best floor generals,
Absolutely.
and ceiling raise. Like he
Absolutely.
propelled teams to 61 seasons in WCF contenders.
He
and
was
stuff
fantastic.
Like that. He just didn't score much. So,
People love points, right?
And he was efficient
People
as fuck.
glamored with points.
yeah, Dame is great. Is he a top 10 point guard? Probably. All time? Probably. Blazer? It's only 3 of them, right? Walton, Clyde,
not
Dame.
much competition there.
Dame or Kyrie?
That's close.
It's
All time.
close.
It is.
You have to. It's
'Cause
sad you have to pick Dame.
Why
You
do you
do?
have to?
You low-key have to.
Why is
You
it
can
sad?
rely on
Why
him
is
more.
it fucking sad?
No, because I think player for player,
it's close.
I think
It's
talent-wise,
for sure,
I would
very
lean
close.
Kyrie. Career-wise,
Yeah.
low-key have to
Why
take
would
Dame
you lean
because of
Kyrie
intangibles.
talent-wise? Because he has a bag? His bag is nuts. It is indeed nuts.
It
So
is
if
for
you
sure
say that,
nuts.
I understand completely.
The bag obviously is in hand. Finishing at the basket, I go Kyrie
He's
Irving.
a better shooter than Dame.
He is. He is definitely.
Which is crazy because Damian Lillard
Yes.
is one of the best we've ever seen also. That's why it's tough for me. I feel like intangibles also play a part in it, which is why Damian Lillard has to get credit in that regard as well.
Irish clutch too.
More reliable Damian Lillard. More, and by reliable,
I feel like that's Dame's tier.
yeah.
Like Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, for sure.
So automatically, he's an all-time great.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I thought nobody disputed Dame.
No, absolutely not. You're 100% right. But I'm just saying, I feel like a lot of people like to tear down Dame for whatever reason.
Well, because he made the 75 team. He shouldn't have made him.
That's up for debate, though.
Dwight should have took a spot.
We've had conversations about that. I'm personally fine with Dame making it. Maybe he could have taken somebody else's spot. I feel like Dame deserved that.
Well, they added 20 to 25 guys from the new era. I think Dame was like the last guy coming in. Dwight should have comfortably had a spot. I think people just point at Dame because he's the one guy that's like, all right, we know he's done a lot for the organization, but
averaged 30 a
individually,
season.
what has he done? He has no MVP. He has no defensive player of the year. He barely
he
has all NBA first
He averaged
teams.
30 points and didn't win a scoring title. Is that on
Isaiah
him?
Thomas.
Say that one more time.
So did Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas averaged 30 in a season? No, he did not.
Celtics,
He averaged
yeah.
like 20.
It was like
It was
28.8,
high
some shit
20s.
like- yeah,
It
it
was
was
high
like-
20s.
Dame
20,
averaged
29.
30. He actually averaged
Let me see
30.
right
Isaiah
now.
Thomas averaged 29.
Let me see.
Yeah, but Dame
can't
did
just
it
throw
over.
shit
Dame
out
did it
like that
over
and
like
then-
multiple year
Let me see,
stretches.
let me see.
IT was like a year or two where he had this.
Respect IT,
this
bro.
of
He's a
course,
Boston legend.
you know who you're talking to.
Come on,
Of
bro.
course, I respect IT, but IT and Dame are not in the same conversation.
IT was
That
nuts.
season, yeah.
That if you want to look at that one season, that's basically what Dame does his whole
He averaged
career.
28.9.
I knew it was like a point
It was-
thing.
yeah, it was very
I knew it
close.
was a point thing.
Basically averaged 30, bro.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
So did Bradley Beal.
Your guy.
NFL Pick'em Week 17. First game up Thursday Night Football. Cowboys at Titans.
Cowboys.
Yeah, this is pretty comfortable. Cowboys with
Cowboys.
Malik Willis out there. It's
Yep.
might get ugly.
I'm going with the Cowboys. Cardinals at Falcons.
I want nothing to do with the Cardinals. Falcons.
I'm going with the Falcons.
You don't
Desmond
trust
Ritter,
Trace
first win.
McSorley? He had a couple nice throws. Definitely
okay.
improvement from his first game.
Dolphins at Patriots.
I'm taking the Pats.
Me too.
I'm going with the Finns.
As you should.
It depends who plays. If Tua plays, I'll go with the Dolphins. If it's Bridgewater, I'll go with the Pats.
Are you still going Week 18?
I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm going to be able to have somewhere to stay.
Oh, damn, that sucks.
I got a sister who has she works at a hotel. Maybe she can.
Oh,
bless you.
maybe.
I'll
If
call
that's the case, honestly,
her. You have
I'm
to tell me, shoot me the dates, text me the dates. and I'll
Word,
call her
word.
and I'll
Good
ask if she can
looks.
get you a little
Good
discount.
looks. Thank you.
Saints at Eagles.
Let's be
Phillies should win
serious
this
here.
game.
Eagles comfortably.
Yeah, Eagles.
I got the
Eagles.
Saints.
What-
Their
You've
defense
done this 3 times this year.
has been very, very good as of recently.
Even with Minshew, they should win this game.
It has been
Minshew was alright.
amazing. I'm going to go with the Saints. Andy Dalton gets this win. Colts at
Minshew
Giants.
just came out of your mouth.
Going with the Giants.
What he said?
Colts
He
are
said
the
Andy
Dalton
laughing
gets
stock
this
of the
win.
NFL.
Giants.
Respect Andy Dalton,
I'm
bro.
taking the Giants.
I'm going with the Giants, too. Panthers at Bucks.
Here we go for the division.
Panthers.
I'm going with
Panthers.
I'm going with the Bucks.
I'm
Shout
going
out
with the
my
Bucks,
boy
too.
Mikey. I'm gonna go with his boys.
Sam Darnold has been good, man.
I can't put my faith in Sam
Jets
Darnold.
quarterbacks.
I will be taking the Bucks.
Jets quarterbacks always succeed with the Jets.
Do they?
Yes.
It took Gino 8 years to succeed. 9 years.
Sam Darnold's doing it right now, though.
Sam Darnold's completing like 61% of passes.
Broncos at Chiefs.
Chiefs.
KC.
Go with the Chiefs, man. Sorry.
It's unfortunate, man. We needed that one at home. I don't know if this is the one. I want my win-loss record to be good, so going with the Chiefs.
Bears at Lions.
I'll take Detroit.
I'm going with Detroit for sure.
Going with the Bears, man. Just got a feeling about this one.
As much as I love Detroit, I do have a feeling about this one too, Dehls. It's tingling. They can't stop the run. I mean, last week
what's tingling?
the Panthers had 300 plus yards
were
rushing
tweaking.
on
Hubbard and
on the
Deontay
Lions,
both had more
and
than
the Jets
100.
couldn't even run on them, not even once.
It's because the Lions
on,
stacked
man.
the box. They knew Zach Wilson couldn't
Yeah,
beat
okay,
them.
man, shut your mouth right there. Stop.
I'm just saying,
Stop
is
it.
it a coincidence that Mike White goes out and we can't run the
Versus
ball
the
all of a
Bills that couldn't
sudden?
run the ball.
Because Mike White was in the lineup.
Okay, yeah, okay. Keep thinking that. The Bears, Justin Fields, they got a great run in attack. I have a feeling about this one. Browns at Commanders.
Going with the Commanders.
I'm also going with the Commanders.
I
I want to see them get in.
think the Browns win this game. Some way, somehow, they get it done with Deshaun.
You sound like a.
I got the Commanders in this one. I do. I wouldn't be shocked if the Browns win, though. Jaguars at Texans.
Jaguars.
Something inside me thinks that this is going to be a good game.
Shout out my boy
Something
Brett,
about
man.
me it's going to be a close game for no reason, but I got to side with Trev and the Jags.
I'm going to go with the Jaguars. I'm going to go with the Jaguars, but I think it's a good game.
As Joel famously quotes, wouldn't be surprised if the Texans won.
Hey, agreed.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I have to do something in the morning. I just don't know why.
I am going with the Jaguars. 49ers at Raiders.
Going with the Niners.
Niners comfortable.
Raiders are
Niners as well,
poopy.
Brock Purdy.
What the fuck do
I got
have
the
to do in
Niners.
the morning?
Jets at Seahawks.
Jets, man. Season's on the line.
I'm going with Seattle.
I'm
Going 5. I need to see it happen.
I'm going with Seattle also.
I'm going with the Jets, man. We're taking flight.
Fuck these guys.
He's not even
Dude,
a real.
bro, you did this to
no,
yourself.
that'll be
You don't want to see me happy.
I don't.
That's not true.
I don't. I never do.
All I did was ask a question, and you belittled. You threw my name and took it and crumpled it and put it in the mud.
While I don't disagree, I did all of those things. The Jets got to win these last two because it all goes away.
I need to see you in misery.
If we lose this game, at that point, I'll be miserable enough. 0-5 just be the cherry on top.
Yeah.
Vikings at Packers.
Shit.
I got the Packers in this one.
Packers, season on the line,
Go
life
Pack,
on the
go.
line.
Skull. I'm gonna go
You know
Minnesota.
I'm a big Aaron Rodgers guy.
Going
I
with
think he puts it
Packers.
I'm gonna go Skull on this
I'm
one.
going with Minnesota, but I don't feel good about it.
done. Rams at Chargers.
Chargers are winning this game. Chargers are one of the hottest teams in the
Chargers
NFL right
are
now.
indeed them
I got
dogs.
the Chargers.
Baker?
too.
No.
No, I mean, it's
Just
gonna
put a
make
51 against one of the best defenses in the
They
league.
make it good. It's Baker Mayfield who we're talking about here.
Prime time. Box office, I would say.
He is. Steelers at Ravens.
I'm going with the Steelers.
Going with the Steelers.
I think
I'll
they
take
keep it
Baltimore.
alive.
I'll take Baltimore.
I'm going with the Steelers too. Kenny Pickett's all right, man.
Yeah, I'll take the Ravens.
Kenny Pickett's been managing mistakes, which has boded well for this team, and he's been big time for them down the stretch.
I'm going with Steelers, man. We're going to stop the run this week.
Yeah, John.
Bills at Bengals. Final game.
Love this. This
Yeah.
is one of the best Monday night games we've gotten
Yeah,
in
it's been
dumb
so
long.
ass.
I'm going
All
with
the
Cincy.
Monday night game has been terrible. I
Cincy?
feel like
Oh, really?
Bills at Bengals.
Yeah.
Huh.
Bengals have been beat up. They have been
Two of the hottest teams in the AFC right now.
riddled with injury for weeks now.
Yeah, I know where I'm going.
I think Buffalo comes in and wins this game.
Too much, man. This is
Buffalo,
you know where
you're
I'm
Bills.
going.
You're in Bills Mafia. You're gonna jump through a table.
Yes. When I go to the Super Bowl, I'm going.
Yo, I got a gift for you. Actually, I forgot at the crib.
Pain.
Remind me next show. Got you.
I mean, if they win, you'll know.
I'm
When Buffalo wins on Monday, you'll know.
taking
Okay.
the Bengals here at home. Taking the Bengals here. It's gonna be a good game.
Nice. Bengals hater. Dehls.
Yeah, that's
Bengals Monday night
interesting.
at home.
I don't like the Bills either.
Well, your agendas are dying, so I understand.
How?
This year, dead.
What agendas exactly?
Jets.
A lot of
Dead.
years ain't paying
I
out.
said the Jets are
Baltimore
gonna be
is
in the hunt.
Baltimore is gonna die.
They're in the playoffs. How are they dead?
Lamar will be bounced in the first round.
Didn't you have a Browns agenda?
I said next year.
He did. He did.
I thought it was this
no,
year, too.
it was next year.
No, it's not.
Honestly-
I'll be honest. You're right.
No, it was
I was
next
gonna say,
year.
You were high.
I was just like, they're good.
The Cards.
No, that was extreme. Just Kalen got hurt.
Yo,
Can't
Nick,
even-
The
Nick Chubb-
Raider- no,
Nick
the
Chubb or
Raiders?
Saquon.
we
the
lost.
Raiders?
We both lost.
What?
Admittedly,
Josh
What do you
Jacobs.
mean?
Josh Jacobs took over. We admittedly lost together.
But between the two of them,
I think they're still like.
Saquon has been a dog.
Chubb's been all right.
Most of my agendas are thriving.
No,
They are.
the Bills are number one seed in the
What
AFC.
agendas do you have?
The Eagles, obviously.
That's literally my
That's
team.
wild.
So
I had the Jets in the hunt, borderline playoff team. That's alive.
you also had.
I had the Niners.
Well, no way we go on 5.
Niners.
Yeah. Before the
He did
season, I
have
had
a
in the
Niners.
Super
But
Bowl.
you have a Trey Lance Niners
I was
agenda. You
gonna
don't have
Trey
a.
Lance, though.
I
But I
have
had
a
them in the
Brock.
Super Bowl.
Realistically, the Niners are winning for me because Brock Purdy's on
Purdy,
fire.
yeah, but I had the Niners in the Super Bowl. I also had
You had the Chargers.
and the Chargers have a chance.
And okay.
They're in the playoffs. I'm not giving them a chance, but I give them a fighter's chance.
What are you
I
walking
give
in
them a better
with?
chance
You walking
than
in with the
Bucks.
Chargers, the Niners, and the Eagles.
Yeah, and the Jets were my agenda, and Baltimore.
I'm talking about the
My
okay.
agendas.
All
are holding
5
on
of
by
my
a
agendas
thread.
coming into this year,
Thread.
all 4 of them are in the playoffs. 1 might make the playoffs.
Okay,
I'll
fair.
take that.
My
I'll take
agendas are
that.
thriving this year, man.
Gabe Davis? My Gabe Davis agenda.
Oh yes.
We gotta kick Kyle
Oh.
Pitts too.
He got
So
hurt.
difficult.
You saw that report that he might get traded?
Mahomes.
For real?
Yeah, Mahomes.
I don't know how
Bengals.
real it was. It was from U Stadium.
So difficult.
The Bengals? What do you mean? You guys call them flukes?
I did. They could still be flukes.
I didn't call them
To a
flukes.
degree.
Don't
Like
do
if
that.
they lose in the
I
playoffs,
had them
Lose in the
if,
first
if
round?
they lose in the first, second round, you think I'm not coming up here and talking my fucking shit?
I had a Pat Mahomes agenda.
Oh,
You have to. That's not. An,
Talk about the best quarterback in the NFL. Don't do that.
What are you talking about, man?
Don't do that.
I had a
Hurts
two
agenda.
I'll tell you,
I'm right
if the
on
Bills
that.
go to
do you
championship,
mean
I
you're
will
right
be
on
marching
it?
up here talking crazy.
I'm technically right on it.
First year in,
He's a system quarterback.
He's not.
That's what we all said. That's what I said from the beginning.
Pissing me off,
who's
kid.
a system?
You're pissing me off.
The Jaguars agenda, I had that.
what?
Jaguars didn't do.
thought you had the
Two, I
Titans
had them
getting
winning the division.
But then you went back to the Colts and the Titans and the
didn't, bro.
the
That's
Colts.
cap. That's
Yeah, you
cap.
definitely flipped like 3 times.
Like you can't pick every team in the AFC South. Then when one of them wins,
man.
be like, "I told you so."
Yeah.
You
That's
probably
gonna do
pick
it.
the Texans at some point, honestly.
That's going to do it for episode 241 of the Pick a Side podcast. Make sure you guys like the stream. We're at 317 likes. Thank you.
You know
to
what?
everyone
We have
that
some
tuned
really
in.
quick. I want to give an appreciation shout out to our boy Joel Moran. Can you please hit that for us? I'm shouting him out because what he does for this podcast, a lot of it goes unnoticed, and I know a lot of the fans give my guy a hard time. But I want everyone to understand that without Joel Moran, there is no Pick a Side podcast.
Kiss him.
All right?
For sure.
So
Kiss.
hit the soundboard one more time.
Shout out Joe Moran, man.
Shout out to the
Goat.
GOAT, all right?
Pick a side,
Beer
goat.
cry.
You about to even cry, bro.
Hey, man.
That's
You're my guy, all right?
Pick a side, goat, man. Legend right here.
You guys can follow us on Twitter and on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod, on Instagram and TikTok at Pick a Side Podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Boom.